So we are back with a brand new movie on What If Naruto Never Became a Ninja? Naruto x Blackfire movie. But before we start, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's begin the story. Today was not a good day for Blackfire. Right now she was on a Centaurian spacecraft being taken to prison after she failed to frame her little sister for her own crime. She had orange skin, long black hair and purple eyes. She was wearing a black and silver outfit consisting of a short hemline top, a short skirt, long wristbands, and thigh-high boots. She also was wearing large indestructible cuffs on her hands so she couldn't escape. "I'll get you for this, Starfire," Blackfire thought with a scowl on her face. "Just wait till next time, you'll be at my feet." It was then she heard a noise and noticed she wasn't alone. On the other side of the cell was a young man that looked to be a few years older than her. He had long blonde spiky hair that was in a ponytail that reached his waist. 3 whisker marks on both cheeks, and 1 azure blue eye and 1 crimson eye, but both had a slit pupils. He was wearing a long black trench coat with an orange 9-tailed fox on the back with orange lining on the inside, blood red t-shirt with a large number 9 on the front, black pants and black and orange runner. He was also wearing the same kind of cuffs she had, which lead her to believe the Centaurians picked him up not too long before her. He just sat there relaxed like he was going on some sort of trip. "What's on your mind, miss?" the man asked as he made eye contact with Blackfire. She stared at him for a few seconds and then turned her back to him. "Don't be like that. Why don't you tell me what's going on in that head of yours?" "I've been told I am a great listener." Blackfire remained silent and kept her back to him. The man then let out a sigh. "Well, how about telling me what you did to the Centaurians to end up here?" "I stole the Centauri moon diamond," Blackfire replied without looking at him. The man gave an impressed whistle. "Man, all I did was steal some Centaurian tech, took out some guards, and stole one of their ships," the man said with a smile. "But stealing the Centauri moon diamond, now that's impressive." Blackfire then growled, "I shouldn't even be here. It should be my goody two-shoes sister." "Ah, good old sibling rivalry. Want to talk about it?" the man asked. Blackfire remained silent. "How about this? I tell you about my past and then you tell me about this issue you have with your sister. Deal?" Blackfire thought about it. She didn't want to even talk to this guy, let alone tell him her past, but something told her this guy wasn't going to shut up anytime soon. She figured she would let him tell her his past and not tell him her past. She glanced behind her and nodded to say they had a deal. The man grinned. "All right, well, I come from a backwater, underdeveloped planet in an unknown sector of space. The planet has very little technology and uses swords and kunai were the main weapons." Blackfire turned to look at the man to hear his story better. She was now wondering how someone from such an underdeveloped planet is now on a Centaurian spacecraft. However, the people of the planet are able to use energy called chakra. This energy is in every living thing on the planet. The people can use this energy to make and use attacks which they call jutsus. This caught Blackfire's attention, as Tamaranians could absorb ultraviolet rays to them use as attacks. The planet has 2 sets of rulers. The countries are ruled by feudal lords called daimyo and the hidden villages are ruled by kages. The police of the planet are shinobis or ninjas that operate out of the hidden villages. I came from one of those many villages. I came from the self-proclaimed strongest village called Konohagakure no Sato or Hidden Leaf Village. I graduated as the dead last of my class when I was 12 years old. I got stuck on a team with the emo trader, a cyclops scarecrow, and a pink-haired banshee. I stayed on that team for almost a year. Then the emo trader decided to leave the village to gain power for revenge. After that, a legendary shinobi decided to take me on a training trip to make me stronger for an upcoming threat. I was gone for 2.5 years and I didn't get much stronger in that time. When I came back I found out that the banshee was trained by a legendary medic I knew. Over another year I fought the upcoming threat, which I found out was a group called the Akatsuki. I managed to take out the leader of the group after he destroyed my home and I was named a hero in my village." Blackfire frowned at this. She now had a small hate for heroes now for what the Titans did to her. However, that didn't last long. The current leader of the village at the time was in a coma and the village council named a village elder named Danzo as the new leader. He managed to turn the village against me and get me banished from the country. It was after I left my village that my world changed. Turns out some slave dealer landed on the planet to hide from someone that was chasing him. He spotted me and took me out with some sort of gas and kidnapped me. When I awoken I was locked up in a room with a bunch of different aliens. At first I was freaked out and didn't know what to do. Lucky for me there was one called a Tamaranian in there. After she kissed me we were able to communicate. This shocked Blackfire hearing a Tamaranian was on a slave ship. Tamaranians were warriors and wouldn't go down easy. Now that I think about it, you look similar to her. Anyways, she told me where I was and what was going on. She also told me a bit about space, different life on planets, and different worlds. My mind was blown to say the least after hearing all that. I don't know how long we were on that ship for, but while on it I managed to gain more power from something within me. Blackfire caught what he was saying. He had some power inside him, and while on the ship he was able to tap into it. This made her curious as to what this power was. With my new power I could easily escape. But I had no idea how to fly the thing, so I decided to wait till we land to make my move. Also, when I got my new power I found out two things. 1. Who my parents were, and 2. The man I saw as a grandfather had betrayed me. My former grandfather figure had put a loyalty seal on me since he feared I would leave the village or worse destroy it for how the villagers treated me. He did it to try to keep his word to my parents, although it was for a somewhat noble reason. He had still betrayed me and I won't forgive him for that. The seal broke when I gained my new powers and I was finally free. Blackfire could see the hurt in his eyes of being betrayed by some close to him. Then came when a member of the group called the Justice League came and caught the slaver and saved us. I think he was called Green Lantern, I am not completely sure. He managed to get everyone back home, well except me. Since I didn't know what my planet was called he had no idea where to take me. Since I could pass for an Earthling he took me to Earth to start a new life. Which was fine with me since I didn't even want to go back to my home planet. I kept my powers to myself just in case. I didn't want him using me as a weapon. Once I got to Earth and he left I used one of jutsu I know called Cage Bunshin, Shadow Clone, to go learn everything they could about the planet. People, languages, and places. In a year I was able to learn all the popular languages, famous cities, the Justice League, and people with powers that were called meta-humans. I tried to be a hero in some towns and cities, but it always ended in me being put in some prison for meta-humans. Over 2 years I spent time in Iron Heights Penitentiary, Belle Reve, and Alcatraz Island, but nothing longer than a few months due to me escaping or being released on good behavior. I eventually gave up trying to be the hero and became a thief. Just stealing what I need and a few things I want. I didn't want the Justice League coming after me. The more Blackfire learned about this man, the more she started to like him. He was almost like her in a lot of ways. Soon more aliens came to Earth and I was able to get a ship and explore different planets and learn about different technology. For 2 years I was visiting different planets, stealing different tech, and that's what has brought me to this point. Wait a moment. You left out a lot of info, Blackfire said as she wanted to learn more about the man. What was this power you tapped into? Who were your parents? Which planets did you go to? What kind of tech did you steal? Did you ever find your home planet traveling? The man wagged his finger in front of Blackfire. No, I am only tell you that the man said with a smirk. I haven't heard about your issue with your sister yet. Tell me your story and I might go into more details about mine. Blackfire frowned at this. She wasn't planning on telling him anything, but now if she wanted more info on him then she had to tell him about her. Alright fine, I'll tell you about the issues between me and my sister, but you better answer some of my questions, got it? The man nodded in agreement. Me and my sister are the princesses of Tamaran. However, my sister was loved by, not just our parents, but also the people of Tamaran. On the day of my birth the Citadel Empire attacked and destroyed the western Tamaranian city of Kisser and killed 3,000 citizens in my name. Because of that the people Tamaran see me as a bad omen and everyone shows their love to Coriander, or as she is known on Earth, Starfire. Not only that, but it was our younger brother Ryander who became next in line to take the throne. When he disappeared it then became Starfire. She got everything and I had to work for everything I have. She took what should be mine, so I stole the Centauri Moon Diamond and tried to frame my sister for it, and that's how I ended up here. There, are you happy now? Yes, very happy. It's nice to know I am not the only person to have their inheritance stolen from them, the man replied with a smile. Blackfire looked at him confused. You see, it turned out my father was the 4th leader of my village. My former grandfather figure, the 3rd leader of the village, knew this and never told me. Not only that, he had me live in this crappy apartment and beg or dig in trash to find food, when I could have lived in my family's compound and had enough money to buy any and all the food I want. Before I was banished I never knew, let alone saw any of my inheritance. Blackfire looked at the man in shock. This man knew what it was like to have your birthright taken from you. Now since you told me able you sister issue, I'll answer 3 question, but I will not answer anything concerning my powers or abilities. I need to keep some secrets. Blackfire scowled at him. His powers were one of the things she wanted to know about. She then had an idea. If she could find his home planet then maybe she could gain some of the same powers. Alright, did you ever find your home planet? Technically no, I haven't found it, the man said. Look up to the ceiling, but I can sense the chakra coming from the planet. If I had a ship I could fly there by following it. Blackfire nodded. It was something, but she need him to get to his home world. Would it be possible to use the energy from your home world and use those jutsus as you called them? The man smirked. He knew what she was getting at and going with this. The people on my home world are born with what we call chakra coils. They act as a storage unit for chakra and can grow as people train and get older. As far I know there is no one outside my home world that can use chakra. What about through surgery or something? Blackfire asked in almost a desperate tone. It might be possible, but it would require someone with medical knowledge from my home world and way more advanced technology than my home world has. This caused Blackfire to smirk. You said you stole tech from different worlds and you knew a legendary medic from your home world. You think you could talk to that person, see if it's possible to give me these chakra coils? The man smirked back at her. That is your fourth question, Heim. Blackfire gave a confused and annoyed look. On my home planet. Heim means princess. She then nodded but still looked annoyed. I'll answer 3 more question if you answer mine. Blackfire frowned but nodded in agreement. I have been traveling for a while now and I find your thirst for revenge on your sister interesting. My question is that if I see if it possible to give chakra coils, will you let me help you get revenge on your sister? Why would you want to help me? Asked a shocked Blackfire. What do you get by helping me? You would get more by stopping me. Your revenge reminds me of the emo trader's revenge against his older brother, the man said with a smile. He wanted to kill his older brother because he killed his family and clan. You want to get back at you sister for taking everything that should have went to you. I want to help because I know what it felt like to have your birthright taken away from you. I might not ever get back mine, but I will help you get your. Blackfire looked at him in awe. This man wanted to help her, not for something in return, but because he knew what it felt like to have your birthright taken from you. I'll ask again, will you let me help you get your revenge? Blackfire broke out of her trance and put on impassive face. Well, if you want to help me that bad, I see no reason to stop you, she said as she looked away from him. The man gave her a foxy grin. While Blackfire may not have shown it, but she was glad to have someone who understood her and wanted to help. Thank you, he replied, still grinning. Now to answer your fourth question, the medic I knew would not help. She is strongly against experimenting on people. It goes against her moral code, but I know someone else who might be able to help if he is still alive. When will you tell me about your powers? Now that you are going to help me, I think I have a right to know, Blackfire said with a smile. When I feel I can trust you, he replied with a smirk. Until then I will only tell you things on a need-to-know basis. You have one more question. Blackfire frowned, which then became a smirk. What is the name of my new partner? He then smirked. Well, I go by 4 different names. I go by Kyuubi, Kitsune, Mr. 9, but mostly I am known as Naruto Uzumaki. I am Commander, but most people call me Blackfire, she replied with a small smile. So any plans on escaping? My plan is already in motion, Naruto replied, which got a confused look from Blackfire. She was about to ask what he meant when the door to the cell opened. In the doorway stood another Naruto. Before they caught me, I had made a cage bunshin, shadow clone, and have it look like one of the guards. Now we can leave. You mean you could have escaped whenever you wanted? Shouted an angry and surprised Blackfire. Yes, but since they put you in the same cell as me, I wanted to see what you were like, replied Naruto. Blackfire was glaring at Naruto. Relax, alright, all we have to do knock out the rest of the crew and take the ship. With this we will able to find my homeworld and you'll be one step closer to you getting your revenge. I guess. Blackfire pouted as she followed Naruto out the cell to take over the ship. TFP and TBT, it had been 2 years since Naruto and Blackfire stole the Centaurian ship and started their partnership. A lot of things happened in those 2 years. After they took the ship, they started to look for Naruto's home world. When they found it, they started looking for the man that could possibly help them. It took a few days, but they were able to locate him. Needless to say, Naruto surprised that the man hadn't been caught or killed. But then again, he was as, if not more, slippy than his late teacher Orochimaru. It was Kabuto Yakushi. It was shock for both of them. One disappeared into thin air and the other was more snake than man now. The meeting was started with the two attacking each other. However, Blackfire was able to stop them by hitting them both with a black bolt. She then explained why they were there and looking for him. Once she was done, Kabuto then threatened to inform the Akatsuki if they didn't do what he wanted. Blackfire was about to punch him into next week when Naruto spoke up. He told him about all the advanced technology he had seen. He made an offer in that if Kabuto helped them, then not only would Kabuto get technology that was far advanced than anything on the planet, but also blood samples of different aliens and people with power to use for whatever he wanted. As Kabuto thought it over, he realized he would be a fool to not take the offer. With all the advanced technology, he might be able to do the one thing his late master was never able to do, become immortal. Kabuto took the offer and agreed to not tell anyone about knowing or seeing Naruto. Naruto then told Blackfire what it was he had inside of him, and then told them both about how it no longer exists. As he told them what happened and what he was now, Naruto thought about his last meeting with the Kyuubi as he told them. Flashback. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto stood in front of the Kyuubi no Kitsune in pure shock over what he just heard. I am sorry, could you repeat that? Naruto asked. I said the Hake no Fuin Shiki, 8 trigrams sealing style, is turning you into a Hanyu, half-demon, the Kyuubi replied. But why? Almost crying, Naruto asked. Because you mortals were never meant to absorb our demonic chakra, the Kyuubi replied. Just using a tailed beast chakra damages your weak bodies. What do you think was going to happen? The Hake no Fuin Shiki, 8 trigrams sealing style, has been taking my demonic chakra and adding it to you own, but that's all it's doing, it's not changing it or anything. With all the chakra the seal has been absorbing into you and you have been taking from me, it is turning you into a Hanyu, half-demon. It was bad enough the Kyuubi just told him the truth about his parents and about the loyalty seal the third put on him, but now this, did my father know this was going to happen? Unlikely, the Kyuubi replied with a snort. The Kyuubi looked down the broken young man and sighed. Look kid, ever since you've been kidnapped I have been pouring more of my chakra into you, though the seal, to speed up the process. Why? Shouted a hysterical Naruto. Because I decided to make you my heir, the Kyuubi replied. The seal is slowly killing me, and if I have to die then it's going to be on my terms. Listen Naruto, I don't like you, but you have just learned that you were forced to be loyal to a village that despised you. But now you have the freedom to start a new life on a new world. Naruto stood there with his head down as tears fell down his cheeks. I am sorry Naruto, but this is how things are. Grow strong to live up to the title of the heir of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Why? Asked a sad Naruto. I've lost my friends, my home, my world, even my way of life, and now I am losing you. Why am I being forced to be alone? Listen to me Naruto, the Kyuubi said as he got to eye level. I've been with you for 16 years, and if I learned anything about you, it's you will find and make more precious people and not be alone. You are able to connect with people, so don't worry about being alone, because knowing you won't be alone for very long. Naruto gave the Kyuubi a sad smile. Thank you Kyuubi. Since you are going to be my heir I will tell you my name. It's Kurama, the Kyuubi, now known as Kurama, said with a small smile. Goodbye Kurama. Goodbye Naruto, and good luck. End flashback. Not too long after that the Kyuubi died and Naruto became a Hanyu, half-demon. His appearance didn't change that much, all that happened was her pupils became slit. One eye turned crimson, and he grew blonde with reddish-orange tipped fox ears and tails. Since he was the new Kyuubi he did have 9 tails, but he could choose to hide and show them whenever he wanted. All his senses were heightened and now he could sense chakra no matter how far or well someone hid it. Naruto wondered why he was still aging, but figure it was most likely because he didn't have that much control over his new powers, despite being a Hanyu, half-demon. For a few years he hasn't trained to use his new power. After telling Kabuto and Blackfire what he was, he expected them to try and kill him. He was very shocked that both of them didn't care. He was glad to find some people who would accept him, even if it was a criminal princess and a crazy snake man. With the technology Naruto brought, Kabuto was not only able to rebuild Otogakure but make it so strong it became the 6th big hidden village. Officially someone else was named the Naidame Otokage since Orochimaru was the Shodai. But unofficially the Naidame Otokage was Kabuto, while the other larger villages didn't trust the village or its Otokage due to its history. Many smaller villages made treaties and alliances with it. Otogakure became the most technologically advanced village in elemental nations. The only place that came close to have anything as advanced as Otogakure was the Land of Spring. Kabuto was approached by the Akatsuki to join them, but Kabuto turned them down. Zetsu had tried to sneak into Otogakure, however with all the advanced technology Kabuto was able to have a barrier around the village that stopped Zetsu from getting through. Over the 2 years Kabuto and Naruto had become friends, not best friends but good friends. As a sign of friendship Kabuto gave both Naruto and Blackfire a Auto Hite 8 and told them they are welcome in the village anytime. In the elemental nation, things were a little more chaotic than people wanted. Kirigakure, Kumogakure, Iwagakure, and Tsunagakure had all formed an alliance to go against the remaining Akatsuki. And if they need to Konohagakure, Tsunade eventually recovered and was furious when she heard that Danzo convinced the Fire Daimyo to banish Naruto and tried to take back leadership of the village. Unfortunately Danzo stayed in power when he had the backing of the Fire Daimyo. Danzo was not happy about the situation either. He had planned to capture the banished Naruto and turn him into a weapon for Konohagakure. However, when Naruto disappeared Danzo was furious that he couldn't go through with his plan. Now Konohagakure had no weapon and had all the other villages as their enemy. Not only that, but when word got out about Naruto's banishment many villages, including Tsunagakure, broke or cut off all alliances with Konohagakure. Konohagakure was now in economic downfall. Even the Fire Daimyo was starting to think Danzo couldn't run the village properly. As for the Akatsuki, Tobi, or as he was going by now Madara Uchiha, did plan to go to war against the other villages, but since the location of the Kyuubi was unknown and the Hachibi well guarded, he decided to wait to do that. With most of the Akatsuki members dead, Toby started having C rank, B rank, and A rank missing nin join the Akatsuki. Most of them were only allowed to join just so they could locate the Kyuubi vessel. The organization had become a shell of its former self. Toby also found Pain's Nagato's body and took one of his Rinnegan eyes. But he had to fight and kill Conan to get it. Toby was also able to get Sasuke and his team, Team Taka, to join the Akatsuki, however later on that proved to be a mistake. Sasuke had tried several times to go after the Hachibi by himself and without being ordered to. He also had tried to go to Konohagakure after it was rebuilt to try to destroy it and kill Danzo. Every attempt for both failed and ended with Toby saving him from getting killed or captured. As for Blackfire, she spent the 2 years helping Naruto stealing anything Kabuto might need to help make her or the village stronger. However, not only did they steal tech, they also had to kidnap some people to use them as test subjects for Kabuto. They gave him a lot of different species of alien, as well as some Tamaranians. They were the test subjects to see if it was possible to give Blackfire chakra coils. While Kabuto did experiments on the Tamaranians, Blackfire was already coming up with a plan to get back at her sister. She was going to go back to Tamarin and forcibly take the throne. She also was going to make a deal with the ruler of Drenthax, Glgrdsklecchh, a disgusting blob-like creature. For letting him marry Starfire, he would give Blackfire the Jewel of Charta, an artifact which would increase her powers and make her virtually invincible. She didn't want to wait to see if Kabuto could give her chakra coils, so she started to get things ready for her plan. As for Naruto, he kept his end of his deal with Kabuto. Naruto traveled to many planets to get tech and blood samples to give to Kabuto. He also went back to Earth to make some bases on the planet and get some blood samples from the supervillains. And if possible superheroes. It was when he was trying to get a sample of some of the prisoners in Arkham Asylum when he met Amanda Waller. Now Naruto was no supervillain on Earth, but that didn't mean he didn't become friends with some. He met them either in the short time he spent in prison or he would help them steal something. Just to name some of his friends, they were Catwoman, Cheshire, Deathstroke, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy. He did hear about Amanda Waller and her Suicide Squad from Deadshot and Harley Quinn. While Amanda started the meeting by threatening to throw him into a cell so deep he wouldn't see daylight for years. Naruto saw this opportunity. Naruto offered to be part of her Suicide Squad whenever she wanted and do mission for her when she need him. In return, all he asked for was blood samples of certain villains and any heroes they would give him. Amanda was interested in the offer. She did keep an eye on him ever since he appeared out of nowhere all those years ago. She thought he was going to be another hero running around to deal with. Then he turned into a thief. This proved her point that the heroes could turn bad at any moment. Now she had this thief that was willing to not only do the jobs she would send the Suicide Squad on, but also be a part of the group. The problem was why he wanted blood samples. She knew it wasn't to be a trophy or drink. He needed it for something important. The two discussed the offer more and came to a deal. Naruto would do solo mission for Amanda and be part of the Suicide Squad when she need him, plus give her a sample of his blood, and Naruto would get the samples he wanted with the possibility of getting a hero's blood sample if he completed mission by a certain time. Also during this time he tried to learn and master his new demonic powers. He had a wind and fire affinity, to where as before he just had wind. He could also use demonic and kitsune style jutsus. Kurama only told him 3 of each and told him to try to make his own. He could also become a mini golden Kyuubi, but he goes into a berserker state. Kabuto also gave him some fire and wind jutsus to learn. Kabuto was also able to give him one more thing. 3 new powers, thanks to Killer Frost Blood and Naruto being a Hanyu, half-demon. Kabuto was able to extract the part of Killer Frost DNA helix that had her ice powers can transfer it to Naruto. Kabuto was also able to do this to 2 more blood samples. One being Poison Ivy's blood, and this made Naruto able to control plants when he put his chakra into them. The last power came from a man named Warp. From him Naruto was able to open portals between any 2 locations that he chooses and travel through them and bring others through it as well. This the Warp from the comics, not the show. Naruto met Warp when he was on a mission for Amanda. Naruto helped him out after seeing what powers he had. After Warp got what he wanted, he was more than happy to give Naruto a sample of his blood, despite him not knowing why Naruto wanted it. TFP and TBT. Naruto was sitting at a desk in a room of the Tamarin Palace talking to Kabuto through visual communication device. Blackfire had been the Grand Ruler of Tamarin for a month now and was starting her plan. Naruto's appearance had not changed much in the 2 years. He did replace his blood-red t-shirt with a blood-red hoodie that still had a large number 9 on the front and a fox head design on the hood. He also now wore a golden porcelain fox mask whenever he goes on a mission. The plan was all set. They had a fleet of Drenthax ships being piloted by robots to make it look like the planet had been conquered and Starfire was on her way to be betrothed to ensure a truce between Tamaran and Drenthax IV. By the way, I finally found a way to give Tamaranians chakra coils, Kabuto said over the communication device. That's good, but I don't even know if she wants them anymore, replied Naruto, since now she is getting that jewel of Charta and marrying her sister to a huge blob, she won't need the power anymore. Well, if still wants them I can now give them to her, so how do you think her plan will go? I am honestly not sure. I've never tried to get any info on the Titans while on Earth. I promised Blackfire I wouldn't interfere with her plan and I never break a promise? Kabuto finished with an amused smirk. Naruto glared at Kabuto. No, I was going to say I want to see if it will work. Kabuto gave him a light chuckle. I can't believe how much you changed in these 7 years. If your old friends could see you now, they wouldn't recognize you. Naruto then frowned as he looked to the ground. Don't mention them to me. They stopped being my friends when they didn't help stop my banishment. Naruto then felt 2 arms wrap around his neck. He looked back to see Blackfire with a small smile. It's a good thing too, or else I would have never met my demon fox here, Blackfire said with a smirk. Over the 2 years Naruto and Blackfire got to know more about each and became close friends. They would casually flirt with each other, but it was more of a game for them. Naruto gave her a small smile while Kabuto gave them a devilish smirk. Looks like you two are busy. I'll just leave you 2 lovebirds alone, Kabuto said as he shut off the communication device. Both glared at Kabuto before he shut off the device. While they did flirt with each other, they were nothing more than friends. Naruto sighed as he freed himself from Blackfire's embrace. He was right about one thing. Should you be preparing for when your sister gets here, it should be soon. Blackfire playfully pouted at Naruto before putting on a smile. Yes, you're right. Just remember you promised not to interfere. I know, Naruto said as he rolled his eyes. I'll only step in if it's an emergency. Now your guest should be arriving soon and you need to be there to greet her home. Blackfire playfully smacked him on the arm. That's queen to you, Foxy, Blackfire said jokingly before she left the room. TFP and TBT, it was the day Starfire was supposed to marry GLGRDSKLECHHH and things didn't go according to plan. Cyborg and Beast Boy found out that the Drenthax fleet was not piloted by alien crews but by robots. Raven found out about the deal between Blackfire and GLGRDSKLECHHH. And Robin was doing whatever he could stop the wedding. Even when Blackfire had locked them up, they managed to escape and warned Starfire about her sister's plan. This led to Starfire challenging Blackfire for the crown. While Blackfire had the advantage by using the Jewel of Charta, it was Starfire's love for her friends and people that gave her the strength to defeat Blackfire. Naruto stood on the ceiling as he watched the fight between the 2 sisters. He just saw Starfire not only defeat Blackfire but also destroy the Jewel of Charta. The challenge is complete. Tamaran has a new Grand Ruler, Starfire said as she stood over Blackfire, and henceforth, my sister Blackfire shall be banished from Tamaran. Blackfire had a look of complete and utter shock. Banished? Are you joking? Where I'm supposed to live? GLGRDSKLECHHH then made some gurgling and belching noises. You wish. I won't forget this, sister dear. Some Tamaranian guards were about to apprehend Blackfire when Naruto jumped from the ceiling and landed beside Blackfire. Using the ice abilities he gained from Killer Frost DNA, he made a small ice wall around him and Blackfire as a warning. Looks like we overstayed our welcome, Naruto said as he was now wearing his hood and mask to hide his identity. I suggest that we retreat for now. You can try again another time, Heim. Blackfire scowled as she looked around but nodded. As much as I hate to admit it, you're right. Let's go. Naruto nodded and using Warp's power opened a portal beside them. Until next time, dear sister. With that, both Blackfire and Naruto went through the portal and left Tamaran. TFP and TBT, the Titans, were watching all of Tamaran celebrating their new Grand Ruler, Starfire's adopted father, legal guardian, and caretaker, Galfor. However, the Titans weren't in a celebrating mood. Although they not only stopped Blackfire's plan but also saved Starfire, their minds were on the mysterious person who saved Blackfire. Dude, who was that guy? Asked an excited Beast Boy. The guy came out of nowhere and then made all that ice, and then made that strange portal and then disappeared. I don't know, Robin said with a frown, but one thing for sure, he was working with Blackfire and that's not good. I had talked to Galfor about the strange man, Starfire said with that sad expression. He came with my sister when she arrived. All he did was stay in the room my sister gave him when she became the ruler. He never talked to anyone other than Blackfire and she was the only one allowed to enter his room. Also, I could sense a dark energy coming from him, Raven said with a frown. From what Starfire just told us, he had been here long before we came, but the strange thing is I couldn't even sense him until he showed himself. This caused the boy Wonder to frown. The portal power he had never seen, but the ice powers reminded him of Mr. Freeze. When we get back home, I'll run a search of all known criminals, Cyborg said as he stood in a thinking pose. His appearance looks pretty unique. How many people wear a golden fox mask? Friend Cyborg, what does Heim mean? Starfire asked with a confused look. That was what the strange man called my sister. Cyborg started looking on the computer on his arm. The only reference I'm getting is from the Japanese language. Apparently in Japan the word Heim means princess. This got wide eyes from all the Titans, so that could mean his is of Japanese descent, Robin said with a frown as he took the thinking pose. Well, deal with him and Blackfire later. For now let's go home. This got a nodded from the others and they headed for the T-ship. TFP and TBT. Meanwhile, as the Titan watched the celebration, Blackfire was destroying a training ground in Otogakure. Naruto had took them there since he knew Blackfire would be in a foul mood and would want to destroy something. Naruto and Kabuto stood there with bored expressions as they watched Blackfire destroy the training ground, while any auto shinobis and civilians stayed far away. I know I told you that you guys are welcome back to the village, but that doesn't mean you can destroy it, Kabuto said with bored tone. Naruto sighed and started to look around. He could see the people in Otogakure either bow to him, greet him, or smile and wave at him. Since Naruto was the one to give and teach Kabuto the new technology that helped rebuild the village, he was seen as a hero. I saw two reasons why your plan failed. Do you want to hear them? Naruto asked as he looked back at Blackfire. Blackfire stopped destroying the field and looked at Naruto. She had a scowl on her face, but she gave a small nod. The first was your arrogance, Naruto said in a serious tone. You believe that you are the better fighter simply because you are older and underestimated Starfire. That was how she beat you. Blackfire's eyes glowed purple with rage. While she did know that was true, she would never admit it. She didn't like it when others pointed out her weakness, no matter who they were. And right now she was about to knock Naruto onto a different planet. The second reason was her friends, Naruto said in hopes it would save him from getting beat down by Blackfire. This slightly lowered Blackfire's rage as she had a slightly confused look on her face. Yes, they revealed her plan to Starfire, but she didn't think that made such a difference. As long as her friends are nearby, she will find the strength within herself to take on any opponent. Her strength increases when she has the support of her friends or they are in danger. If you keep them out of the picture, then she won't be able to tap into her inner strength. This actually made sense to Blackfire. Without any kind of support from her friends, Starfire was weak. So what, I should make a team like the Titans? Have them take care of her friends while I defeat Starfire? Blackfire asked as her rage disappeared. That might work. Tamaranian's powers are fueled by emotions, Kabuto said as he thinks of the situation. We have a problem with that plan, Naruto said as he leaned against a wall. If we get any super villains to help us, then the Justice League might come after us. We can't use the kids from the old H.I.V.E. school since they don't have the best track record of defeating the Titans. Who are we supposed to get to help? What if they weren't known criminals? Kabuto said with an evil grin. This caused both Naruto and Blackfire to look at him confused. I'm sure you can find some shinobis that could help you take out these Teen Titans. There's no way any shinobis on this planet are going to willingly help Alien and Hanyu, half-demon, Naruto said with frown. Who said anything about willingly? Kabuto said with a smirk. All you have to do is find the shinobis you want and I simply put a loyalty seal on them. Hearing that made Naruto unconsciously rub the place where his loyalty seal was. Will they be strong enough to handle the Titans while I deal with my sister? Asked Blackfire. Kabuto shrugged. If they are not to your liking, I could always fix that with an experiment or two. Both Kabuto and Blackfire looked towards Naruto to get his thoughts on the idea. Naruto noticed this inside. I said I would help you, Heim, even if it means capturing and enslaving a few shinobis, Naruto said in a tired tone. Blackfire smiled at him, while Kabuto grew a smirk on his face. Then I suggest you find the Uzumaki clan's mask storage temple that is located somewhere on the outskirts of Konohagakure and get the Shinigami mask, Kabuto said as he started walking away. Okay, 3 questions, said a confused Naruto as he followed him and being followed by a curious Blackfire. 1. What is this Shinigami mask? 2. Why'd I need it? And 3. What are you planning? First, the Shinigami mask is a mask that allows you to summon the Shinigami, Kabuto said as they walked through the village. Second, you'll need the mask to free the souls of 4 previous Hokages from the Shinigami stomach. Thirdly, I am planning on teaching you a jutsu that could help you in your fight against these Teen Titans. Naruto suddenly had sick feeling in his stomach that he wasn't going to like where this was going. And what is this jutsu that you want to teach me? Asked a nervous Naruto, while Blackfire was also interested in what this jutsu was. Kabuto looked back to look at Naruto. He had evil gleam in his eyes. I want to teach you Edo Tensei. It was the next day after Naruto and Blackfire returned to Otogakure. They were in the Otokage's office with Kabuto trying to come up with what to do next. Kabuto, who wore a maroon-colored cloak with a hood designed to resemble a serpent's head, although he changed from the man he was before, he still wore it as a keepsake. Before I help you pick out some shinobis to capture, I need to know a little bit about these Teen Titans, Kabuto said as he sat in the Otokage's chair. Honestly, I don't know much about them, replied Naruto from the opposite side of the Otokage's desk with Blackfire. I was more worried about the Justice League. Blackfire would know more than I do. There are 5 members in the Teen Titans, Blackfire said with a frown. There is a tall half-man half-machine boy named Cyborg. A small green boy that can change into any animal called Beast Boy. Then there is a gloomy magic user girl named Raven, my sister Starfire. And lastly the leader of the team who uses gadgets and a staff as weapons, a boy named Robin. Robin is the only one I know something about, Naruto said when heard the boy wonder's name. He was the sidekick to one of the founding members of the Justice League, Batman. Batman is known as a master detective and martial artist, so I would think Robin would not only smart but also master martial artist. Kabuto nodded as he wrote all this down. Let's start with this Cyborg, Kabuto said as he didn't even look up at them. What attacks or weapon does he use, and does he have any weakness? He uses his strength and this arms that can turn into sonic cannons, Blackfire replied, since he has a body made up of entirely robotic systems granting him superhuman strength, resilience to damage, a cannon built into his arms that can shoot sonic blasts, and numerous other gadgets built into his body. However, he has the same weakness as machines. His body could be rewired, short out, or even run out of power if he doesn't recharge. So perhaps Raiden, lightning release, user would be best to use against him, Kabuto said, sat back in his chair, someone to overload his circuits or at least damage the wiring inside his armor. Wouldn't it be better to use a Doden, earth release user? Naruto asked. He is mostly a robot, and like any robot, it will break if you hit it hard enough or with something hard and or heavy enough, maybe even an Akamichi since they have their expansion jutsus. Kabuto then put a smirk on his face. Planning on recruiting some of your old friends, Naruto? Naruto then glared at Kabuto. No, I am just giving my thoughts. I don't know many Doden, earth release users, and the Akanichis have the strength that could destroy Cyborg's robotics. You might be right, Kabuto said as he thought about what Naruto's thoughts. It might be better to go with someone that could destroy him rather than just turn him off. Meanwhile, Blackfire sat there mostly confused. She could understand the words they were speaking but couldn't follow their conversation. Naruto had told her more of his past, but he never used their real name. He just used insulting nicknames he made for them. I have a couple of people in mind, Kabuto said as he started to write some things down. Let's move on to this Beast Boy. So he can change into just animals? Yes, and that's all he can do, replied Blackfire. He's not very bright, likes to play pranks, jokes around, is loud and annoying, and has tons of energy. Blackfire failed to notice the look and smirk Kabuto gave Naruto, and the death glare Naruto gave Kabuto when she finished. Since you said he wasn't smart, then maybe a genjutsu expert, Kabuto stated. If he is not that bright, then his mind might be weak. Someone who uses genjutsu would be perfect. Unfortunately, I only know one genjutsu expert, Naruto said until his eyes widened. Wait, I remember back when I was 12 I helped save a genjutsu user. Her name was Yakumo Kurama. It's too bad there aren't many Uchiha around. Their Sharingan eyes made them masters at genjutsu. I'll look into her to see if she would be a good choice as well as something else, Kabuto said while lost in his thoughts. How about this Raven girl? I'll deal with her, Naruto spoke up before Blackfire could say anything. I may not know what kind of magic she uses, but I do know I sense a demonic energy coming from her. I am the best choice to go against her. Besides, if you do teach me Edo Tensei, then it won't be just me fighting her. Both Kabuto and Blackfire nodded in agreement to Naruto theory. Alright, that takes care of her, and Blackfire is taking on her sister Starfire, Kabuto said as he wrote more things down. Then that just leaves this Robin boy. Well, he is a master detective and martial artist like his former mentor, Blackfire replied. He is also a master at hand-to-hand, tactician and strategist, and skilled leader. The weapons he uses are badarangs, collapsible bow staff, smoke bombs, grappling cables, electric discs, and explosive discs. As for weakness, the only one I can think of is that he has feelings for my sister. If he's like Batman, then he hates losing, being outsmarted, and can be obsessed about things, Naruto added. I am not sure who would be best, Kabuto said in thought. Maybe a taijutsu expert, but then there's all the weapons he uses. What about a kenjutsu user? Asked Naruto. Konoha does have a few, but I remember this Shizuka girl from the Nadeshiko village was a skilled kenjutsu user. Kabuto nodded in agreement. Yes, that's a good suggestion. Kumogakure and Kirigakure also have some skilled kenjutsu users. I'll see what I can find. Also, I want you to look for a possible medic, stated Naruto, earning a confused look from both Kabuto and Blackfire. Just as a precaution, I am a Hanyu, half-demon. So I won't die that easily, but the others might not be so lucky. Both Kabuto and Blackfire nodded. "I'll keep a lookout for one," Kabuto said as he wrote some more things down. "I do have someone in mind though, I just need to find said person," Kabuto muttered. "So what's this I hear about you finding a way to give me chakra coils?" asked a smirking Blackfire. "I have two ways actually," Kabuto replied with a small frown. "The first is an experiment. To give you chakra coils is by slowly pouring someone else's chakra into you through seals and putting it in a man-made chakra pathway system. This system will be made from the wood of the trees that we use to make chakra paper. Since the roots are organic matter, they should not harm your body. This process will take a few days to do since I have to surgically implant the man-made system and then slowly transfer someone else's chakra into you so it doesn't kill you. Theoretically, it should work, and this process has a 50% success rate." "What's the other options?" Naruto asked as he didn't like the sound of the first. Kabuto stood up, walked to the widow to look out over the village, and sighed. "The second is to seal a tailed beast into Blackfire," Kabuto replied in a tried tone. The room became deadly quiet. Both Naruto and Blackfire looked at Kabuto in shock. But Naruto told me the only tailed beasts that weren't captured were the 8 tails," and Blackfire stuttered, breaking the silence. "Naruto, who is technically as the 9 tails," Kabuto finishing Blackfire's sentence. Both then turned their heads to look at Naruto. Naruto, however, lost his shock expression and replaced it with a calm one. "On any chance we could free one from Toby?" asked Naruto. Kabuto shook his head. Naruto then closed his eyes to think. Naruto's expression became one of anger, then went back to calm. He opened his eyes and let out a sigh. "I am guessing the 8 tails is well guarded?" Kabuto nodded. "Then for now let's drop this subject," Naruto said in a cold tone. "One of my Kage Bunshin shadow clone on Earth just informed me that Waller wants to meet me. For now just focus on finding people for the team. Once we have the members, we'll come back to this and maybe I'll have come up with something by then." Naruto stood up, opened a portal using Rap's power and left. Kabuto and Blackfire stayed silent for a minute after Naruto left. It was Blackfire who broke the silence. He really didn't like that idea. "I don't think I've ever seen him that mad." Kabuto sighed. "Honestly, he took it better than I thought. I was sure he was going to hit or at least attack me for suggesting that. Naruto is my friend and I don't want to hurt him, but he knows how badly I want to get revenge on my sister. I will do anything for that, even if it means having a demon sealed in me." "You misunderstand why he's angry," Kabuto said, earning a confused look from Blackfire. "Right now he thinks that I just want to seal him away and you are going to force me to seal him into you so you can have chakra." But I would never. Like I said, he's my friend," Blackfire stuttered. Kabuto gave Blackfire a serious look. "Yes, I know that, but even though the three of us have been through a lot, Naruto is still unsure if he can trust us. Yes, he knows we are his friends, but we both know what his friends did when he was banished." Blackfire then scowled as she looked down. She realized that Naruto would have a hard time trusting people because of what he had been through. "Let him cool off for a bit. When he comes back, we'll explain to him that we aren't trying or going to betray him." Blackfire nodded. "All right, now I got some files of some shinobis that you might like for your team," Kabuto said as he pulled some files from the desk drawer. "What do you mean my team?" Blackfire asked with a raised eyebrow. "Well, you are the one who wants to go after a member of the Titans, plus Naruto and the other are only there to help you," Kabuto said with a smirk. "Naruto wanted you to be the leader since you were picking the other members. He also said it was too much responsibility to be leader. Then I'll just have to thank my demon fox when he returns," Blackfire said with a smirk of her own. The two of them started to look over the few files Kabuto had to try to find potential team members. Titan Tower. Meanwhile, it was a normal day for the Titans. Beast Boy and Cyborg were playing a video game. Raven was reading. Starfire was cooking Tamarinian dish, or at least trying to, and Robin was on the computer. Robin was trying to get as much info on the mysterious person who saved Blackfire. "Everyone come to the control room," Robin said over the T-communicator. Although none of them want to go, they knew they had to go. When they got to the control room, they saw Robin staring at a large monitor with a picture of the mysterious person who saved Blackfire. "I searched local, federal, and police Interpol to see if I could find this guy," Robin stated, not even looking away from the screen, "but there were no record of anyone fitting his description, so I called some old friends and asked for a favor to see if they were able to check the Justice League's files to try to find a match." "Dude, that awesome. Who was it you called?" asked the excited Beast Boy. "It doesn't matter," Robin replied with a frown. "The important part is there was a match on their system and they sent me the files. Apparently he goes by Golden Fox. He's a thief and good one too. He never has been caught, he very rarely kills and seems to be some sort of meta-human. He can make fire, wind, and ice, can walk on walls and ceilings, make copies of himself that turn into smoke when they're hit, and is known for using a kunai. Worst of all, he is known to work with some major villains, some of them being Catwoman, Lex Luthor, Harley Quinn, Ra's al Ghul, the Penguin, and Poison Ivy. However, all those time he seemed to be hired by them to steal one thing or another, keeping the title of thief, and no one has seen his face. Great, just what we need, another mask-wearing psycho cyborg said with a huff. And the Justice League hasn't been looking for him, why? Asked a bored-looking Raven. They have, but every time they corner him, he either somehow disappears, turn into smoke, or use that portal-making ability, replied Robin. So why did this golden fox help my sister and call her this Heim? Asked a confused Starfire. I am still working on that, replied Robin. Maybe she hired him for a job, but then that raises the question, why didn't he help Blackfire earlier? What is the connection? Not to mention the dark energy I sensed coming from him, Raven mentioned to add to the list of unknown. Yes, I forgot about that, Robin said as he narrowed his eyes to the picture of Naruto. That seems to be something the League doesn't know about. Who are you and what are you planning? Robin thought as he tried to solve the mystery about this thief. Waller's office. Amanda sat in her chair as she read over some reports. She was waiting for her guest to arrive. Amanda Waller was a large African-American woman with short-cut hair. She wore a purple female business suit with a white shirt under the jacket. You have a solo mission for me, or is it with the Suicide Squad? A voice asked throughout the room. Naruto body, with his hood and mask on, phased into sight and startling Amanda. How many times have I told you not to do that? Said annoyed Amanda, to which Naruto just shrugged. Anyways, it's a solo mission. I need to have some of my people that work in Project Cadmus moving to a new location. Some members of the Justice League are getting close to finding its location. What the job? You want me to help them move the stuff? Asked Naruto. No, I need you to make a breakout at a prison, replied Amanda. The League will be too busy catching the escaped convicts to bother my people. By the time they catch all the escapees, they will be in their new location. Alright, sounds simple enough. Which prison, or does it matter? I honestly don't care which ones, but you need to cause a breakout to 3 prisons. Alright, I can do that. What's my time limit this time? Cause 3 breakouts an hour and a half and you'll get another hero's blood sample. Naruto nodded in agreement and went through a portal to start his mission. Konohagakure, barbecue restaurant. I am not going to describe what the rookies look like, just imagine them in their Shippuden outfits. As Blackfire and Kabuto looked for members for Blackfire's team, the former rookie Ten and Sai were having lunch, although none of them seemed to be enjoying it. Man, I can't believe how much it cost just to get lunch here now, Choji said as the food was brought to the table. Due to the economic downfall, most, if not all, stores in Konohagakure had to raise their prices. Many stores and restaurants had to close up and leave to try again in another village. What do you expect? No village wants to trade with us and people aren't hiring Konoha shinobis anymore, Tenten stated to the large bone man. Things were a lot better when he was around, Kiba said with a sigh. At that moment it became deadly silent. The others at the table either gave a worried look to Hinata, Sakura, or glared at Kiba. Although Shikamaru didn't do either, he just sighed and started to light up cigarette. Both Hinata and Sakura had a depressed look on their face with tears coming from Sakura's eyes. Great going, dog breath. You got them both depressed again, Ino whispered to Kiba with a glare. You know what, I am sick of us not about this, Kiba shouted in rage. We always avoid talking about Naruto ever since he was banished. Well, I am done avoid this subject. When he was banished, not one of us did anything to help him. We all stood around and let it happen. You know the worst thing is, at the time I was thinking Danzo was making the right choice as well. However, now I am wondering what the hell I was thinking that day, and every day I hate myself for not helping him 7 years ago. You do bring up a good point, Kiba Neji said in a calm tone. I too remember having the same kinds of thoughts you had when Naruto was banished. Now looking back, I am wondering why I had those thoughts. I had the same thoughts as you both, as well as Stoic Shino commented. Did the rest of you have the same thought when Naruto was banished? Shino asked the others, to which they all nodded. Wait, so we all had the same thought, at the same time Naruto was banished? Ino asked. How is that possible? It is weird, Tenten said as she thought for a moment. I remember hearing a lot of shinobis saying something about regret a few days after Naruto was banished. Maybe this was what they were talking about. Maybe we were all caught in a genjutsu? Lee asked. Come on, Lee, there is no way there is a genjutsu powerful enough to control us without us knowing, Tenten replied. However, none of them noticed Sai put on a frown and slightly lowered his head in shame. What do you think, Shikamaru? Ino deciding to ask her teammate. All eyes were on Shikamaru. He however just closed his eyes and started to think. Troublesome. Right now there are too many unanswered questions, Shikamaru replied in a lazy tone. Why did we all have the same thought when Naruto was banished? Is it possible there is a genjutsu that powerful, and if there is, were we or are we under its effect? Right now through I am thinking of something more troublesome. What is it, Shikamaru asked Shoji. I don't know how to explain it, replied Shikamaru. It's just I have this feeling in my gut. Something big is starting and I don't know if it's good or bad for us. Bell Rev Penitentiary. Naruto was sneaking around planting paper bomb on certain walls in all prisoners' cell. Even though he could do something more flashy, he decided to go for stealth. He was hitting his other homes away from home as well. Iron Heights Penitentiary and Alcatraz Island with cage bunchins, shadow clones, Being here sure brings back memories. Naruto thought has placed another paper bomb, although L was on the other side of these doors last time I was here. Still it's nice to be back. Naruto had placed the last one and started to leave to get the best viewpoint to watch everything go down. Once Naruto got out and found a good viewpoint, he just had to wait for his clones to finish now to start the show. Maybe I overreacted earlier, Naruto thought as he remembered the meeting with Kabuto and Blackfire. They are my friends and wouldn't betray me like Konoha, right? I mean in the past Kabuto did, but over these last 2 years we have become good friends. I've also learned a lot about Blackfire and they both became precious people to me. Naruto then shook his head of those thoughts. No. They are my allies, at most just friends. I won't go back to thinking like the old me. Naruto Uzumaki died when Kurama died. I am now Naruto Golden Fox no Kitsune, heir to the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Naruto the gained a depressed look on his face under his mask. Still I should apologize when I get back. I need Kabuto's help and I am not going to stop helping Blackfire either. Naruto then got the memories from some of his clones informing him they were done at the other places. Alright, everything is set, time to start the fireworks. Naruto then made the ram hand signal to activate all the paper bomb. After a few seconds all the 3 prisons had their alarms going off. Many prisoners had started to leave now. Some of the metahuman prisoners stayed to attack some of the guards since they could use their powers again. Naruto had made sure only the small time or weaker metahuman could use their powers. He didn't want any of the major villains get out and killing all the guards. Well, my work is done, Naruto said as he watched the chaos. Time to report to Waller and get the blood sample I earned. Naruto then opened a portal and went through Konohagakure Hospital, Tsunade's office. While the former rookies had lunch, Tsunade was going over medical records and drinking sake while doing them. Tsunade and Shizune wanted to leave Konohagakure after Naruto was banished and Tsunade couldn't get back the title of Hokage. However, Danzo threatened to declare them missing nin if they left and they weren't too sure if any village would accept them. Tsunade finished reading the report and let out a sigh. Naruto, wherever you are, I hope are okay, Tsunade thought as she remembered her meeting with Fukasaku a few months after Naruto's banishment. Flashback: Tsunade had not only just got out her coma and heard about the banishment of Naruto, but now she lost the title of Hokage and couldn't leave the village without being declared as missing nin. Danzo did give her control of the hospital and make her head director, but that was nothing compared to what she lost. She was in one of the Senju compound personal training ground destroying anything she could. Then a puff of smoke appeared in front of her. Lord Fukasaku, what are you doing here? Asked a very surprised Tsunade. Tsunade girl, it's good to see you up and about, Fukasaku said happily. When Katsuyu told me you were out of your coma I came straight here. I have something extremely important to show you. What is it? Asked a worried Tsunade. Fukasaku then summoned the toad summoning scroll, opened it up, and showed her the names. Look here, Fukasaku said as he pointed to the blank spot beside Minato Namikaze name. Naruto boy's name is no longer on the scroll. Tsunade's eye widened in horror. You means he's, Tsunade said in a shaken voice. No, I believe he's still alive, Fukasaku said in firm tone. If Naruto boy had died then his name would have turned black like the others. That isn't the case here. His name was removed so he can't summon any of the toads. The only ones that can do that is me, Ma, and Gamabunta, and none of us would have done that to the poor boy. Then how did his name get taken off? That is the mystery, Tsunade girl. With his name now gone we can't even reverse summon him to Mount Myoboku. Speaking of which, why didn't you do that when Naruto got banished? Tsunade asked with a raised eyebrow. Fukasaku lowered his head in shame. By the time we heard what happened to Naruto boy it was too late, Fukasaku said in a depressed tone. Once we did hear what happened we tried to reverse summon him which didn't work. We then checked the scroll and saw his name was gone. So not even you know where he is, Tsunade stated in a depressed tone. Correct, but I know he's alive and will return one day, Fukasaku said in a confident tone which gave Tsunade hope. End flashback: Fukasaku left the toad summoning scroll with Tsunade to make sure it didn't fall into the wrong hands. Tsunade did tell the rookies' former teachers and Shizune about the meeting and to keep an eye out for Naruto whenever they were out of the village. Naruto, wherever, please come back home, she thought as she looked out the window. We need you back. All your friends miss you. Konoha needs its ball of sunshine back. Without you this place has become a dark and depressing place. Please come back home to Konoha soon Naruto. Waller's office. A portal opened in the middle of the room. Amanda then saw Naruto walked out of it and walked towards her desk. 1 hour and 5 minutes. I knew I should have only given you an hour, Amanda said with a smirk. Well, you didn't. So whose blood are you giving me? Asked an emotionless Naruto. Amanda opened one of her desk drawer and pulled out a test tube of blood. This is a sample of Wonder Woman's blood, one of my secrets medics acquired after one of her fights. She then tossed it to Naruto hoping he wouldn't be able to catch it. Unfortunately for her he was able to catch it. Thanks, an emotionless Naruto replied. I was hoping to get Superman's blood, but I'll take what I can get. You haven't earned that much of my trust, Mr. Uzumaki, Amanda told him with a smile. I am sorry, what name do you like to go by now, Naruto? Kyuubi, Kitsune, Mr. 9, or by your newest name, Golden Fox? You can call me which one you want, it doesn't matter to me, replied Naruto. I just glad you were able to delete my old criminal record and keep it clean, it makes my job a lot easier. As long as you don't betray me, I'll continue to help you, Mr. Uzumaki. You would be wise to remember that, Amanda told him as a serious tone. Naruto nodded to show he understood, opened a portal and went back to Otogakure. Otokage's office. Otogakure, Blackfire and Kabuto were still discussing and going over files of different shinobis when portal opened up and Naruto came out. The three of them looked at each and fell into an awkward silence, with what had happened earlier popping back into their minds. So, have you found any members yet? Naruto awkwardly asked as he removed his mask. Yeah, Guran is who she picked to take on Cyborg, Kabuto awkwardly replied as he handed her file to Naruto. Where can I find her? Naruto asked in a calm voice. She lives on the outskirts of a small village in the land of Spring, Kabuto replied as he handed him a map. I be back with her, Naruto said as took the map. He put his mask back on, opened a portal and was about to go through when Blackfire stopped him. Wait, Blackfire shouted with her hand stretched out to him. Naruto didn't turn around. Look, about what happened earlier today. We're not trying to get rid of or use you. You're our friend. We know you might have a hard time believe or trust us, but it's the truth. She's right, Naruto. Kabuto spoke up. All I was doing was telling you the ways I know right now to give Blackfire chakra coils. I wasn't telling Blackfire to let me seal you into her, or me tell you I want you gone. As much as I hate to admit it, you changed me in these last 2 years. Before I was all about work and capturing Sasuke, but now I joke around and have fun once in a while. Kabuto then put on a sly smile. Besides, if I wanted to seal you away I would have done it by now. This comment earned him an elbow to the gut and a glare from Blackfire. Naruto let out a sigh and took off his mask as he turned around. I am sorry for overreacting as well, Naruto replied in an exhausted tone. You're right, I do have a hard time trusting people after what Konoha did to me, and I do see you guys as my friends and trust you. For now let's put this behind and focus on getting members for this team. Both nodded in agreement. Alright, now that we got all the sorry out of the way, I'm going to go get us a new member of the team. Naruto again put his mask back on and went through the portal. Land of Spring. It was nightfall and Naruto had spent most of the day getting information on Guran from the villagers. Naruto did remember how he fought Guran in the past. Afterwards she left with Gozu and Yukimaru, from what Naruto could gather. After they parted ways, Guran and her group started a new life here. They had been living here happily until they were found by some of Danzo's roots agents. They tried to force Guran to go to Konohagakure to use her as breeding stock. Gozu and Yukimaru gave their lives to protect Guran. The roots agents were chased off by some Suna shinobis that were in the area. This happened about a month ago. The villagers became worried since Guran only comes out to go to Yukimaru and Gozu grave. That was where he was right now. Their graves were not too far from Guran's home. Guran was also there, kneeling in front of the graves with a dead look in her eyes. She wore a green kimono that, at one time was beautiful but now, was dirty and slowly turning black. It looked like it hadn't been washed for days, had several holes, and tons of stains. Guran herself had her hair down that now went to her waist. She wore no makeup, her skin was pale, and had bags under her eyes to indicate she hasn't slept for days. Naruto stood a few feet behind her and she didn't notice him, or she just didn't care. The two of them died to protect someone they cared about, Naruto said in demonic voice. He didn't want Guran to know who he was yet since he wasn't sure how she would react to a Konoha shinobi. Danzo will not be happy till he is ruling the entire elemental nations. He will get rid of anyone he thinks that will stand in his way. That's why he must die. If you're here to kill me, then just do it so I can join them, Guran said in an empty voice. I didn't come to take your life, stated Naruto. My friend is looking for shinobis to join her team to battle her sister's team. I am here to recruit you. I am not interested. Now buzz off, she replied in the same empty voice. If you join us and help my friend get her revenge on her sister, we'll give you the power to kill Danzo and avenge those you lost. No thanks, now get lost. Naruto let out a frustrated sigh. He didn't want to use force on her after he found out what she's been through. Naruto then got an idea. He didn't like it, but it might be the only way to get her to join willingly. What if I bring those two back to life so you can say your goodbyes? Naruto instantly found a kunai against his neck and Guran looking at him with rageful eyes. I don't know what kind of sick joke you're playing, but I am not laughing. Guran in a rage-filled tone. You got 10 seconds to give me one reason not to cut your head off. I am not joking, Naruto replied in a calm tone. Soon I will be to start my training on a jutsu that can bring them back. What is this jutsu called then? Guran asked with a raised eyebrow. Naruto took a deep breath to preparing himself for whatever was going to come next. It's called Edo Tensei. Naruto found himself on the ground after saying those two words. Guran had punched him so hard he flew back a feet and the top left mask was broken, exposing his crimson eye. You want to use that jutsu to bring them back to life? Guran shouted, and saying that jutsu with venom. Even if I wanted you to, how are you going to learn that jutsu? The only person to ever use that jutsu is dead. No, someone else learned it as well, and he is the one who is going to teach me, Naruto said as he picked himself up off the ground. And who is this other person? Guran asked with angry and slightly sarcastic voice. Naruto took another breath, knowing she might hit him again. It's Kabuto Yakushi. Guran's expression became that of pure fury. So you're one of Orochimaru's die-hard followers like that? Four eyes, Kabuto, Guran said with venom in her voice. No, I am not, Naruto in a calm tone. Kabuto isn't one either anymore. He had changed a lot since you last saw him. How would you know what he was like the last time I saw him? Guran asked with the same venom in her voice. Because I was there, Naruto said in his normal voice. I know what it's like to be hurt by someone you trusted. I know what it's like to lose someone who is like family to you. I can help you move on and get a new start, Guran. Naruto then reached up and removed what was left of his mask to show Guran who he was. Danzo banished me from Konoha, so if you want I can even help you hunt him down, kill him. It's why you, Guran stuttered in shocked and surprised voice. Yes, Naruto Uzumaki, the banished and missing Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Naruto said in an almost sarcastic tone. Why would you join that snake, Kabuto? Guran asked in the same shocked and surprised tone. He was the only one who could help me at the time, Naruto replied in an almost sad tone. However, I had changed him over these last 2 years. He is no longer the sneaky bastard you knew. But we are getting off topic. If join my friend's team and help her get her revenge, and I'll use Edo Tensei so you can say goodbye to them when I learn it. Look, I am sorry for how acted before, Guran said in an apologetic tone. But no, I am not going with back to that snake. I am sorry. Guran then started to walk away from Naruto. Guran, I was honest with you because I knew a bit about you and what you've been through, Naruto said in a tried tone. I want you to come willingly, but if you continue to refuse, I'll have no choice but to knock you out and have Kabuto put a loyalty seal on you. Guran stopped dead in her tracks. She turned her head to look at Naruto to see him with a serious expression on his face. You aren't joking, are you? Guran stated in a shocked tone. You really would do that? I don't want to against you, Guran, but if I have to I will, Naruto said in an icy tone. Naruto then flared his demonic chakra, which caused Guran to collapse to her knees and gasp for air. Naruto then pulled back all his chakra and keeled down to meet Guran at eye level. I don't just want to help my friend find members for her team. I also want to help you get back on your feet, Naruto told her in a calm voice. Why? Why do you want to help me? Asked a scared and sad Guran. Because I know what you are going through, he replied. I didn't have someone to help right off the bat, so if I can try anyone that is going through the same thing I went through. Guran then grabbed onto him, started crying into chest. All the emotions she was bottling up all came out at that moment. Naruto did the only thing he could do. He held on to her until she was finished. Otogakure Gate. Naruto and Guran walked out of a portal to appear in front of the gate to Otogakure. Guran looked up at the gate and felt a sense of nostalgia. She swore to herself she would never return here after she left Orochimaru. But at the same time, this place was one of the places she called home. Guran agreed to join willingly, but she would only take orders from him, and if Kabuto tried anything then she could leave no matter what. Naruto told her a bit about his travels and honestly it piqued her interest. She also wanted to get closure and say goodbye to Gozu and Yukimaru. However, she wanted Naruto to perform the Edo Tensei since she didn't trust Kabuto not to sacrifice her. Before we go in I have to do one thing first, Naruto said as he looked at Guran. Naruto then put one of his hand on Guran's shoulder, earning a confused look from Guran. Red chakra started to cover his hand and Guran's entire body. Guran was worried and wondering what was going on, until she started to these white blobs come her body. Once they were all off her body, Naruto quickly cut to pieces with his kunai. Naruto then pulled all the red chakra back into his hand. Those were Zetsu spores, Naruto answered Guran's unasked question. The Akatsuki uses them to spy on people and location. The barrier around the village wouldn't have let you in with those on you. Naruto walked a few steps in front of Guran and stretched both his arms to the sky in a welcoming gesture. Welcome to both Otogakure and the team Guran. A month had passed since Guran had returned to Otogakure and joined Blackfire's yet-to-be-named team, and she was no more an empty shell of her former self. Thanks to Naruto being her support and shoulder to cry on, she got herself back into fighting shape and was stronger than ever. Her meeting with Kabuto went better than Naruto expected. Guran threw some insults at Kabuto, and Kabuto tried to lighten the mood by making some jokes with his twisted sense of humor, which resulted in him getting an elbow to the gut by Blackfire or Naruto. Over the month, Naruto managed to learn Edo Tensei, but it wasn't at the level Kabuto wanted to be yet. It was good enough to summon Yukimaru and Gozu for Guran. Guran got to see them and apologized to them for not saving or protecting them. The two of them told her she had nothing to apologize for and that they were more than happy to die to protect her and wanted her to live and move on. After Guran got her closure, she started to open herself more to people, instead isolating herself. Naruto also told her what he was and his stories on other worlds. At first Guran was terrified of Naruto after learning he was the new Kyuubi. But those fears were washed away after talking and hanging out with him. Guran also got to go with Naruto a few times when he went to steal tech from another planet for Kabuto or when he returned to Earth for jobs. However, this started to create a problem. Guran started to follow Naruto anywhere she could and said she owed her life to him. She started to refer to him as Naruto-sama and started to become his shadow. This had caused Guran and Blackfire to butt heads and have arguments. Naruto was the one who tried to stop these while Kabuto snickered a safe distance away. Blackfire, on the other hand, was learning different taijutsu styles, since they were currently staying away from the gaining chakra issue. She was also looking through files of different shinobis and learning more about the history chakra and the hand seals. This made it so she couldn't go with Naruto as much to steal tech, which Guran was more than happy to help with. This caused fights between the two, both verbal and physical. Blackfire never helped Naruto with mission for Amanda Waller since she didn't trust the women, but would help him with stealing Tiak or anything else. Blackfire was hating how Guran was becoming a servant to Naruto and following him anywhere she could, when she was only here to be on her team to fight the Titans. Kabuto was busy running the village behind the scenes and getting information from his spy network, as well as take enjoyment from the fighting between Guran, Blackfire, and Naruto. His spy network was better than Jiraiya's due to the advanced technology. He had at least one spy in every village and or country. This helped Otogakure stay on top of the other villages and Akatsuki. Naruto, however, had a stressful month. He was glad he was able to help Guran get closure and her life back. But he didn't think she would fall back into her old ways and become his servant. This had caused several arguments between him and Blackfire, which would later turn into fight between her and Guran, which he would have to break up. Kabuto was no help in department, but his spy network was a really big help. Not only was it the fighting, but he was also jumping back and forth between Otogakure and Earth. He would go back to Earth because Waller had some small jobs for him, or sometimes he would just go check up on some of his friends, which he saw no harm in telling them what he and Blackfire were planning. The most stressful thing was the people Otogakure. While most just showed him respect or polite gestures, others took it a step further. Some other villagers saw him as the true Otokage, while others saw him as some sort of god with statues of him. Now Naruto wasn't sure if Guran was the one who started this, but he was sure that she was one of his followers. While everyone in the village people referred him as Naruto, Naruto-sama, or Kyuubi-sama, outside the village they referred to him as Golden Fox. Otokage office, Otogakure. Once again Kabuto had kicked the Otokage out his own office so he, Blackfire, Guran, and Naruto could have a meeting. Kabuto was still wearing his maroon-colored cloak. He sighed as he watched another argument between Blackfire and Guran. It was funny to watch in the beginning, but it was now getting annoying. I am the leader of this team. You should be following my orders, not his. Blackfire sneered at Guran. Blackfire had changed her appearance in the month she has been there to fit in better. So she no longer wore her silver and black outfit. Now she wore a small black, short-sleeve, open zipper jacket over a fishnet mesh shirt. Under the mesh still her flex armor around her chest and stomach. She also had the same armor made into forearm guards that she wore, and into the fabric in some shinobi fingerless gloves. She also wore black mini shorts, had leg guard made from the same flex mental that were over her thigh-high boots. I owe my life to Naruto-sama. He is the only one I'll take orders from. Guran replied with a sneer of her own. Guran put her light hair back into the spiky ponytail with long strands of hair framing her face, but now she wore a red dress with long open-ended left sleeve and cut-off right sleeve, which had a black fluffy collar and black gloves. Under the dress she wore a tangerine one-piece suit and a black cloth with a picture of the Kyuubi on the ends of it tied around her waist. She wore this to show her loyalty to Naruto and in tribute to the previous Kyuubi. You were brought here to be on this team, which I am the leader of. Blackfire shot back at Guran with a glare. I was brought in to help you get you revenge, which I will do. I just won't follow any orders except Naruto-sama. Guran replied with a glare of her own. Before this could turn into a fistfight, Naruto spoke up. Enough. We are here to talk about who I need to grab to join this team, Naruto said as he released some demonic chakra. Naruto's appearance had changed as well, due to Guran forcing him, since she said those clothing are not suitable for someone of your status. He now wore a black skin tight sleeve-less turtleneck. Under long blood-red zipper coat that had reddish-orange fur trimming on the hood and sleeves edges and a large black 9 on the back. Black Anbu-style pants with black steel-toe boots. He got his hair cut to go just past his shoulders. Fixed his mask, and still wore that and his hood while on missions. It was only missions did he wear a long-sleeve shirt armor that was made out of the same flex metal Blackfire wore. Now let's get back to Naruto started to say before he got a faraway look in his eyes. This meeting will have to wait. I got someone that wants to meet for a possible job to do back on Earth. Naruto opened portal to go back to Earth. You two stay here and figure out a way to stop fighting while I am gone, Naruto said just before he went through the portal. Both Guran and Blackfire glared at each other before leaving the office without saying anything, leaving Kabuto in the office by himself. All right. Good meeting everyone, Kabuto said with a sigh. Underground cell. Unknown Akatsuki base. One Sasuke Uchiha was chained up. Had chakra restriction and suppression seals on him and unable to move as he glared at the person who locked him up. Toby. Sasuke was wearing dark blue pants, over which hangs a blue cloth that covers him from his stomach to his knees and which he secures with a purple rope belt. A gray zippered, high-collared, short-sleeved shirt and blue wrist warmers. All underneath the Akatsuki cloak, Toby was now wearing a white mask with a purple tint that covers the entire upper half of his head. The mask's design resembles a combination of the Sharingan and Rinnegan, consisting of a ripple pattern with 3 tomo around the center, 2 of which act as the mask's eyeholes, black pants and gloves. With a white form-fitting shirt underneath, over this he wears a purple, high-collared, long-sleeve mantle that splits down the lower half and has the Uchiha crest on the back. Around his waist he wears a simple, light purple obi and a belt. Strapped to his back is Madara's gunbai, now purple with black trimmings and black tomo, connected to a black chain that runs up his right sleeve. The two glared at each other with their eternal Mangekyo Sharingan spinning at each other. You are becoming more trouble than you are worth, boy, Toby said in a deeper voice than what he did in the past. Not only did you fail to kill Danzo at the Cage Summit and get me the 8 tails 7 years ago, but now you are risking my plans even by going after them when I didn't order you to. Before we do anything, we not only need the location of the 9 tails, but also try to convince Otogakure to help us in the upcoming war. Sasuke scoffed. We don't need that weak village and I'll find the Dobi on my own. Otogakure is not the same village you once knew. They have become much stronger in these past 2 years. As for the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, no one has seen him since he was banished, which leaves me to think the Jinchuriki was killed and took the Kyuubi with him, which means soon the Kyuubi will reform anytime now. Then let me go destroy Konoha and kill Danzo for what they did to my clan. No. You already messed up my plans when you failed to kill Danzo the first time and capture the 8 tails, so until I need you, you will stay down here so you can't mess up my plans any further. You can't do this. I am Sasuke Uchiha, the elite of all the UCHIHAS. I demand you release me this instant. Toby released as much killer intent as he could. Did you forget who you were talking to, child? I am Madara Uchiha. I who controlled the Kyuubi and also fought Hashirama Senju. If anyone is a lead of the Uchihas, it's me. Toby turned to walk away as Sasuke glared at his back. Once Toby walked out and locked the door, he turned to look in a corner. Make sure that girl doesn't let him out, Toby said to the corner. Out of the corner a white Zetsu came out of the floor. Yes, Madara-sama, replied the white Zetsu before it disappeared back into the ground. Soon the Kyuubi will reform and I'll be able to continue with Project Tasuki no Mi. Abandoned warehouse, outside Jump City. The person that wanted to hire Naruto for a job wanted to meet at an abandoned warehouse. Naruto didn't care where he had to meet his clients, and this place wasn't even on his top 10 of weird places to meet clients. When he got there he started to look for his possible client. He searched the whole building till he found the main office. The entire building was old, falling apart, and covered in dust, but something stuck out in the office, a brand new laptop that sat on the dusty desk in the office. Naruto walked up to it and flipped it up to see it was on. Hello, Golden Fox. I am happy to see you've taken my job, a feminine voice said from the laptop. On the screen appeared a teenage girl with long platinum white hair and pale peach skin. She had a gray-blue right eye while her left eye was covered by a plain black eye patch. From what he could see, she looked to be wearing some sort of white sundress. I haven't accepted the job yet, I just agreed to meet you to hear what the job was, Naruto replied as he crossed his arms. So why is it that I am talking to you through a laptop and not in person, and who are you? I have my reason, and my name is Rose Wilson, the girl replied. Wilson? Why does that name sound familiar? Naruto thought as he tried to remember where he heard that name before. Now as for the job, I want you to steal 2 things for me, Rose said as images of Red X appeared on the screen. This is a picture of Red X, a suit that Robin made and wore for a short time. Robin locked this suit away never to be used again, that was until it was stolen by an unknown thief. Now I am sure Robin still has the schematics and blueprints for the suit on his computer. I want you to steal that information from the Titan Tower. I am not sure about this. This could mess up the plans I have with Blackfire, Naruto thought with uncertainty. The other thing I want you to steal is this, Rose said as a single image popped on the screen. The image was of a metal black and copper mask. This mask is in Robin's trophy room. I want you to steal this as well. Now I recognize that name, Naruto thought with a wide-eye expression behind his mask. Are you by chance related to a Slade Wilson? He was my father, Rose answered with a downcast expression. He was killed by the Teen Titans a year ago. Naruto had a sad expression behind his mask. I am sorry for your loss, Naruto said in a disappointed tone. Your father was a strong and honorable man. While what he did for a living was questionable, I still considered him a good friend. Thank you. I know he considered you as a friend as well, maybe even as the son he always wanted, Rose said with a small smile. As much as I want to take the job, I have to ask, how much will I get paid for this job? If you complete the job, your payment will be me joining your little team, Rose replied with a smirk. This caused Naruto to tilt his head to the side and have a confused expression on his face beneath this mask. I have heard through certain channels that you were making a team to defeat the Titans. If you get me what I want, then I will join you team and help you destroy the Titans. Naruto brought his hand up to the chin of his mask to think about the offer. We do need someone to handle Robin. She might be a better choice than grabbing a Kenjutsu user. If I do take the job and you join this team I am building, what is it that you can do and bring to this team? I am skill in hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, and swordsmanship. I also have enhanced mental capacities, agility, reflexes, speed, stamina, and strength. I also have a limited precognitive visions ability. While I can't use this ability at will, the times it have worked it has been accurate. Naruto stood there with a wide-eye expression beneath this mask. She could be what we are looking for to take on Robin, and maybe Kabuto can help her with that ability she has. Alright, I'll take the job, but I should tell you that I am not the leader of this team. I am just building it. It doesn't matter to me who is the leader, as long as I get revenge on the Titans for what they did to my father. You can use this laptop to contact me when the job is done. With that the screen went black. Naruto let out a sigh before picking up the laptop and head towards the door. Why is it I am surrounded by revenge-driven people? Naruto thought to himself. First was the emo trader, then Blackfire, then Kabuto, and now Deathstroke's daughter Rose Wilson. While Kabuto is no longer revenge-driven, Guran was the only person around me that didn't want to get revenge on someone. I'll worry about my personal life later. Right now I need to think of a way to get the Titans away from their tower. Training Ground 23. Otobakure, Guran and Blackfire were standing across from each other, glaring at one another. Around them were craters and pieces of broken pink crystal. The two of them tried to work it out like Naruto had wanted, but it turned into a battle. The fight ended a while ago and now they were engaged in a never-ending stare down. I don't see why you have to follow him wherever he goes, Blackfire said with a scowl. Naruto-sama is my master, so it only right I go with him, Guran replied with frown. He told you already that you weren't his servant, so stop following him around. I owe him for not only giving me closure, but giving my life meaning. I will do anything for Naruto-sama. All he needs to do is ask and I will do it. This caused Blackfire's scowl to grow and make her growl at Guran. What if he asked for something the sexual variety? Would you still do what he asks? While Guran's expression didn't change, her cheeks had a small dusting of pink appear on them. If Naruto-sama asks something like that, then yes I would. Hearing this caused Blackfire's eyes to glow purple with rage and made her growl. However, we both know that he would never do that. Naruto-sama has too kind of a heart to make such a request. Hearing that calmed Blackfire down a bit because she knew it was true. Naruto might not be exactly how he was when she first met him, but he was mostly the same. She had noticed that over the years he had become more wild, cold, and calculating in his plans. Not only that, he was slowly starting to become more destructive than he used to be. Blackfire took a deep breath before she tried to continue the conversation. Look, Naruto is getting sick of us being at each other's throats, so can we come to some sort of agreement? Like what? Guran asked with a raised eyebrow. If you stop following him around all the time and deciding to go on missions that I want go on, ill. Stop acting like Naruto-sama belongs to you and deciding who can be around him, Guran said as she interrupted Blackfire. Blackfire growled at Guran a bit after hearing that. She didn't believe she acted like Naruto belonged to her, while Blackfire didn't believe that's how she acted with Naruto. She knew the only way to get Guran to stop was to agree to her terms. Alright, I'll agree to those terms if you do, Blackfire said with a frown as she stretched her hand out towards Guran. Guran nodded and shook her hand to accept her terms of the agreement. They both stared at each other for a few seconds with a frown on their face before they both turned around and headed in opposite directions. Both were not happy with the terms and needed some time alone. Jump City. The city was in slight turmoil as an unknown villain in a golden fox mask was randomly attacking and destroying random stores and buildings. What people found weird was that he wasn't stealing anything or hurting anyone. Naruto had just finished chasing everyone out of a place called Pizza Overlord and was watching them run down the street. As he did, Naruto started to make hand seals. The next thing Naruto knew, he used Kaden Gokakyu no Jutsu, fire release. Great fireball technique, on the people running down the street. Realizing what he did, he quickly created an ice wall between the fireball and the people. Damn it, that was close. I almost burned those people alive, Naruto thought as he took a few deep breaths to calm himself down. He knew that ever since Kurama died and he had become the new Kyuubi, that his bloodlust and thirst for destruction had increased. Slowly he was starting to care less about the lives of people and wanted to cause more destruction. I can't give in to it, at least not yet. I have too many things to do right now. Stop right there. Naruto heard someone shout from behind him. Naruto turned around to see it was Robin with the other titans. It's you. What are you doing here? Robin demanded as he saw Naruto. Good. Now that they are here, I can start my plan, thought Naruto with a smirk under his mask. Wouldn't you like to know? If you were able to catch me, then maybe I'll tell you, Naruto taunted before jumping on rooftop and leading them away. Titans go, Robin shouted before they all chased after Naruto. Konohagakyu. While Blackfire, Guran, and Naruto were busy with their own problems. A certain pink-hair medic was walking through the village in a depressed state. While there were still people who saw Naruto as a demon, a majority of the village did see him as a hero because he saved them from pain. Many believed Naruto had died years ago and that's why he hasn't returned. So many people would openly talk about good memories they had about him or state how they were glad the demon was dead. Hearing anything about her blonde-haired teammate always put Sakura in depressed mood. As she walked, she heard someone call out to her. Hello, miss. Are you alright? You seem a bit down, a local merchant asked her. Sakura looked at the merchant and he looked like any old merchant, except for he had a single bell hang from his straw hat he wore. It nothing, just thinking about an old friend, Sakura replied in a sad tone. Ah, you're thinking about the hero that was banished and is most likely dead, the merchant said in a calm tone. Sakura wanted to yell at the man for saying he was dead, but even she had believed he was dead by now and given up hope. I have never met the young man, but I heard he was a great person. It makes me wonder what the young man would say now if he say his home like this. Sakura could feel the tears start to build up in her eyes. The only thing that were stopping them was the sound of the man's bell jingling in the wind. Sakura, why didn't you help? A voice asked from behind Sakura. Sakura looked around her and realized she was surrounded by darkness. Sakura, why did you let them banish me? Turned to look at who was talking to her. What she saw made her go pale. There was Naruto looking just as he did when he was banished, only his orange and black jumpsuit was now cut up and covered in blood. Naruto? Sakura asked in a shaky voice. Why did you abandon me, Sakura? Sakura looked to her left and saw another Naruto that looked just like the other. No, Naruto, I didn't abandon you, Sakura said desperately to the Naruto on her left. How come you didn't come looking for me? Asked a new Naruto that appeared on her right. I did. We all did. We searched everywhere for you, Sakura told the Naruto to her right. At this point she couldn't hold back the tears. Was I just not that important to you? Asked another new Naruto that appeared behind her. Was I just a demon to you? No, no, no. Sakura put her head into her hat and started to cry, all while just repeating no as the Naruto asked her questions. She was brought out of this by someone tapping on her shoulder. Excuse me, miss, are you alright? She heard a voice asked her. She lifted her head and saw the darkness and Naruto were gone. She was still standing in front of the same merchant she was talking to. Most people that were walking continued on with what they were doing, while others stared and watched her to make sure she was okay. We were talking and then you started to crying. Sakura wiped her tears and calmed herself down. I am sorry about that. I don't wonder why that happened, Sakura said in an apologetic and depressed tone. I am fine now and I should get going. I see. Well, take care of yourself, the merchant said as he gave her a friendly smile. Sakura gave him a nod and started to walk away. Once she was a good distance away, the man's smile turned into a smirk. That is what you get for hurting Otokage-sama, you lousy tree hugger, thought the merchant. While Otokage-sama may have told us not hurt or attack in any of these tree hugger, That doesn't mean we can't mess with their minds with a little genjutsu. Robin's room, Titan Tower. Naruto was keeping the Titans busy by having some of his cage bunshins, shadow clones, lead them around the city. Now Naruto was no hacker, but he was able to learn enough from certain villains to get into most systems. He used his old ninja training to get in without setting off the alarm, then used his limited knowledge to access Robin's personal computer and was downloading all the data about the Red X suit onto a flash drive. As it was downloading, Naruto headed to the trophy room to find Slade's mask. Naruto looked around at Robin's so-called trophies. I will never understand why some heroes need to take something of a villain as trophy, Naruto thought. He finally found what he was looking for. On the pedestal underneath the glass case was Slade's black and copper mask. Old man Slade sure changed his look from the last time I saw him. When I saw him, his mask was cloth, not metal. Naruto simply smashed the glass and grabbed the mask, not even caring if it had an alarm on it, which it didn't. Naruto walked back to the computer to see that it was done download. He grabbed the flash drive and put both the flash drive and mask into his coat pocket. Alright, mission complete. Now to get out of here, Naruto, before opening a portal and leaving the tower. With the Teen Titans, they had been chasing the thief they know as Golden Fox for a while now. They saw firsthand of him making copies of himself and made the split up when they all ran in different directions. They were able to destroy the copies and meet up again and were now chasing the last, which they believed to be the real one. They had cornered him in alley. There's nowhere run, just give up, Cyborg said as he pointed his sonic cannon at Naruto. And then you can answer some question, Robin added in as he pointed his staff at Naruto. As much as I would love to stay and chat with you kids, I am afraid the original got what he needed, the clone said to the Titans. The next time we meet I am sure we'll have much more to talk about, the clone said before going up in smoke. What? You mean all this time we were chasing a fake? Asked a confused and shocked Beast Boy. If that was a fake, then where was the real one? I don't know, but something doesn't feel right about this, Robin stated as he looked at the spot the clone was. What do you think he meant by got what he needed? Raven asked her teammates. I don't know, but whatever he meant it can't be good, Cyborg replied with a frown. Come on team, let's go see if the police need our help, then go back to the tower, Robin said as he turned to walk out of the alley. His team followed him except for one, Starfire. She stayed there and looked at the spot the clone was and looked to the sky. Sister, what is happening to you? Starfire thought as she looked at the blue sky. I know we have had our differences, but I still believe there is still good in you. But I do not understand why you are seeking help from a villain. Please don't let this villain take away the good you have in you. Starfire then flew off to go catch up with her friends and help those who need it. Abandoned warehouse, outside Jump City. Naruto came through a portal to return warehouse main office where he had talked to Rose. He had made a quick detour back to one of his bases to make a copy of the Red X suit data on his computer and send a clone back to Otogakure to gather Kabuto, Guran, and Blackfire to inform them about their new team member. He wouldn't make a suit for himself, but thought Kabuto could use it to make new armor for the Auto Shinobis. Naruto set the laptop back on the desk and about to open and turn it on when he heard a voice behind him. That won't be necessary. I here to meet you in person, a feminine voice said from behind him. Naruto turned around and saw Rose, only she didn't look like when he talked to her through the laptop. She was wearing an orange and black bandana with the orange half with one eye that showed the lower part of her face. She was wearing a navy blue skin-tight suit. Her arms and upper chest had a pale light blue armor that looked like some sort of mail coif. She was also wearing orange utility belt, orange gloves and boots that have black straps on them. How did you know I was going to come here to contact you? Naruto asked as he looked at Rose's new outfit. I've been watching you, Rose replied with a smirk. It was easy to hack into your cameras in your Metropolis base. I heard you say you were going to contact me here. While Rose couldn't see it, Naruto had an annoyed look on his face. Ever since he was banished, he really didn't like people spying, following, or keeping tabs on him. To him that was a sign that they wanted to hurt him or were some sort of threat. Since this is our first meeting face to face, let me just tell you this now, Naruto said as he disappeared from Rose's vision. If I catch you spying on me again, it doesn't matter who you are, I will remove your head from your body, Naruto said in a demonic voice. He had used Shunshin, body flicker technique, to get behind Rose and put a kunai to her neck, all the while letting out killing intent towards her. Rose on the other hand could feel a huge pressure on her body. The only reason she didn't fall to her knees was because if she did then she would have a kunai in her throat. Naruto stopped his killer intent, removed his kunai from her neck, and walked back in front of her. What was that? Rose thought as she fell to her knees. That pressure I felt was inhuman. Now I see why father didn't try to pressure him into being his apprentice. He might just be stronger than father was. All the more reason to get his trust. I apologize, I didn't mean any harm, Rose said as she stood back. As long as you remember that, Rose, Naruto said in an annoyed tone. I will, and please call me Ravager when I am like this, Rose said carefully as to not anger the man in front of her. Fine. Here is the data on the suit and the mask, Naruto said as handed her the flash drive and mask. Ravager put the flash drive in her utility belt and started to start at her father's mask. So since I got you the items you requested, does that mean you would join the team I am making? Naruto asked, breaking Ravager out of her trance. Yes, I will join this team of yours. When do I get to meet the rest of this team? Ravager asked in a curious tone. Right now, Naruto replied as he made a portal and gestured her to go through it. Ravager was a bit hesitant to go through it, but decided to do it so she could learn more about the person that caught her father's attention. Otokage's office. Otokage Kabuto had once again kicked the Otokage out of his office. Him, Guran, and Blackfire were waiting for Naruto to return with their newest member. When the portal opened up, they saw Naruto and Ravager come through the portal. Ravager was looking around trying to figure out where she was, while the other three were studying Ravager and trying to figure out why Naruto chose her. Everyone, this is Ravager, our newest teammate, Naruto said as he removed his mask and gestured towards Ravager. Ravager was surprised by what Golden Fox looked like under his mask. Only a very few villains actually knew what his face looked like, and she never caught his face on camera. Kabuto, Blackfire, you two give Ravager a rundown of everything that going on. As they explained the plan and everything, Naruto was asking Guran if her and Blackfire had settled their differences yet. Guran explained how they come to an agreement of sorts but told him no more than that, which Naruto didn't care as long as they weren't arguing. So this limited precognitive visions ability allows you to see into the future? Kabuto asked, getting the attention of Naruto and Guran. Yes, but only seconds into the future, and I have no way of controlling it at will, Ravager replied. That ability sounds similar to the Sharingan power. Maybe I might be able to help you with controlling it, Kabuto said with a smirk. You'll just need to run some blood tests, do a physical check and examine your eyes. Ravager interrupted Kabuto. I only have my right eye. I removed my left eye to be more like my father. When they heard that, they all showed different expressions. Blackfire had a look slight disgust, Kabuto had a look of understanding, Guran had a look of shock, and Naruto had a blank expression. Well, even with one eye, I am sure you'll be able to, Kabuto said before he was interrupted again. I have something that might not only help you control your powers, but also give you a new eye, Naruto stated to get everyone's attention. What are you talking about, Naruto? Asked a confused Blackfire. I remember Kurama telling me I had something inside of me before he died, Naruto replied as he tried to remember what it was. Kurama? Asked a confused Ravager, only to get shushed by the others. I remember what it was, Naruto said before he put on an evil smirk. Oh, Itachi, you have just given me something that you probably regret now. Before anyone could ask what he was talking about, Naruto went into a nearby closet and closed the door. The four other people looked at the door as they heard Naruto coughing and gagging within the closet, sounding like he was trying to throw up. A few seconds later they had a new sound. It was the sound of a crow squawking. All the coughing and gagging sounds stopped, and then there was only the sound of a crow squawking, which stopped few seconds later. When the door opened, a panting Naruto came out with a dead crow in his left hand and something in his right hand. This should help Ravager with her ability, Naruto said as he opened his right hand to reveal a Sharingan eye. Naruto, where did you get that? Asked a shocked and awed Kabuto. Itachi gave it to me 7 years ago when he shoved this damn crow down my throat, Naruto replied in an annoyed tone and showed them the dead crow. Kurama was able to figure out that this eye was in the crow before he died. I had no reason to use it, so I left it in my body. Eventually I forgot about. Should this work for Ravager? It might. I'll have to check the eye to make sure it's not damaged and still working, Kabuto said with uncertainty. There's still one problem. Ravager doesn't have chakra coils, so the eye might reject her. What about the operation you told us would to give me chakra coils? Blackfire asked. Couldn't you do the same for Ravager? Yes, but like I said, there was only a 50% success rate, Kabuto replied in exhausted tone. If this eye will help me control my limited precognitive visions, then I'll go through any operation I need to, Ravager replied in a serious tone. We can talk more about that later, Kabuto said with a sigh. For now let me get this eye to my lab to make sure we can use it, Kabuto said as he took the eye from Naruto and head to his lab. Welcome to the team, Ravager, Naruto said with a smile as he stretched out his hand. I look forward to see what this team can do, Ravager replied with a smirk as she shook his hand. Land of Demons. Within the Land of Demons, a priestess with long light blonde hair and pale lavender eyes wearing a lavender kimono was meditating at a temple. As she meditated she started to have a vision that shook her right to her core. The place she was able to recognize as Konohagakure due to the Hokage monument in the background. Then she saw what looked to be a clan's compound, the entire compound burning to the ground. Then she saw someone walking away from the fire. someone wearing a long blood-red coat that had fur trimming on the sleeves and hood with the hood over their head, black pants, and wearing a golden fox mask. The priestess opened her eyes quickly and looked around her. She was still in the temple. "Lady Xian, are you all right?" one of her servant asked her. "Quickly send a message to Konoha right away," Xian said with a voice uncertainty and fear. "Tell them I want Lady Tsunade and a squad of shinobis that she absolutely trusts to come to the land of demons for a mission for me. I am willing to pay any price." At once Lady Xian, the servant said before running out of the room. "Lady Xian, what was it you saw?" asked another servant. "I saw Konohagakure being attacked, or at least part of it," Xian replied with a frown. "I still have no love for that village for what they did to Naruto, but there was something about the person I saw in the vision that makes me uneasy. My visions usually show me someone's death, but this time it just showed a building burning to the ground and someone wearing a golden fox mask walking away. I don't know why, but I feel uneasy about that person wearing the golden fox mask." "What do you think it means, Lady Xian?" "I am not sure, but it can't be good," Xian replied, even though she was still shaken up by the vision. Unfortunately, she didn't know that someone else was listening to their conversation from the shadows. "I need to inform Kabuto-sama and Naruto-sama about this," the figure thought before sneaking off to send a message. Tsunade along with Sakura, Shikamaru, and Neji were almost at the temple Xian was at in the land of demon. Konohagakure had received the message a week ago. At first, when Tsunade was given the mission, she refused it. However, when she heard who sent it, she accepted it. She knew Xian wouldn't ask Konohagakure for anything unless it was important. Tsunade believed the best people to bring with her were Sakura, Shikamaru, and Neji. "Why do you think Lady Xian asked for you, Lady Tsunade?" Sakura asked as she had mixed feeling about this mission. "I don't know," Sakura Tsunade replied as she had a calm expression in her face. "It's no secret that Xian hates Konoha just as much, if not more, than every other country or village we had deals with, so for her to request a mission from us means something big is going to happen or it involves someone she believes is important." "Do you think she foresaw someone's death?" Neji asked as he remembered his last mission with her. "Whose death did she see last time?" Shikamaru asked in a confused tone. "Naruto's," Sakura replied in a depressed voice. "Troublesome," Shikamaru said in a lazy and agitated tone. "Shikamaru, are you alright? Lately you've been acting differently," Neji asked with concern in his voice. Shikamaru sighed as both Tsunade and Sakura were now looking at him. "Do you guys remember when we all had lunch together and I said I was having a strange feeling something big was starting?" Shikamaru asked, getting a nod from Sakura and Neji. "Well, not only do I still have that feeling, but it's starting to make me think it's something bad for us. This mission is not helping. I got a feeling something bad is going to happen on this mission." "I hope you are wrong," Shikamaru Tsunade said as she went back to looking in front of her. "We're only a few hours away from where Xian is, so let's focus on the mission." The other three gave her a nod and ignored Shikamaru's gut feeling to focus on the mission at hand. Otogakure. The week for Ravager had been interesting to say the least. She learned a bit about the planet she was on and got to talk and learn a bit about Guran and Blackfire. She got along with Blackfire very well since they had some common ground. Guran, on the other hand, was a different story. She found out that Guran thinks of herself as a servant to Golden Fox, which she now knows his name is Naruto, and would do anything he asks. Guran reminded Ravager of Wintergreen, her father's butler. Due to them both being servants of someone, Kabuto also went over the operation and the risk that came with it in order to gain these chakra coils to use the Sharingan eye Naruto had. However, before they go through with it, Kabuto wanted to make sure the eye was still working. They also went over the schematics and blueprints of the Red X suit to make Ravager a new suit. After Kabuto saw the capabilities of the suit, he was ecstatic when Naruto gave him the copy he made. Kabuto was already trying to figure out a way for the suit to use Charka as a power source instead of Xenothium so he could make suits for Otogakure shinobis. Ravager tried to talk with Naruto to learn more about the person that earned her father's respect and gain some of his trust. However, Naruto left the village they were in for most of the week for unknown reason. Ravager was waiting in one of Kabuto's labs along with Blackfire, Guran, and Naruto, waiting to see if the Sharingan eye could be used. Kabuto and Ravager couldn't finish her new suit completely, but they managed to finish what she wanted to look like. She was now wearing a skin-tight black bodysuit that had metal armor on her shoulder, forearm, and shins with a copper-colored R on the shoulder plates. The gloves were copper rather than gray like the Red X suit. A belt similar to X's belt, only with a different power source. And her new mask was strapped to her belt. Her mask was now metal like her father's, only with the copper side on the right side, and the mask went around the top half of her head to let her hair flow out at the back. It also had a hidden eye hole on the left black side that could open and close whenever Ravager wanted. This was installed just in case Ravager could use the Sharingan eye. The suit's new power source came from one of Naruto's tech heists a while back. It was now powered with a substance called saccharide. Saccharide was more stable than xenothium but caused greater destruction if it explodes. All four of them were waiting in silence. That stopped when they saw Kabuto walked carrying a chart and what looked like a message of some kind. I got good news and bad news, Kabuto said calm tone as he looked at the group. The good news is the Sharingan eye is in working shape and once Ravager has chakra coils we will be able to transplant it. This got a smile from Blackfire, Guran, and Ravager. However, Naruto frowned at this. If that's the good news, then what's the bad news? Naruto asked. Kabuto let out a sigh as he put on a serious face. We might have a problem in the land of demon, he replied in calm but also concerned tone. One of my spies there oversaid a priestess named Shien sent out a mission to Konoha. I believe you know this person? Kabuto asked, which he got a nod from Naruto. Well, the mission is just a front. She requested Tsunade and a team that she trusts. The reason she asked for Tsunade is about a vision she had. The vision was someone that wore a golden fox mask attacking Konoha. This caused the girls to look at Naruto in shock and was making them think he was planning something behind their backs. Naruto closed his eyes and had a calm expression on his face. Internally he was seething. He didn't understand how Shien could have a vision like that. She only had vision of people's death. Also this raised more question like why would he attack Konoha? Sure he didn't like it anymore but that didn't mean he wanted to destroy it. Naruto, is there something you want to tell us? Blackfire asked in a threatening tone and she raised eyebrow. Naruto opened his eyes and looked at Kabuto. When did she send the message and why am I just hearing about this now? Naruto asked in a demonic rage-filled voice. This caused Kabuto to take a step back in fear. She sent the message a week ago, Kabuto said in fear. The message came 4 days ago, but no one gave it till today. That means Konoha shinobis should be almost there, Naruto said still in a demonic voice. I am going to the land of demons. You find out why we didn't get this message till today. Naruto remember where Shien would be in the land of demons. He opened a portal and was about to go through when Blackfire stopped him. Hold it, Naruto. Blackfire shouted as she grabbed Naruto's arm. You aren't going anywhere till I get some answers. That's why I am going there, to get some answers myself, Naruto said as he put on his mask. You three are more than welcome to join me if you want. Of course I'll join you, Naruto-sama, Guran replied with a smile. Let me go get me weapons and I'll join you as well, Ravager replied before going off to get her twin katanas. While they may not have got the gadgets working for her suit yet, she was able to have a set of metallic red katanas made from a metal called orichalcum. It was one of the many metals Naruto came across while searching new worlds for new tech. You better not be doing this to get out of giving me answers, Blackfire replied with frown. When Ravager returned with her katana's strap on her back, she put her mask on as well and they all went through Naruto's portal to go to the land of demons. Temple. Land of Demons. Naruto and his group appeared just outside the temple that had Shien in it. Alright, I need you three to go cause chaos around the area while I get answers from Shien, Naruto ordered in his normal voice as he had calmed down. Golden Fox, Blackfire said in a threatening tone as she narrowed her eye at him. I promise I'll give you answers later, but I need the distraction to talk to Shien alone, Naruto replied trying to calm Blackfire. Blackfire was angry but she nodded in agreement. She and Ravager head off with Guran about to follow them but was stopped by Naruto. Guran, I giving you a different order. If you find any Konoha shinobis, kill them. If you can't, then find the others and head back to Otto using this. Naruto then put a strap with metal square with a button on it. This is a transporter that me and Kabuto designed based of the one from the Red X suit. Right, it can only teleport people to Otto though. I understand, Golden Fox Sama, but why not tell this to Blackfire and Ravager, asked a confused Guran. Because Blackfire hasn't learned what Konoha symbol looks like yet and I don't think she has kill anyone, Naruto replied. As for Ravager, again she doesn't know the Konoha symbol. She might have already taken a life since I know who her father was, but she isn't skilled enough to take out a shinobi yet. Guran nodded in understanding and went off to follow her orders, while Naruto had to wait a bit for the girls to cause a panic. Titan Tower, Earth. While Naruto was looked for answer, Robin was doing the same. It had been a week since the Titans had their run-in with Golden Fox. Now Robin knew what the fake meant by he got what he needed. When he got back he saw his computer was on, after noticing that he started to search his room. It was then he saw the case that held Slade's mask was broken and the mask gone. He then went to his computer to find if anything was missing. After looking through the files he noticed someone had copied all the files involving the Red X suit. After seeing that, Robin became furious that he didn't delete those files. It was bad enough that someone stole and was using the suit, but now Golden Fox had the information to build a suit to do whatever he wanted with it. Robin stared at a whiteboard. In the center of it was a picture of Golden Fox and around it were pictures of villains he had worked with. There was also a picture of Red X and Slade's mask on it, with Sting, different colored markers, and words around each picture all going towards Golden Fox. There has to be something here, Robin thought as he tried to find a connection. I must be missing something. A thief just can't become friends with known supervillains. Why did he steal Slade's mask? The info on the Red X suit I can understand, since he could use it to make himself a suit or sell the information to a villain. Golden Fox is known for stealing things he needs or is hired to. Now the question is, who would want Slade's mask and the Red X suit schematics and blueprints? Unless he took the mask to try and confuse me, then who would just want the suit schematics and blueprints? The boy wonder scratched his head in frustration, trying to figure why he stole the mask with the schematics and blueprints. I don't have enough info on Fox to come up with any theories. I don't want to, but I am going to have to ask him for advice and for more data on Fox. Robin walked over beside his bed and opened a drawer. Inside he pulled an old communicator with a large R on it. Hey Bruce, are you there? With Naruto? The girls had created enough chaos to make Shion be locked up in her room by herself. Now the door to her room was a normal wooden door, so it was easy enough for Naruto to break down with any of his powers or jutsus. When Shion saw who had broken her door down, she went pale. It was the same person who she saw attacking Konohagakure in her vision. Lady Shion, I have come to ask you about the vision you had, Naruto said in a calm and normal voice. I have nothing to say to a monster like you. Shion spat out with venom, yet she felt like she recognized the voice. Naruto tilted his head to the side at the comment. Monster? I prefer the term demon myself, Naruto said as he removed his mask, which brought a shocked expression onto Shion's face. Now, as I said before, I would like to talk to you about that vision you had. Naruto? Is it really you? A shocked Shion asked, which Naruto gave her a nod. Where have you been all this time? People all across the elemental nations have been looking for you. That's not important right now. Tell me about the vision, Naruto replied in an agitated voice. Not important. Tsunade and your friends have never stopped looking for you, so knowing where you have been for 7 years is pretty important. No, it's not. They aren't important to me anymore. Now tell about the vision, Naruto said as he was reaching his limit. Not important? What do you mean they aren't important? They're your fry. Shion didn't get to finish as Naruto grabbed her by the neck and pinned her to the wall. Tell me your vision now, Naruto said in a rage-filled demonic voice. Shion stared at the person in front of her with wide eyes out of shock and fear. You're not Naruto. You're the Kyuubi, aren't you? Shion asked with a fear-filled voice. No and yes, Naruto replied as he started to calm down. I am Naruto, just not the Naruto you used to know. That Naruto died the day the old Kyuubi Kurama died. I was the one that was born from their deaths. Naruto, the new Kyuubi no Kitsune. 2 golden fox ears with reddish-orange tips appeared on top of his head and 9 golden tails with reddish-orange tips appeared behind him. Naruto, what happened to you? Shion asked in awe and shock. The 4th seal is what happened. Naruto spat out. The seal was taking Kurama's chakra and giving it to me, but it didn't change it, so the demonic chakra turned me into a Hanyu, half-demon. Tsunade should be here soon. If you tell her what happened, I am sure she'll. What will she do? Capture me. Seal me into another person so Konoha has a weapon. She can't heal me. I am a Hanyu, half-demon, now. My former village didn't accept me before, so there is no chance now. Naruto, this isn't you. This is the demonic chakra in you talking. You have to fight it and go back to who you really are. Naruto paused in thought and let go of Shion. You're right, Shion, this is my demonic chakra talking, Naruto said calmly, giving Shion hope he would go back to the Naruto she knew. All these years, that part of me has been calling, yelling, screaming at me to give in and lose control. I have been fighting it all these years, never giving in and always staying in control, Naruto said as his bangs shadowed his eyes. When Tsunade gets here, we can help you stop those urges. It's time I stop fighting and give in and lose control, Naruto interrupted as an evil smile appeared on his face. Lately I have been using meditation as a ways to stop my urges for killing and destroying. But it's taking longer and longer meditation session for me to stay in control. I did this so I wouldn't get the attention of the heroes of where I've been. But here in the elemental nations I can give in and not be worried about them. Sure, the people of the elemental nations will know that the Kyuubi no Kitsune is back. But it's getting harder to not give in and I am tired of fighting them. Naruto went through some hand seals Kitsune release. Endless nightmare. Shion found herself caught in a powerful genjutsu. She tried to break out of it by flaring her chakra, but it didn't break. This is a Kitsune release genjutsu. These jutsus can only be used by the Kyuubi no Kitsune and can't be broken so easily, Naruto said as he started circling Shion. Now how about you tell me that vision you had? Shion was seeing every one of her fears or nightmare happening to her or someone she cared about. Naruto, stop this. Shion pleaded with a fear-filled voice as tears came from her eyes. This isn't you. What about your dream of being Hokage? Of bring peace to the elemental nations? I gave up being Hokage when I learned the truth, Naruto replied. As for peace, that was something the perverted toad pushed on me. Once I learned the truth, I gave up on not only Konoha, but on the whole elemental nations. Now tell me about your vision and it'll end the jutsu. Shion tried biting her lip so the pain would break the genjutsu. Even with the pain, the jutsu didn't break. It was you walking away from what looked like a clan compound in Konoha, Shion said as she wanted the jutsu to end.
What clan? You must have saw a symbol or something to tell you which one.
I didn't. It was completely engulfed in flames. Naruto stared at Shion for a few seconds trying sense any lies. He couldn't sense any. Naruto made the Tora, tiger, seal and ended the jutsu. Shion, seeing the jutsu was gone, looked at Naruto in disbelief and fear. That was all I wanted to know, Naruto said with a smirk as he walked in front of Shion. Now that I got what I wanted, I am going to leave a message to the world that the Kyuubi is back, and you are going to deliver it. Shion gained a confused expression and was about to ask him what he was talking about. However, before she could, Naruto was engulfed in red chakra. With the girls, Guran, Blackfire, and Ravager have all met up and were looking at the destruction they had created. Do you think Golden Fox is done yet? Ravager asked as she looked in the direction they left him in. I don't know, but he better give me some answers when we see him, Blackfire replied with a frown. Guran was about to say something when she felt a large burst of demonic chakra and shot her head towards a direction. This caught the attention of both Blackfire and Ravager. Blackfire, grab Ravager and follow me. We need to get out of this area now, Guran said in a rushed and fearful voice. Before they could ask why or what was going on, they saw Guran running, jumping away as fast as she could. Blackfire quickly grabbed Ravager by the arms and started flying after Guran. Once they got far enough away, Guran stopped and Blackfire and Ravager landed beside her. Okay, you want to tell us what that was all about and what's going on? An annoyed Blackfire asked. That's what's going on, replied Guran as she pointed towards where she left Naruto. Both Blackfire and Ravager looked to where she was pointing and gained a confused look. That was until a large smoke cloud appeared. Then out the smoke they saw something appear. They were having a hard time believing what they were seeing. Out of the smoke came a large golden fox with a blue right eye and crimson left eye, with 9 tails that had the tips being reddish-orange. The tips of the fox's ears also had the same reddish-orange look. The fox let out a massive roar before it started to destroy more of the area. What is that monster? Asked a shocked and fearful Ravager. That is Golden Fox Sama in his Kyuubi no Kitsune form, a rather calm Guran replied. So that's what he looks like when he loses control, an impressed Blackfire comment.
You knew he could do this? An outraged and shocked Ravager asked. If he has this much power to do that, then why make a team? Why not just use that power on the Titans?
Of course I knew. I've been traveling with him for 2 years, Blackfire replied. As for the reason why we don't use this power, it's because he can't control it that form yet. In this form, Golden Fox can't tell who is friend and who is foe. He will attack, kill, and destroy anything that is near him. If he manages to control this power, he could destroy the Justice League, Ravager said in awe as she looked at Naruto. I wonder if father knew about this power? He could, but Golden Fox Sama has no desire to do any of that, replied Guran. She right. Golden Fox would rather live his life as a carefree thief than a supervillain, added Blackfire. Still, this is the first time seeing his true power. He has been holding back these 2 years. As the girls continued to watch their teammate destroy everything in his path, 4 Konoha shinobis stood on a different part of the outskirts of the area looking on in horror and fear.
They had made it just in time to see the Kyuubi appear and start its reign of destruction. Sakura, Shikamaru, and Neji had fear-stricken expressions on their faces since they had only heard tales of the Kyuubi. Tsunade was holding up better than them since she had a look of horror on her face. Tsunade wasn't around during the Kyuubi attack, but she has faced opponents that were stronger than her, like Hanzo the Salamander.
No way, Shikamaru said in a whisper tone. It can't be real, right? Neji asked in a fear-filled voice. No, this means he's really, Sakura said in a whisper as tears formed in her eyes. Naruto. No, you can't be dead, Tsunade said in fear-filled voice as she stared at the Kyuubi. They all had the same thought. Naruto was dead and the Kyuubi had just reformed. While he was destroying anything he could, he sensed 4 chakra signatures nearby. Berserk Naruto turned to see these chakra signatures and saw the 4 Konoha shinobis. Sakura, Shikamaru, and Neji took a few steps back in fear from the Kyuubi's gaze, while Tsunade stood rooted in her spot as she stared in the Kyuubi's eyes. She felt something familiar as she stared into the odd blue eye of the Kyuubi. Naruto was able to gain temporary control when his eyes met Tsunade's. Kitsune release. Mind connection, Naruto thought before he loses the control he has. The jutsu was a powerful genjutsu that allows him to communicate with someone with their minds in a genjutsu. Tsunade didn't know what happened. One second she was staring at the Kyuubi and the next she was in a pitch-black void. Bachan, a voice said from behind Tsunade. She recognized the voice. She turned around to see a 16-year-old Naruto wearing his famous orange and black jumpsuit. He had a hurt and sad expression on his face. NN Naruto? Tsunade asked in a shaky voice. Bachan, why didn't you stop Danzo before he had a chance to banish me? Naruto asked with tears coming from his eyes. It not that easy, Naruto. Tsunade replied as tears came from her eyes. I am sorry, Naruto. I am sorry I wasn't there to help or save you. Naruto walked up to Tsunade and put on a small smile. It's alright, Bachan. I forgive you, Naruto said in a loving and caring voice as he held his hand to Tsunade. Tsunade put on a small smile as well and reached to grab his hand. However, she stopped when his hand fell to his side. She saw Naruto's eyes rolled in the back of his head. I can't have him doing that, a demonic voice said from behind Naruto. Golden Fox A.K. A. Naruto appeared from behind him and pushed his body forward, showing a kunai stuck in Naruto's back. Naruto Uzumaki has been dead for at least 6 years. It's too late to get his forgiveness. Tsunade grabbed Naruto's dead body, hold onto it before glaring at Golden Fox. Who are you? Tsunade sneered as she glared dagger at him. I am the one who was born from the death of Naruto Uzumaki, he replied in a calm tone. The Kyuubi. Tsunade spat out, never changing her expression. Yes, but I am not the same Kyuubi that attacked your village all those years ago. What are you talking about? There is only one Kyuubi in the world, Tsunade asked in a fit of rage. I am only telling you this because Naruto didn't have as much hate for you and he felt you didn't betray him as much as some of the others did. This caused Tsunade to growl at him for referring to Naruto in a friendly manner. It wasn't a person or my predecessor that killed him, it was your beloved 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze. You're lying. Tsunade shouted in rage. He's dead, besides he would never kill his own son? Golden Fox asked as he interrupted Tsunade. Tsunade froze when he asked that. That wasn't what she was going to say. My predecessor knew who Naruto's parents were. As for the 4th killing Naruto, he didn't know he was going to kill him. You see the seal he used, the Hake no Fuin Shiki, 8 trigram sealing style, did take my predecessor Kurama's chakra and give it to Naruto. However, it didn't change the chakra, so Naruto's body was getting pumped full of pure demonic chakra. Since humans were never meant to have this chakra, it killed Naruto from the inside out. Even through that was a lie. Golden Fox did want her knowing truth, at least not this soon. You're lying. You have to be, Tsunade said as she was furious what the Kyuubi was telling her. Even if what you say is true, how would you know any of this? Golden Fox gave a little chuckle. I said I was born from the death of Naruto Uzumaki, he replied in amused tone. When all of Kurama's chakra went into Naruto, Karuma's soul didn't go with it inside of Naruto, so the soul just disappeared. Naruto died because his body was being filled with demonic chakra. Then the demonic chakra took his soul and corrupted it to make me, the new Kyuubi with all of Naruto's memories. Again, Golden Fox was lying to keep Tsunade from finding the truth. Tsunade was in a state of shock. She didn't want to believe that the seal on Naruto was what killed him. Didn't you wonder why I was golden instead of orange when you saw me? That's because I am a different Kyuubi now. Tsunade did wonder why the Kyuubi was golden instead of orange like in reports on the attack of the village. However, she was overcome with fear to think about. If it makes you feel better, Naruto was told the truth about everything before he died, including what your late sensei did to him, Golden Fox said in bored tone. What are you talking about? Tsunade asked with a raised eyebrow. Golden Fox stared at her for a few seconds. You really don't know what Hiruzen Sarutobi did, he said in a shocked tone. Well, let me inform you. After the villagers beat Naruto on one of the yearly fox hunt, Naruto started to hate the villagers in the village. Hiruzen saw this and put a loyalty seal on him over his heart. You're lying again. Tsunade shouted in rage. Sensei would do that. He cared about Naruto and protected him. You can believe me or not, I don't care either way, he replied in an uninterested voice. If you want proof, then talk to the ANBUs who wore the bear and turtle mask when Naruto was 5 years old. They're the only ones beside Hiruzen and my predecessor Kurama to know what he did. I assumed you knew since you became Hokage and he would have left something for his successor. Guess he took that secret to his grave. Tsunade knew the ANBUs haven't changed yet, so she could ask Bear and Turtle to see if what this Kyuubi is say it true or not. You can use this information any way you want. Just know that Naruto Uzumaki is dead and never coming back. Tsunade looked around and saw Sakura looking at her with a worried expression. Lady Tsunade, are you okay? You zoned out for a few seconds, Sakura asked in a shaky voice. Tsunade was about to answer when she felt her body grow weak due to the genjutsu she was in. As her body started to fall to the ground and her conscience starting to fade, she stared at the golden Kyuubi as it went back to its destruction. You were lying to me, right? Tsunade thought with uncertainty, you were just telling me lies because I wasn't there for Naruto. He would never give up and die, he would fight and find a way to win or survive. You're still out there, Naruto. We'll find you, I promise. As Tsunade faded to unconscious, could hear Sakura shouting something to her. Lady Tsunade. Lady Tsunade. Sakura shouted in a worried sick tone as her sensei fell unconscious. Sakura, Neji, grab Lady Tsunade and let's get out of here, Shikamaru ordered as he looked back at the Kyuubi. I don't think Lady Shion survived the attack from the Kyuubi, besides we need to get out of here before it tries to attack us. Shikamaru, do you think Sakura didn't finish as Shikamaru interrupted her? I don't know if that's him, Sakura, he replied in a grim tone. All I know is that we have to get out of here now. Sakura and Neji grabbed one of Tsunade's arm, putting them over their shoulders and got away from the area and heading back to Konohagakure. With the girls, meanwhile Guran, Blackfire, and Ravager were watching Naruto destroy anything and everything, completely unaware of what happened between him and Tsunade. Should we maybe stop him at some point? Ravager asked as it looked like Naruto was never going to stop. If you want to go down to get crushed by him, be my guest, Blackfire replied. I am not going down there to be killed by him. Just then Berserk Nordo looked in their direction. All three of them flinched when he did. He started to walk towards them. They were about to run, then they saw he was starting to shrink. By the time he reached them, he was back to his normal self. Except his tails and ears were still out. Guran and Blackfire knew about his fox ears and tails. But Ravager didn't and couldn't believe what she was seeing. Now Blackfire had seen these before, but she still had to fight the urge to hug one of his tails. When she first saw them, she instantly hugged one of them. She was amazed at how soft they were. After that incident, Naruto very rarely let his tails or ears out around Blackfire. While Ravager and Guran didn't do the same thing, they were still fight that same urge. Naruto fell to one knee in front of them, exhausted. Are you okay, Golden Fox-sama? Guran asked, trying focus on Naruto and not his tails. I am fine, just exhausted from changing, that's all, replied Naruto in panting voice. Did you get some answers? Blackfire asked, still fighting her urge. Yes, but it seemed to leave more question than answers though, he replied. I'll tell you all when we get back to Otto. Guran used the transporter. Guran nodded. Blackfire, Ravager, put one of Golden Fox-sama arms over each of your shoulders and put a hand on my shoulders. Both did what they were told. Guran pushed the button on the device and they were surrounded by a bright light. When the light vanished, they looked and noticed they were in the Otokage's office. I'll go get Kabuto-sama, the Otokage said before getting up from his desk and running out the door. Blackfire and Ravager put Naruto down in one of the chairs in front of the desk, which was hard to do with his tails. Kabuto walked and saw an exhausted fox form, Naruto and three girls that looked like they were having internal fights. Okay, so what happened? Kabuto asked. We caused chaos while Naruto went to get answers and then he turned into a giant fox. Ravager replied as if it was a normal occurrence. So what did he find out? Kabuto asked as he was now interested. All three of them looked at Naruto, wanting to know the same. Naruto could feel their eyes on him and let out a sigh. Okay, here's what happened. He then told them about the conversation with Shion and Tsunade. It has been 2 weeks since Naruto had let out his Kyuubi form into the land of demons and things has been quiet in Otogakure. Konohagakure tried to keep the information about the Kyuubi returning quiet, but both Naruto and Kabuto were able to inform the other villages thanks to Kabuto's spies. Now everyone in the elemental nations were looking for the Kyuubi to capture it for their own plans or having it for their village's weapon. Naruto had told the others about Shion's vision, and like Naruto told them before, it left more questions than answers. He also had to explain why he went into his Kyuubi form, which also made him explain why he went missing for most of the week. While Blackfire and Ravager could understand Naruto using meditation for holding in his destructive and killing tendencies, Guran and Kabuto couldn't understand why Naruto didn't want to fight this Justice League. Ravager and Blackfire knew about the exploits of the Justice League and they believed the League could take Naruto down in his out-of-control state. Of course they wouldn't kill him since it's not their way. Guran and Kabuto believed Naruto was unstoppable and these heroes wouldn't be able to stop him. For the past 2 weeks Naruto had been leaving Otogakure to fill his bloodlust on any shinobis he came across. Of course he wore his mask and hood when going out, so there was no chance of someone recognizing him, as well as train with the girls or by himself. Blackfire spent the last 2 weeks training, learning different villages' symbols, and going out with the Auto shinobis that Kabuto sent out. Blackfire told them that she had killed before, but doesn't do it very often. Anytime she didn't need to take a life, she got someone else to do it. She usually do it herself in order to finish the job quicker. Kabuto and Naruto believed it was a good idea to get her used to the idea of killing or at least be around the act when it was happening. After all, most of the techniques Blackfire wanted to learn were assassination techniques, So Blackfire went on missions with different auto squads. She helped them out and took a few lives every now and then. Guran tried to join Naruto on his little hunts, but Naruto preferred to always hunt on his own, so she spent the 2 weeks meeting up with spies of Kabuto, training with Naruto when she could, doing mission for Otogakure, or helping Naruto by looking for new members for Blackfire's team. Rose A.K.A. Ravager went in for the operation to get artificial chakra system the day after the Land of Demons fiasco. The operation itself took 20 hours to do, that was the easy part. The hard and more deadly part was transferring someone else's chakra into Rose and hope the artificial chakra system works. Kabuto had sent out a squad to go capture some other village shinobis before the operation. When they returned, they had a 4-man team from Sunagakure. The team had 2 Chunin and 2 Jonin. The team might have been bigger and lost member in a recent battle since the Auto Squar claimed they exhausted and weak when they ran into them. Now Naruto and Kabuto didn't know if the artificial system would grow its chakra reserves as the person trained and got older like a natural system, or the person would have set amount of chakra for their whole life. So to make sure Rose was strong enough, they were planning on transferring at least a high Anbu to a low Senin worth of chakra into her. With that much chakra she would need to do a lot of chakra control exercises, but it would be better for not only them but her as well in the long run if her reserves don't grow. Kabuto was able to transfer the chakra from the capture shinobis using something Naruto found on his journey. It was a machine called Energy Transfer Device or Alien Healing Machine. This was an easier, safer, and faster way to transfer the chakra to Rose than using seals. Naruto came across the machine while he was sneaking around a space station known as Babylon 5. He found out it would drain life force from a living being. Its original purpose was to punish convicted criminals. The device would transfer the life force of one person to another. If it is used on a low setting, it can be used to heal one person while only draining some life force from the other user. If used on the maximum setting or if the other party is severely injured, the device can kill the other user. Kabuto and Naruto were able to change the setting so it would drain chakra instead of life force. Draining the Suna shinobis took about a day per person, but Ravager came out of it okay. After that, Kabuto went ahead with transplanting the Sharingan Eye into Ravager. While recovering from the transplant, Naruto had her do simple chakra control exercises. Otokage's office. Kabuto had called a meeting about finding another member for the team. Blackfire, Ravager in her gear, and Guran showed up, but Naruto wasn't anywhere to be seen. Is Naruto on one of his hunts again? Blackfire asked Kabuto. Not this time, he said something about a job back on Earth, replied Kabuto as the girls sat down in front of the desk. I've found the medic Naruto wanted. I normally would send him, but I fear if we don't catch her now then she will disappear again. She is in the land of tea with someone else heading towards the land of fire, to be more accurate heading towards Konoha. The 2 are members of the Akatsuki and are heading there because the Akatsuki believe the Kyuubi will go there to get its revenge. You 3 are going to have to knock her out, take out the person with her, and bring her back here so I can put a loyalty seal on her. Why the loyalty seal? A confused Blackfire asked. Both Guran and Ravager joined the team willingly, so why want this new girl? Trust me, she won't. You'll have to knock her out to bring her here, Kabuto said in a serious but almost tired tone. So this medic have a name? Ravager asked. Her name is Karen, Kabuto said with a sigh and frown. While Ravager and Blackfire gave him a confused look as the name made him frown, Guran gave him a slight glare. Are you tell me the only medic you could find was her? Guran asked in an agitated voice. It was her or Naruto's former teammate, the pink-haired Banshee as he calls her, Kabuto said in a defeated tone. Naruto had high standard for the medic, so it was her or the Banshee, and I don't think he wants the Banshee on the team. Ravager and Blackfire were listening and were wondering what was so special about Karen person, while Guran gained a downcast expression. Does Naruto-sama know about her? Guran asked in nervous tone, which Kabuto shook his head negatively. How mad do you think you will be at us? Kabuto sat back in his chair and stared at the ceiling. If it was the old Naruto, I would say he would kill us as soon as we tell him, Kabuto replied, which caused Guran to flinch at the thought of Naruto being mad at her. However, this Kyuubi or Hanyu, half-demon, Naruto, whichever name you want to call him, doesn't think or feel the same way. The new Naruto believes Naruto Uzumaki is dead, and with him any ties or bonds. He might get a little mad, but I don't think it will last that long. What are you guys talking about? Blackfire asked as she looked between Guran and Kabuto. I'll tell you on the way, Guran replied as she stood up. Let's get moving. We will have to meet up with one of Kabuto's spies to pick their trail. It will take us day or 2 days to get there, maybe more depending how well you 2 keep up with me. Who's the other person traveling with this Karen? Ravager asked as she stood up and put her mask on. The other person is Suigetsu Hazuka. Here is some info on both of them, Kabuto replied as he handed Ravager some files. I wish Naruto was around so he could just make us a portal to get there, Blackfire said half-jokingly as she got up and followed Guran. You're relying on him too much, Ravager said jokingly as she followed Blackfire. Titan Tower, Earth. Robin was in his personal gym hitting his punching bag. He was venting out his frustration on it. He hated that he needed to contact his old mentor for help, as he hit the large bag in front of him. Remember the conversation he had just 2 weeks ago. Flashback: Robin had convinced Starfire to go out shopping, Beast Boy and Cyborg to go out to eat somewhere, and bribed Raven to go to the bookstore for a few hours. He didn't want any of them around. He and his mentor were talking. He didn't even like the fact he had to contact him. Now he was standing in Ops' living room using the large screen to talk the man that trained him, Batman. So that's what happened. I have no idea what he is planning next, Robin said as he stared up at his mentor. Golden Fox has been a hard person to figure out, the Dark Knight said as he narrowed his eye. I looked at police reports going back 10 years to see when Fox showed up, but I can't find anything. However, I did find a few reports about a metahuman matching Fox's fighting style being arrested 6 years ago, but there is no criminal record. If that is Fox and there are a report of his arrest, then he was never convicted or someone removed his criminal record, said Batman as he finished. Robin thought, Fox may not have any official record, but the League knows he has friends with deep pockets and high influence. One of them was one of your enemies, Slade. Robin narrowed his eyes at the name. What do you mean? Slade Wilson was a known friend of Fox. We believe he was the one who gave him a place to hide when we're looking for him. Fox doesn't seem like the kind of person to take a mask to remember a friend. He took it for a reason. The same thing for the blueprints. He took them for a reason, and it wasn't to sell. He took them because he was hired to, or it was for something more personal. What can you tell me about him? Not much. He's a thief with no desire to become anything more than that. Right now I can't find any sort of weakness, but there is something you should see. Batman started to play a traffic camera in Jump City. It was dated the same day the Titans had their run-in with Golden Fox. It showed Golden Fox shoot a large ball of fire through his mask at the civilians and then made a large ice wall to protect them. He shoots a fireball at them and then protected them. Why? The boy wonder asked himself as he watched the footage. He is becoming unstable, Batman answered his former sidekick. From the footage, Fox has a desire to kill but has a way to control it. However, it seems he is losing that control and becoming unstable. The next time we see him, well, bring him down, Robin said as he turned his back to his mentor. Robin, if he kills anyone then the League will get involved whether you like it or not, the Dark Knight told Robin before cutting the connection. End flashback. Robin continued to hit the punching bag to vent out his anger at not only his old mentor, but at his own lack of his skill and ability. He fought the likes of the Joker, Mr. Freeze, Bane, Poison Ivy, and the Penguin. However, when it came to Golden Fox, he had no idea how to take him down. He was unlike any villain he had encountered. He would have continued to vent his anger on the bag, but an alarm went off informing them there was trouble in the city. Robin quickly left his gym to go get ready. He had been so distracted by his own anger he never noticed the red and blue eyes watching him from a dark corner. Konohagakure. While Guran and the others were trying to catch up to Karen, Tsunade was stomping through the slowly dying village in a foul mood. She had just finished her talk with the bear and turtle Anbu and it didn't go as she hoped. She woke up in the Konohagakure hospital a week after her meeting with the Kyuubi. As soon as she was able to leave, she went to find Bear and Turtle to find out the truth. It turned out those two were on a mission and it was unknown when they would return. She left a message at Anbu HQ to have the two of them see her in her office at the hospital. Today they returned and went to see what she wanted. This proved to be a mistake on their part. Flashback: the two had just confirmed what the Kyuubi had told her. Since her sensei was no longer around, she took her anger out on the ANBUs in front of her. She had beaten the two ANBUs to a bloody mess, all while ranting about what an idiot her teacher was. However, the bear Anbu had to say something to make Tsunade's blood boil with rage. The demon was going to turn on the village, the bear Anbu said weakly. Lord Third did what he needed to do to get the demon under control to be a weapon for the Leaf. Tsunade gave Bear one last blow to the head to knock him unconscious. She then turned to look at Turtle. Wait, I don't see him like that anymore, Turtle said in a fearful and panicked voice. Yes, in the past I did think like that, but as he grew and became stronger I realized I was wrong to think like that. After he saved the village from pain, I saw him as a hero and now not only regret not helping him when he was younger, but also not helping stop his banishment. Tsunade looked at Turtle, who had his head down in shame. She couldn't tell if he was being truthful or if he was just saying this to avoid her fury. Tsunade decided to leave Turtle as he was and left to go get some other doctors to heal them. End flashback: as she replayed that memory in her head, she thought about what the Kyuubi told her. Okay, so the part about Hiruzen putting a loyalty seal on Naruto was true, but that doesn't mean he's dead, Tsunade thought as she continued to stomp through the village. Maybe the seal broke and Naruto is still alive, but if that was the case then where was the Kyuubi all these years? I don't want to believe Naruto is dead, but right now everything points to Naruto dying and the Kyuubi just reformed. The only question is why did it reform in the land of demons? Tsunade was brought out of her thoughts by someone speaking to her. Hello Lady Tsunade, the person said to her, you seem troubled by something today. Tsunade looked to see who was speaking to her. It was just some merchant. What she didn't know was this was the same merchant that Sakura ran into 3 weeks ago. Yes, I just got some information that is troubling. Tsunade replied to the merchant. I still trying to process it and find out what is the truth and lies. Well, I am sure you'll figure it out, Lady Tsunade, the merchant said with a smile. However, while they were talking, he was trying to trap her in a genjutsu just like he did to Sakura. Suddenly all Tsunade could hear was the bell hang from the mont's hat. Then she found herself in a familiar black void. Ba-chan, help me, a voice said from behind her. She turned to see Naruto looking at her with tears in his eyes. Ba-chan, help me, I still alive. I am weak from the Kyuubi breaking free from the seal. I am weak and need you to come find me. Naruto, Tsunade said in shock and disbelief. She was about to walk up to him till she felt something familiar. It was the same feeling she had when she met the Kyuubi, only weaker. Realizing this, a scowl appeared on her face. This is nothing but a genjutsu, Tsunade said before she flared her chakra to break the genjutsu. Once it was broken, she grabbed the merchant she was just talking to. She believed he was the one to cast the genjutsu since his bell was the last thing she heard before she was caught in it. She had him by the collar of his shirt and pinned him to the close wall she could find. Who are you? Tsunade demanded. What do you mean? The merchant stuttered, seeing she broke out of his genjutsu. Don't play dumb with me. Tsunade replied as she pinned him harder to the wall. It had to be you who tried to trap me in a genjutsu, so you're either a missing nin in disguise or you're a spy from another village. Now which is it? By now a crowd had started to form around Tsunade and the merchant, wondering what was going on. The merchant started to give a chuckle as a smirk appeared on his face. I guess my genjutsus are nothing compared to Golden Fox Sama. I heard you and your team met him in the land of demons and that's why you were in the hospital for a week. You and the others are lucky that Golden Fox Sama didn't want to dirty his hand with your blood. What do you know? Tell me everything or I promise you'll be eating all your food through a straw for the rest of your life. Tsunade knew he had some knowledge about the Kyuubi and maybe about Naruto, but before he could answer, a squad of rude Anbu showed up. We will take it from here, Lady Tsunade, the squad leader said as the others went to tie up the merchant. However, before the ANBUs could restrain him, the merchant was able to quickly inject himself with a poison that Kabuto made to destroy the brain. Kabuto was able to make this with the help of Naruto and gave it to all his spies just in case they ever got caught. You won't get anything out of me, the merchant shouted before his body began to shake. His eyes rolled to the back of his head and he started to scream while grabbed onto his head. Tsunade quickly ran to him to figure out what was happening to him. Don't just stand there. We need to get him to the hospital. Tsunade ordered the root members. They did as they were told so they could get info out of the possible spy. The crowd watched as Tsunade and root members take the screaming merchant to the hospital. While in the crowd, a civilian man looked on, shaking his head in disappointment. That fool had to try to put a genjutsu on her, the man thought as he continued to shake his head. Now I have to send a message to Kabuto-sama saying one of his spies in Konoha is dead. The man turned around and started to walk away from the crowd. He knew he needed to send the message as soon as possible. Jump City. While things were starting to happen in or around Konohagakure, Naruto had been on Earth unaware of it all. It was night there and he was currently on top of the LexCorp building waiting for the people he had called to get there. Truth was, there was no mission on Earth. Naruto had an idea for a backup plan for when he and Blackfire went up against the Titans. The only problem was he didn't know if the people in question would help. If they didn't, then he would have to look for others, which he didn't feel like doing. He then felt two presents appear behind him. He didn't need to turn around to know who it was. The one to his left was teenage girl with long black hair that was parted in the middle into two strands that were tied near the ends. She was wearing a short emerald kimono that had lime green trimming on the edge and sleeves of it. It was tied with a lime green obi, and she wore long black high heel boots. She was also wearing a white cat mask that had green eyes and smile that almost stretched ear to ear. The one to his right was a teenage boy that was in a full black skin-tight suit that had a black cape. He also wore gray metal gloves and gray utility belt and a skull-like mask. The most noticeable things were the red XS on the back of the gloves, on his chest, and on his mask. I am glad you both could make it, Cheshire and Red X, Naruto said without turning around. What is it you want, Fox? Cheshire asked. It's rare for you to ask people for help. I want to know how you knew where I was staying. Red X asked, a curious tone. Let's just say I know people who can find people, Naruto replied. Red X, I called you two here to ask you for some favors. Why should I help you? Red X asked. What's in it for me? Cheshire asked. For you Cheshire, I could teach you some of my fighting styles from my homeworld, give or make you new and better weapons, and give you similar abilities as me, Naruto replied. For you I have access to different types of alien tech, so I sure we could work something out, or I could just pay you for your services if you want. Cheshire was thinking of taking the deal. She knew what he was capable of doing and was interested. Red X was a bit more cautious around the fox thief. What if I wanted the same powers as you? Red X asked. He wanted to see what he was willing to give to get his help. If that's what you want, then I can get it done, replied Naruto. However, there are some of my powers that you will never be able to do since I was born with it. This goes for both of you. While Red X nodded at Naruto to show he understood, Cheshire decided to ask the important question, what exactly are these favors? Naruto sighed. Before you begin, I have been helping a friend create a team to take down the Teen Titans. This got wide-eyed expressions from both Cheshire and Red X. The team is almost complete, but I believe it might be best to have someone teach them Earth stealth techniques so they aren't relying my homeworld style. Naruto turned around to look at Cheshire. That's where you come in. You could also teach them any hand-to-hand combat just in case the ones I teach them fail. Naruto turned to Red X. You seem to know more about the Titans than you let on. I want you to give us that info and help train the other as well. Red X narrowed his eyes at Naruto. What makes you think I know any more about them than anyone else? Red X asked with a hint of anger. The way you not only stole that suit, but the way you were able to use it to beat them tells me you know more than you let on, replied Naruto. What if I don't feel like helping you? Red X asked in an annoyed tone. Naruto just shrugged his shoulders and replied, then you're free to go back to wherever. However, I might run into one bird named Sidekick, and I may let it slip where he can find a thief who stole his suit. Are you blackmailing me? Asked a furious Red X asked. Call it what you want. I am just trying to make a backup plan for the team I am making, Naruto replied in a serious demonic voice. You said favors. Cheshire spoke up in hopes of stopping a fight from breaking out. What are these other favors? Naruto took a deep breath to calm down. Just one more favor. When we fight the Titans and by the chance we are losing, I want you two to get the others out of there. What about you? Asked a confused Cheshire. Don't worry about me. If I get caught, I have a way to get out, Naruto replied. Both Cheshire and Red X looked at each other before looking back. Naruto, I am in, but you are going to have to not only teach me some of your fight styles but also any training you know with any weapons you know, and give me the powers you have, Cheshire said. Naruto nodded in agreement and looked at Red X. You're not giving me a choice in the matter, Red X replied. I'll help, but you are going to give me a lot for my services. However, I want to make it clear that I don't trust, and if you betray me or don't pay up, I'll make you suffer. Noted. Now you two will be spending an uncertain amount of time away from Earth, so do you need to get anything before we go? Naruto asked. Since I am hiring you, I will provide a place to stay. Food, clothing if needed, and weapons for training and teaching. Both shook their heads negatively. All right, let's go then. Naruto opened one of his portal and gestured them to walk through. Both were a bit hesitant to a first, but then they went through it. Once they were gone, Naruto looked to the night sky. All right, I got these two to not only teach the others, but to help them if things go bad, Naruto thought. I have a Cage Bunshin shadow clone trying to convince the possible last member of the team, and I will go get the medic I have my eye on. I got other Cage Bunshin's shadow clones watching and studying the Titans. The only problem is that damn Uzumaki clan's mask storage temple. I'll have to talk to Kabuto about it after I get the medic. Naruto walked through the portal and was hoping everything was going good with his clones. Kanto region of Japan. Inside a church, Naruto's clone was talking to 18-year-old girl in a wheelchair. She had shoulder-length strawberry blonde hair that looked like a pale pink in the shadows and gray eyes. She was wearing a dark gray long-sleeve dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up to her elbows. She wore a black ribbon tie and black dress pants, and had a dragon tattoo on both her arms. Why should I join this team of yours? She asked with a raised eyebrow. I've heard a little about from the news, so I know you are a dangerous individual. How do I know this isn't a trap? A trap for who? The clone asked. You think I want to trap that psychopath Susu Motoku? I have faced and worked with crazier and deadlier people than him. I want you because of your mind. With the right training and maybe a small operation, I can make you stronger than Susu. With my help, you'll be able to not only defeat opponents without lifting a finger, but if you are lucky, you might be able to control people to an extent. The girl started to think. She had to admit the offer did sound good, but he seemed to be hiding something. What good can I do? She asked in a fake sad tone. I am stuck in this wheelchair for the rest of my life. I can't do anything but come up with strategy. As she started to pretend to cry, the clone just stared at her. We both know that's a lie, the clone said in an uncaring tone. This made the girl stop and gain a shocked expression. While at first that was true when you were attacked by that Tenny girl, then one day you woke up and found out that you had feeling in your legs again. How do you know that? The horrified and shocked girl asked. Because I was the one who healed you, Chutatsu Shibai. You are a heavy sleeper, the clone calmly replied. I've been watching you Tushi, fighters, for a while, and I am surprised that you all are allowed to get away with what you do. The cops don't do anything and you're all under the radar of the Justice League. Long before I started to make this team, I've been watching you and your fellow Tushi, fighters, fight and killing each other. I didn't think of adding any of you to this team till recently. You seem the most likely to join me, but you were useless to me when you were unable to walk, so while you slept one night, I snuck into your room and injected some nanobots into you. They then fixed, healed, or replaced any nerves, cells, or muscles to make you able to feel your legs again and walk. Chutatsu had a look of fear, horror, and disgust on her face as she jumped out of the chair. She quickly put some distance between herself and Naruto's clone as she stared at her legs. Her mind was bombarded with scenarios and questions of what he did to her while she was asleep. What was all she could say in a trembling voice. All did was inject the nanobots, nothing else, the clone replied, knowing what she was asking. Hearing that calmed Chutatsu down a bit, but she still wasn't happy about the situation. On one hand, she was grateful he helped her be able to walk again, but on the other hand, he snuck in her room when she was sleeping. Why me? Why help me and ask me to join this team? Chutatsu asked in an agitated and nervous voice. I told you already, because of your mind, the clone replied. I want to make you a genjutsu specialist. You have a perfect kind of mind for that. Genjutsu is the art of illusions, but maybe instead of using only chakra, I'm going to try to train you to add in your kai. You have one of those rare types of minds that are smart, calculating, deceiving, and manipulative. I know you made a deal with the spirits of dead Tushi fighters. You are already in the process of taking leadership of Kyosho Academy from Susu Motoku, and you are already manipulating that Tenny girl to become your loyal servant. Join this team and I can help you become stronger. If you are able to do genjutsu, then that will only help you with your plans. Chutatsu took a thinking pose. She was surprised by how much he knew about what she was doing. However, it didn't mean much. He was an outsider, so chances are no one would believe him if he said anything. But at the same time, she couldn't just leave him to do what he wanted. Since he knew what she was planning, he could mess up her plans another way. What will I have to do in this team? Chutatsu asked in a curious and unsure tone. Use what you will learn to defeat one person, maybe more if the others are having trouble. You want to train me to take on one person? Chutatsu asked in deadpan tone. Who's so scary that you need my help? It's not because he's scary, we just need you to keep him busy while the leader of the team takes care of someone else. If you can defeat him, it will help us so he can't go help his friends. So you're not the leader of this team? Chutatsu asked with a raised eyebrow, which the clone shook his head. So who's the leader and who's this person you want me to take on? You will meet her if you join the team, the clone in a more pleasant tone. As for who your opponent is, are familiar with who the Teen Titans are? Yes, they are becoming quite popular in Tokyo, but not here so much. Why? Chutatsu asked in a hesitant voice. Your opponent is Beast Boy from the Titans, the clone replied in the same tone of voice. Chutatsu stared at the clone with disbelief. You want me to take on a freak that can change into any animal? Chutatsu asked. Are you crazy? I won't last 5 minutes, let alone beat him. That is why I want you to get trained, the clone replied in exhausted tone. With the right training you will be able to stand toe to toe with him, maybe even be stronger than him. That's why I want you to learn genjutsu. He's not very bright and you were the exact opposite. With your mind you are capable of creating powerful and creative genjutsus. Also there's the benefit of controlling people to an extent. What kind of training are you thinking about putting me through? Chutatsu asked with a calm tone. She had originally planned for the spirits of the dead Tushi fighters to take over the current generation and cause chaos. However, the idea of controlling them to cause the same chaos sounded better. Nope, you are either all in or not at all, the clone replied, shaking his head. You'll go through everything or you will get no training. I could easily find someone else. Chutatsu gave a slight growl at that. She was hoping to get a little more info of what she might be getting into. If I did join, where am I going to get this training? You will be taken to my home world where you will meet with the rest of the team, the clone replied as he crossed his arms. You will train with them and others there for an uncertain amount of time. You will also have the option to get an operation to gain another power if you want. Chutatsu was surprised to hear he was an alien. She thought he was one of those meta-human that have been popping up lately. Hearing she would have to leave Earth caused her to have second thoughts. If she did leave, then she would lose everything she had worked for till now. If this didn't work, what can you guarantee for me if I join this team? I am the one giving up everything to help you. What can you guarantee me for taking this risk?
The only thing I can guarantee is you'll be stronger than you are now or you'll be dead, the clone replied in a serious tone. I can't promise the powers I told you or will tell you about, but if you are still alive through it all you will have some sort of power.
Chutatsu had to think about this. She had a big decision to make. She had 2 options and each one had its own risks and rewards. she could refuse and go with original plan, but the risk was that any number of things could go wrong with how unstable Susu was, and she couldn't control certain Kyosho students that could get in her way. If she accepts, then she will get training from a somewhat known thief and other aliens, but the risk is she loses everything she worked on and may not even get the power she has promised, as well as die in the process. I'll accept. I'll join this team of yours, Chutatsu answered with a determined look in her eyes. You are sure about this? The clone replied in serious tone. There is no going back, all your planning till now will go up in smoke. I will take that risk if it means me becoming stronger than Susu or anyone else that possesses a dragon spirit within them, Chutatsu replied as she stood face to face with the clone. Alright then, welcome to the team, the clone said before opening a portal. He then gestured her to walk through. As she was about to, he stopped her to ask one more thing. What about that Tenny girl? Are you just going to abandon her? She was just a pawn for me to use, nothing more nothing less, Chutatsu replied as she stared forward. As Chutatsu walked through the portal, the clone looked at the church's doors that were open slightly. He noticed that someone else was listening on their conversation not too long after it had started. He was able to sense who it was. The clone let out a soft sigh before following Chutatsu through the portal, while on the other side of the door a 14-year-old girl with back-length brown hair wearing a blue gothic Lolita outfit cried softly over what she just heard. It has been 2 days since Naruto had brought Chutatsu, Cheshire and Red X to Otogakure. In that time both Naruto and Kabuto gave them basic information about the village. History about the elemental nations, about chakra and what it can do. A bit about the villages and ranking system, about the operation to give them chakra coils. And their plans for when they face the Titans. They told them they would be given more information as things moved forwards. Naruto set them all up in the compound that the villagers had built for him after he helped them rebuild their village. They did this in hope that Naruto would make the village his new home. For now it was where all the team members were staying while in Otogakure. Kabuto informed Naruto that the girls were on a mission but didn't tell him what the mission was. If Naruto was going to get mad, then he wanted him to get mad at both him and Guran. Naruto did ask what it was and just figured he would ask the girls when they got back. He then told Kabuto he would be out for a hunt but was going to watch the medic he had his eye on. Hoshido Village, Land of Fire. The Hoshido village used to be a beautiful village. But when Konohagakure started to fall, all the smaller villages in the Land of Fire started to fall as well. People didn't want anything to do with Konohagakure and by extension the smaller villages within the Land of Fire. This caused many people to abandon the small villages. Hoshido was now just a small rest stop for people who were traveling through. It was a place people could rest for the night or a day and get any medical attention they needed. The only reason Naruto was here in this all but dead village was because of the doctor in this place. He had a cage bunchins, shadow clones, watching the doctor for the last 2 weeks. He now believes that he found the medic he was looking for. It was a 22-year-old woman who had long reddish-brown hair. She had rather thick eyebrows that were the same color as her hair, blue eyes, and mole under her left eye. She was wearing a cyan long-sleeve shirt under an open black vest, long blue pants, and dark armbands and leg bands. Naruto stood on tree branch not too far away, watching and remembering the person he wanted as the team's medic. So this is where you ended up, Amaru, being a doctor in a dead village, Naruto thought as he watched her tend to people. You are the best person I can get. Anyone else I would have to put up a big fight for, or I just don't want them. At that moment 3 Root ANBUs showed up and approached Amaru. It started as a simple conversation but then turned into the 3 Root members becoming aggressive. Well, would you look at this? It seems Danzo is going to help me get my medic. I just go down there and take out the ANBUs. I tell her who I really am, and then she joins me because of our past and I just saved her. Then me and Kabuto just have to train her and the other. Then we go up against the Titans. With Amaru, she was just trying to heal people who came today and was enjoying it. But it was ruined by some of Konohagakure's ANBUs that show up. This wasn't the first time they have come to try to convince her to go to Konohagakure to become a doctor there. Every time she had refused the offer since she, like most people, now had a bad view of Konohagakure. She refused the offer once again and thought they would leave like before. But they didn't. The leader of the squad grabbed her by the arm and told her that she was going with them to Konohagakure. Scared and knowing she wouldn't be able to take them on in a fight, she silently prayed for someone to help her. Little did she know that her prayer was able to be answered by someone she would later wish never saved her. 2 of them were killed by a kunai to the head. Someone in a blood-red coat, black pants, and a golden fox mask appeared behind the third one and killed him the same way. TT, thank you, a fearful Amaru said as she looked at the person who just saved her, not sure if he was a friend or foe. Who are you? It has been a long time, Amaru. It's good to see you again, Naruto said before taking his mask off and putting it in his coat pocket. Amaru's eyes widened when she saw his face. She hasn't seen this person since the incident with Land of the Sky. She had heard of his banishment and him vanishing into thin air. But here he was in front of her, and Naruto. Is it really you? Amaru asked in a shaky voice, hoping that her eyes weren't playing tricks on her. The second he gave a nod to confirm it was him, she crashed herself into him and started to cry into his chest. Where have you been? You get banished and then the whole world goes to hell, Amaru asked in an furious and relieved voice while still crying in his chest. The villages are getting ready for war. The Akatsuki are looking for you. Konoha is going downhill. Plus they are the first target for everyone to attack, and there were rumors that you were dead. Naruto hugs her to not only calm her down, but also to gain more trust from her. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, Naruto replied in a calm and slightly happy tone. I know what's going on, but right now that doesn't matter to me. I need help and you're the only one who can help me. You need my help? Amaru asked as she lifted her head off his chest. That's when she took a good look at him. Naruto, what happened to your hair and eyes? Why is one red and you have slit pupils? I need you to be a medic for a team I am building for a friend of mine, Naruto said in the same tone of voice while ignoring her other questions. We will train you to fight just in case, but your main job is to heal any other member if they get hurt in the fight we are getting ready for. I will talk to my friend and keep you off the front line of battles. If you help me, then you will have a safe place to live, not have to worry about an attack from shinobis, and once the job is done you'll get paid enough so you won't have to work again. What's wrong with you, Naruto? Amaru asked in a shocked voice as she starts to back away from him. This isn't you. This isn't the young man that said he would bring his friend back. Those aren't the same calming blue eyes that showed determination and the will to never give up. You aren't the same person I started to have feeling for.
Naruto gave off a small growl of anger at her. He knew everything she said was true.
But it hurt him a bit to hear it from Amaru since she never betrayed him like the others. The only reason he didn't feel like this when he confronted Shion was because he was more concerned about her vision than how she felt to him. Amaru, please just join me, Naruto said in a serious tone, but a hint of guilt was also there. You're right. I am not the same person I once was. The person you knew is dead and I am the one who took his place. I need your skill as a doctor so my friend get her revenge. So you have two options. Option 1, you join me of your own free will. Or option 2, I knock you out and have loyalty seal put on you. So which one will it be, Amaru? Amaru once again had tears in eyes as she shook her head in frustration. This was not the Naruto that she had met all those years ago. Please stop this, Naruto, this isn't the real you. Amaru said in a pleading tone. I know the kind-hearted you is still in there. Whatever is going on with you, you need to fight it. Don't let this thing control you. You are stronger than it. Go back to the way you used to be, the caring, kind, fun-loving, joking idiot we all knew. Amaru went and stood in front of him, put both hands on each side of his face, and looked him in the eyes. Go back to being the Naruto I met all those years ago. Naruto closed his eyes, gave her a simple smile. Thank you, Amaru, Naruto said in a caring tone. Thank you for caring for a demon like me and showing me my past wasn't all that bad. Amaru smiled and her eyes showed hope that she was able to bring the old Naruto back. She wondered why he referred himself as a demon, but before she could ask she felt something hit her neck. And Naruto? Amaru asked as her smile fell and she felt her conscience starting to fade. The last thing she saw before everything went black was Naruto's smiling face. Naruto quickly caught Amaru's body before it hit the ground and threw the unconscious body over his shoulder. But unfortunately I am never going back to being that Naruto, he said to Amaru's unconscious body. I said I would help Blackfire get her revenge and nothing is going to stop me. I may be doing the same thing my former village did to me, but if it can help Blackfire then I don't care what I have to do. Naruto then created a portal to Otogakure and went through it. He need to get her locked up and have Kabuto put the seal on Amaru before she woke up. Naruto's compound, Otogakure. The house the people of Otogakure built for Naruto on the compound they gave him was fairly big. It had 12 rooms, a large kitchen, 3 bathrooms, a library, study room, a large vault, living room, a dining room, a large basement, weapon storage room, prison holding cell beneath the basement, and a private training ground in the back. He didn't know why there was prison cells under the house.
He figured there were already there from when Orochimaru ruled Otogakure. While Naruto took the master bedroom, everyone else on the unnamed team took one of the other room. Both Cheshire and Red X picked their own rooms since they would be training the other member of the team, even though they weren't actual members. Despite this world being an underdeveloped planet to some, this mansion and village was not. The mansion had more advanced technology in it than most homes on Earth.
While Naruto was trying to convince Amaru to join, Red X was in the room that would his for the foreseeable future. He was making dossiers with all he knew about the Teen Titans on a computer that was in the room he picked. Fox, or Naruto as he was known in the village, wanted him to make them before the rest of the team returned so they all could go over them. At first Red X was only give him simple, basic knowledge that he knew about them. However, it was what Naruto said to Red X after he picked his room that made him change his mind. What he said to him made him realize that he will have to give him everything, or else Naruto might do something worse to him than just hand him over to the Titans. Flashback: it was the night after Naruto brought both Cheshire and Red X to his home planet. After getting there they met with a man named Kabuto and the newest member Chutatsu Shibai. They spent the day learning a bit about the planet, village, and culture of this world. When night came they decided to call it a day and Naruto took them to the place that would be their home. Red X was about to take off his suit and go to sleep in the room he picked, but then he heard someone knock on his door. Before he could say anything the door opened and Naruto walked into the room. "What do you want, Fox? Or is it Naruto now?" Red X asked as he annoyed by him barging into his room. "In the village it's whatever one you want," Naruto replied as leaned against the wall, outside the village or earth, then referred to as Golden Fox. "But that's not the reason I am here. I am here because I want you to make some sort of files with everything you know about the Titans before the others return. I'll do it tomorrow and have it done by that night," Red X said in an uninterested tone as he turned his back to him, wanted to get his bed ready to go to sleep. "I don't know much about them, so don't expect a lot." "Actually, I expect to see 5 files with a lot of information on each Titan," Naruto said with a small smile on his face. "I know you have the most information on them, so your files better have everything you know about them." Red X turned around to look at Naruto as he narrowed his eyes. "Why do you think I know the most about them? What reason or proof do you have that tells you that I know the most about the Teen Titans?" Naruto simply smirks and then looks outside the room into the hallway. "One time when I was in Jump City I came across this bird." Red X gained a confused expression, but before he could ask what this had to do with anything Naruto continued talking. "This bird was young, but strong and brave. It was brave enough to not only allow me to feed it out of my hand, but also allowed me to hold on to it and pet it. It seemed to love flying high above and spread its wings. A few months later when I returned to Jump City I found the same bird. Or at least I still believe it was. The bird I found looked the same. Same colors, same type of bird, same everything, but this wasn't fly in the sky above. No, it was just laying in the middle of the sidewalk. I thought it might have been injured, so picked it up and examined it to see if it was. To my surprise it was completely fine, but the odd thing was the bird did nothing when I examined it. It didn't put up a fight, didn't attack me, didn't try to fly away, it just let me do whatever I wanted it. I thought it might have been a different bird, but no, I still believe it was the same one I saw last time. For some reason the bird just gave up on everything, it just didn't care about itself or if anyone cared about it." Naruto then looked at Red X with his smirk still on his face. "Tell me, X, what was it that made that little bird just give up everything it had? What happened to it to make it give up? What was it that caused the bird to snap? What was it that broke the bird?" Red X stood there with a calm expression, but in his head he was shocked and in a panic. "Does he know who I am?" Red X thought as he tried to calm his mind. "There should be no way he knows who I am. I made sure no one would find out. Then again, Fox is smarter than him, so he might have actually figured out who I am." Red X had a bit of hate and disgust when he thought about him. "What makes you think I know why the bird was acting different?" Red X replied in a calm tone. "We both know why I would think that," Naruto replied with a toothy smirk. Naruto then got off the wall and walked towards Red X. He then leaned forward and whispered something in his ear. Red X's eyes went wide with shock at what he just heard. Naruto then pulled back and had evil toothy smile on his face. "Well, that's all I wanted to say," Naruto said in an almost happy tone. "I can't wait to see those files with all the info you have on the Titans." Naruto made sure to put emphasis on the word all. "Well, you must be tired. I'll let you get some sleep." Naruto turned around to leave but stopped in the doorway. "Oh, I almost forgot," Naruto said in mock surprise as he looked over his shoulder at Red X. "After I saw the bird the second time, I can't seem to remember what species the bird was. I remember what it looks and sound like, but the bird's name escapes me. However, there was one other new about the bird other than how it acted. The first time I saw the bird its head was fine, but the second time I saw it the bird had a scar on the top of its head that looked like a X." With that Naruto left, closing the door behind him, leaving a shocked, shaken, and slightly fearful Red X in the room. End flashback. Red X hated what he was doing, but he knew this was the best choice he had given his option. "He knows who I am, and if I try to trick him then they will pay the price," Red X thought as he continued to work on the dossiers. "There's no doubt in my mind that he would find a way to get to them just to make them suffer for my mistake. No matter what, I will protect them from Fox, even if it means making a deal with him. They may have hurt me, but I am." Red X's thoughts were interrupted by a loud shout. "What?" shouted a demonic voice. Right away Red X knew who it was. Someone did something to set Fox off, Red X said to himself as he looked to the door to his room. "I need to get these done fast. I don't need him getting this furious at me." I just wonder who and what got him this angry. Red X shook his head and went back to finishing the dossiers. With Naruto, while Red X was working on the dossiers, Naruto had returned and locked Amaru lock in one of the cell under the house. He then started explaining more about the shinobi system with Chutatsu, who he found in the living room reading a book she got from the library. Cheshire came into the room and heard what they were talking about and decided to listen as well. However, Kabuto came in not too long after to tell Naruto not only what the girl's mission was, but also they were in trouble. This is what caused Naruto to shout, as well as release demonic chakra into the room. Kabuto was able to still stand, but Chutatsu and Cheshire both fell to their knees from the pressure. Chutatsu had been around when Susu went berserk, but it was nothing like she was feeling right now. As for Cheshire, this was something new to her. She had never felt someone with so much power release so much all at once. Why didn't you tell me this sooner? Naruto asked as he pulled back in his demonic chakra. I have Amaru locked in one of the cell under the house so you can put a seal on her. Now you tell me you sent the girls to capture some other medic? Just call them back. I don't want any of them getting killed. I believe the person they're going after is better for Team Kabuto replied while trying to keep himself calm. This Amaru is a civilian, right? So she has no shinobi training, but who the girls are going after is a medic nin of sorts. She will need less training than Amaru. Plus her being a Uzumaki allows us to train her in more than Amaru. Kabuto looked away as he mentioned that last part since he didn't know how he would take it. When he finally did look at Naruto, he saw Naruto had a look of fury on his face.
Is that the reason you didn't tell me what the mission was? Naruto asked in a calm tone. Kabuto simply nodded as he was afraid of what was coming next. We will talk more about this later. Right now I need to go help the girls and you got to put the seal on Amaru. Where are they so I can create a portal to where they are? Naruto asked, to which Kabuto handed him a map that had the general area they were in marked. Naruto looked at before opening a portal and going through it.
Kabuto let out a sigh of relief and sat down in the closest chair. Chutatsu and Cheshire had both recovered after Naruto pulled his demonic chakra back in. However, they watched the conversation since they were both interested in what was going on. So what was all that about? Chutatsu asked exhausted Kabuto. Let me rest for a bit and someone go get Red X since I don't want to repeat myself, Kabuto said as he tried to relax for a bit. Chutatsu just nodded while Cheshire went to go get Red X. With Blackfire and Ravager, forest in the land of fire. The plan the three of them had was a good plan. Blackfire and Ravager would take on Suigetsu. While Guran knocked out or immobilized Karen, they would then kill Suigetsu or withdraw back to Otogakure. However, when they confronted the targets within the forest, they split up. Blackfire and Ravager followed Suigetsu while Guran followed Karen as planned. Everything was going fine and Guran had trapped Karen in a large crystal. When they were about to finish the plan until Guran was confronted by three Konohagakure shinobis, Blackfire and Ravager wanted to go help Guran, but every time they blasted or cut Suigetsu he just turned into water. I have to admit I like the swords you have, Suigetsu said as he lifted his Kabikirabocho. Even though they're not one of the 7 swords of the mist, I think I'll take them after I finish you and your friend off. Just as he was about to charge towards Ravager, his head and both legs exploded due to getting hit by Blackfire's black bolts. What does it take to keep this guy down? Blackfire asked in frustration. We tried blowing him up or cut him into pieces so many times, but he just turns himself in water. I don't know. Let's check in with Guran, Ravager replied as she turned on the communicator that was built into her helmet. Guran, how are you doing with the Konoha shinobis? I am hold my own against them, but I won't last much longer, Guran replied over the communicator. Both Ravager and Blackfire had a communicator. Unfortunately, it was just an audio communicator. The three I ran into is the new generation of the Ino Shikacho team and they are now protecting Karen. Who? Asked a very confused Blackfire. I explain later. How are you two hold up? Guran asked while dodging attacks. No matter what we do to him, he just won't stay down or die, Blackfire said as she fired more black bolts at Suigetsu. He keep turning into water or shoot water bullets at us. Destroy the water bottles he has with him, Guran replied. He needs to stay hydrated, get rid of his water and he will have to leave to get more or risk dying. We tried and are still trying to do that, Ravager said as she had dodged a swing from Kabikirabocho. He is making sure we can't get close to them or destroy them. I hope that help that Kabuto sent will get here soon, Blackfire said as she dodged water bullets and fired black bolts. You both realize that there is only one person Kabuto can send who can get here that quick, right? Yup. So that means he's back from Earth, Ravager said as she tried to slash Suigetsu only for him to turn into water. Alright, I am ending this right now, plus I am getting tired of the two you ignoring me, Suigetsu said with scowl. He was about to attack them again when something hit him in the face and sent flying into a tree. After he was slammed into a tree he put a hand up to his face to rub his head. He then felt something wet on his hand. He looked at his hand and saw it was blood. He then realized the blood was coming from his nose. Blood? How is this happening? I should have turned into water when I got hit. I covered my fist with my demonic chakra and that's what stopped you from doing that, a new voice said. Suigetsu looked up and saw someone wearing blood-red coat, black pants, and a golden fox mask in front of him a few feet away. Demonic chakra. How do you have that? Suigetsu asked in disbelief and confusion. Also, how would that stop me from turning into my liquid form? I have demonic chakra because I am the Kyuubi, Naruto replied playfully. You see, demonic chakra is harmful to humans. So your body made it so you couldn't go into a liquid state. Your body stays solid, so the amount of demonic chakra you were exposed to was low. If you turned into liquid, more of your body would have gotten exposed to it. Suigetsu stared wide-eyed in surprise at what he was told, before it became a confident expression with a smirk. So you're the Kyuubi me and Karen were sent to capture. I'll just capture you myself and leave Karen so I can move up in the Akatsuki. Naruto then unleashed a large amount of his Kyuubi chakra into the area. You seriously think you can capture me by yourself? Naruto said in a playful tone before it became serious and demonic. The Akatsuki has really fallen as its members think they can take on a tailed beast on their own. Suigetsu looked up at him after falling to his knees from the pressure from the chakra. He felt something that he hasn't felt in a long time. Fear. The last time he felt this small was when he tried to go against Orochimaru after he was captured by him. He now knew that he didn't stand a chance against the person in front of him. I'll give you this one chance. Leave the girl. Get out of here, and I won't send your head back to the Akatsuki. Suigetsu just nodded and left as fast as he could. At first he believed he could take him on, but now he knew the only way he was going live was to run and report back to Madara. They are now going to know what you look like. You know this, right? Blackfire asked as she looked to her longtime partner. It was only a matter of time before they found out, Naruto replied. I am a little surprised people don't already know. I guess the old lady never told anyone what I really look like. Are we going to be in trouble for this mission when we get back? Ravager asked. She and Blackfire weren't worried. They didn't know the connection till Guran told them while on the mission. So all they had to say was they didn't beforehand, and chances are he wouldn't get mad at them. No, but I'll be having a talk with Kabuto about hiding this from me when we get back, Naruto replied. Well, Guran also knew about Karen as well, Blackfire said with a small smile, while Ravager just shook her head at her childish antics. Then I'll just talk to both of them at the same time, Naruto replied while Blackfire smirked at the response. Now which way is Guran? To which both of them pointed towards Guran's direction. Then let's go help her and get this girl. With Guran, a few minutes before Naruto show up, Guran was not happy about her current situation. She had Karen's body immobilized in a crystal and was about to bring her back to where the others were. When Konohagakure shinobis showed up, she knew Blackfire and Ravager were busy with Suigetsu, so she had to take on Shikamaru Naru, Ino Yamanaka, and Choji Akamichi by herself. She may have gotten back into the form she was in before, but she wasn't strong enough to take on two Chunins and a Jonin by herself. Why do you want this girl? Ino asked as she was getting ready for another group attack. I could ask you the same thing, Guran replied as she kept her guard up. Why are Konoha shinobis protecting a member of the Akatsuki? She might know the location of other members or bases, Shikamaru replied. What about you? Why Kunoichi, who is suspected to be affiliated with Otto, want this Akatsuki member? However, before Guran could reply, all four of them felt a large wave of chakra flow around them. All of their eyes widened in shock as they not only felt the chakra, but also the pressure from it. What is this chakra? A stuttering Ino choked out. It feels like it's going to crush me into the ground, Choji said as he was crouching from the pressure. I know this feeling, Shikamaru said in a fearful voice as he remembered where he felt this chakra before. He looked and saw that Guran had lost focus on them and now was focusing on the direction the chakra was coming from. He quickly made the hand seals for his Kagemane, shadow imitation technique, and caught Guran in it. Ino, use your Shintention, mind-body switch, to take control of her body now. Choji, grab the woman in the crystal and I'll grab Ino's body. We need to get out of here now.
Alright, I am on it, Ino said as she was broken out of her previous train of thought. Ino aimed her hands at Guran, but just as she used Shintention mind-body switch, a new figure appeared between her and Guran. While Ino didn't see who it was, Choji and Shikamaru did. They didn't know who this guy in the golden fox mask was, but they knew two things. One, he was the person releasing the chakra, and two, he was the person who got hit with Ino's Shintention mind-body switch.
In Naruto Mindscape, when Ino came to, she found herself in dark empty void. Unsure where she was, she started to look around. She knew someone got between her and her target but didn't see who. What felt like hours wandering the dark void, she came across three different types of doors. The first was a plain white wooden door, the second was a stone doorway with a large boulder in front of it. And the last was a metal prison door. As Ino got closer she could see there were plaques over each door made from the same material as the door. Over the wooden door it said Golden Fox's Memories, over the stone door it said Kurama's Memories. But it was the last one that shocked Ino. Over the metal door it said Naruto's Memories. Ino started to walk towards the door without thinking. She believed this was the Naruto she knew. She would ask how or why this person had Naruto's memories later. Right now she had to make sure this was Naruto Uzumaki's memories. She would ask question after she confirmed it was him. Unfortunately, when she was about to open the door she heard a loud growling behind her. She turned around to come face to face with a large golden Kyuubi with a crimson and blue eyes, and reddish-orange tip tails and ears. "Get out of my mind, now," Naruto in his Kyuubi form shouted before forcefully ejecting Ino from his mind. Back in the real world. While to Ino it felt like hours, it was only minutes in the real world. Blackfire and Ravager had caught up Naruto and Guran. Shikamaru had caught Ino's body and now all five of them were waiting to see what was going to happen. Suddenly Ino started to come to in Shikamaru's arm. "And Naruto?" Ino whispered as she was trying to get her bearings. Shikamaru heard this and stared at the person wearing the golden fox mask. "Ah, it's the lazy slacker," Naruto said in a playful tone. "I haven't seen you since I killed the priestess in the land of demons. I hope the old lady wasn't too shaken up after our little talk." Shikamaru decided to ignore that for now and asked the question that was on his mind. "Naruto, is that you?" Shoji looked at Shikamaru in shock while Ino looked at the unknown person to see if this person is their longtime friend. Blackfire, Ravager, and Guran show no expression, but in their mind they panicking thinking his cover was blown. Naruto however was expecting this and was ready for it. "I am afraid you were mistaken. I am Golden Fox the new Kyuubi no Kitsune," he said in his playful tone. "If you're not Naruto then how do you have his memories?" Ino asked, causing both Shikamaru and Shoji to look at her. "While in your mind I saw a door that said it had Naruto's memories." "That's simple, it's because I was created from the death of both my predecessor and Naruto Uzumaki," Naruto replied. He saw Shikamaru was about to ask him something, but he decided to cut him off before he began. "If you want to know more then ask the old lady, as I don't want to repeat myself and I have things to do. Now unless you three think you can take on the Kyuubi and these three ladies beside me, I suggest you head back to Konoha." Naruto could see the conflict in Shikamaru's eyes, but Shikamaru knew as they didn't stand a chance against all four of them. They were also a little shaken up with this person claiming Naruto was indeed dead and only the Kyuubi exist now. Shikamaru told them they were going to return to Konohagakure, which the other two agreed with. Shoji went to grab Karen who was still trapped in crystal when Naruto spoke up. "Leave the girl, she is our catch so it's best if you leave her with us," he said in a serious tone. "Why do you want her anyways?" Shikamaru asked as he tried to get more information about this supposed new Kyuubi. "I have my reason and those reasons are none of your business, lazy slacker," Naruto replied in a playful tone. "Now get out of here before I change my mind." Shikamaru regretfully told Shoji to leave her. The three then disappeared into the forest to go back to Konohagakure. All the while Shikamaru was trying to piece together all the information he had just collected. He came across a missing nin that may or may not be a member of Otogakure forces. The two other women that were there were also working her, so all three might be Otogakure shinobis. The Kyuubi seemed to know and be working with them, although he couldn't say with 100% that person was the Kyuubi or not. If he was then that means Otogakure may now have possession of the Kyuubi, which means that Konohagakure could be in real trouble. When they got back he knew needs to see Tsunade to find out what she knew. "Are you sure that was the best thing to do?" Ravager asked. "Wouldn't it be smarter to get rid of them so they won't be able to track where you were hiding?" "Yes, that would have been the smarter choice," Naruto replied as he continued to look in the direction left in. However, right now elemental nations are teetering on the brink of war. If we kill those three it might start the pending war that is waiting. That would then make it harder for us to move around here and train, plus I don't think those three will say anything to Danzo soon or maybe at all. They will want answer first before they let him know anything, even if or when he finds out he won't attack right away. He know if he does then the fourth shinobi war will begin. Konoha has no allies and all the other villages will attack them before attacking Oto, so he will try to do something secretly. Naruto then covered Karen's body with his demonic chakra to get rid of any Zetsu spores. "Let's get her back to Oto and get the seal on her," he said in a bored tone. He opened a portal to Otogakure while Blackfire carried the unconscious Karen. "Oh, and Guran once she is safely locked up with the seal on. You will be joining me when I talk to Kabuto about this mission," he said in a more serious tone. This caused Guran to go pale as she believed she was in trouble, Blackfire to smirk at Guran's suffering, and Ravager sighing thinking that these two will be fighting very soon. The three ladies went through the portal along with the unconscious Karen. Naruto stopped in front of it and looked back into the forest. I know you saw and heard everything he said loudly into the forest. What are you going to do? Go back and tell Toby, or are you going to keep this to yourself? You know right now the Akatsuki would lose a fight with Otto. Not only that, but the other villages would help bring you down as well. The choice is yours. But is Toby ready to fight a war? With that said, Naruto walked into the portal. While out of the shadows Black Zetsu appeared. He had a frown on his face as he stared at the spot Naruto stood. He eventually sunk into the ground and disappeared. That evening in Otogakure, after Kabuto put the seal on Karen and Naruto put her into a cell under the house. They headed back upstairs. They met with Chutatsu, Cheshire, and Red X, in the living room with Guran, Blackfire, and Rose since she was out of her Ravager outfit. Kabuto and Naruto then proceeded to inform the others what type of loyalty they had used on the two possible medics. It wasn't like the seal Hiruzen had put on Naruto, they were able to keep their free will. But if they were given an order, their bodies forced them to follow it. To make sure they couldn't leave, the seal would start causing them pain if they got too far from someone on the team or Kabuto and kill them if it lasted too long. They also added a bit of the curse mark in the seal so they could cause pain manually if they feel they need to. Kabuto believed they would perform better if they keep their free will, rather than turning them in mindless slaves. However, this was just to see how they were going to react and act. If they started to cause problem, then they would make them mindless slaves. Each member, as well as Cheshire, Red X, and Kabuto, also got a type of control seal on them that was linked to their loyalty seals. They just had to make the Tora, tiger, seal with their hand to active the seal. However, if they did have chakra, then it wouldn't work. After they finished explaining the seals, Naruto brought up the topic about Karen being a Uzumaki. Currently Naruto was sitting in one of the chairs in the room while Kabuto and Guran were in front of him. Kabuto was standing with a calm expression, but on the inside he was frightened about how Naruto would react. Meanwhile Guran was beside him on her hands and knees, bowing to Naruto with her forehead touching the floor. Kabuto might have been afraid of Naruto, but there was no way he was going to bow to him. Chutatsu, Cheshire, and Red X were sitting on the couch, watching and wonder what was going to happen. Chutatsu was also wonder how strong Naruto was if he had the hidden leader of the village scared of him. She was starting to truly believing she made the right decision. Rose was leaning against a wall, watch the show in front of her. She was now wearing a simple gray sweatsuit that belonged to Naruto and a medical eye patch. Naruto gave her the sweatsuit for when she was training or if she didn't want to wear her outfit around the compound. Blackfire was leaning against a different wall with a smirk on her face. She was going to enjoy any punishment Guran was going to get. So the girl is an Uzumaki? Naruto asked with a bored expression and voice. Please forgive us, Naruto-sama. Guran pleaded with head still down. Kabuto didn't say anything, believing Guran would keep Naruto from getting angry at them, or at the very least forgive me. It was all Kabuto's idea to keep this info from you and go after her. Kabuto looked at her with a shocked and rage-filled expression. Hey, you agreed to my idea. You could have told him the truth anytime, while I was the one to send you after her. I did nothing to stop you from telling him the truth. Guran just turned her head so she could glare at Kabuto. We both know that if ever tried to tell him you would do something to stop me, like send me somewhere or... Enough! Naruto shouted as interrupted Guran. This caused both to flinch and stop arguing. Do you two know why I am upset? Which both shook their head negatively. I am upset that you guys think I would care if she was a Uzumaki. This caused Guran to look up at him with a confused expression. As well as Kabuto, I told you guys before, Naruto Uzumaki is no longer. I am now Naruto Golden Fox no Kitsune. I don't care if she is a Uzumaki or not. If she can do the job of a medic, then I don't care. Both of them released a sigh of relief. Kabuto thought this is how he would react, but he's still unsure since he was both the Kyuubi and Naruto. Because of this, it is hard to predict how he will react to these kind of situation. He could be fine with them or completely freak out and kill them all. Chutatsu, Cheshire, Red X, and Rose all sighed. They were expecting something bigger. Blackfire had frown on her face. This isn't what she expected or wanted. Next time just tell me and not try to hide it from me, Naruto in his same bored tone. Guran nodded her head while Kabuto had a smile on his face. Hopefully there won't be a next time. Also, I found the Uzumaki clan's mask storage temple. However, when I got there I didn't know which mask was the Shinigami mask. I was going to bring them all, but I wasn't able to touch any of them. Why didn't you bring this up before? Kabuto asked, wondering how long he had this information. I've been a little busy looking for a medic for the team, Naruto replied. It's not like it was going somewhere, but a good medic could disappear in a flash, so why couldn't I touch any of them without feeling pain? It might because you were a Han-Yu, half-demon, Kabuto replied as he tried to figure out why that happened, or maybe there are some sort of seal on them. I would have looked at them to find out. Tomorrow all of us are going to get the Shinigami mask, Naruto said, tired tone. Does that include the two people we just captured? Rose asked, seeing Naruto was planning to end this conversation. Yes, the sooner they interact with the team the better, Naruto replied. They need to learn that they now have no choice in the matter. Naruto then got up from the chair and started to leave. I am going to bed, the rest of you can do what he said before he left. Kabuto sighed and decided to go back to the cage tower to finish some paperwork. Guran glared at Blackfire since she knew she was the one to tell Naruto about her involvement with Kabuto. Blackfire saw this and let out a sigh. With a frown still on her face, she pointed her head towards the training ground, to which after they both left. Red X got up and went back to his room to do a final check on his dossiers of the Teen Titans. Cheshire decided to go look around the village some more to learn more about her temporary home. Shutatsu was planning on going to talk to people within the village to get more information on Naruto. Finally, Rose went to do some more chakra control training before she called it a day. The next day, Naruto, Kabuto, Shutatsu, Cheshire, Red X, Guran, Ravager, Blackfire, Karen and Amaru were all standing in front of the Uzumaki clan's mask storage temple. There was also Otto Jonin, whose name was Kai, with them. Naruto didn't know why Kabuto brought him, but he didn't question it. Amaru and Karen were both dealing with their situation differently. Both were still in clothes they'd been caught, and expect Karen isn't wearing her Akatsuki cloak. Amaru had an empty and depressed expression on her face. She didn't try talking to anyone and kept her distance from everyone. She couldn't believe Naruto would do this to her. She was telling herself that this was just a horrible nightmare and she would wake up at any time now, but deep down she knew this was real and was heartbroken. Every now and then she would glance at Naruto and wonder what happened to him to make him the monster he was now. Karen was now wearing a lavender uniform, short black shorts, and long black thigh-high stockings with black sandals. When she came to, she was very vocal to everyone about the organization she was a part of, as well as shouting about her Sasuke was going to rescue her and kill them all. However, that all stopped when she came face to face with Naruto. Once she saw him, she instantly went silent. She could see and feel the dark demonic chakra that was coming from him. She had never seen this before and was terrified of him. When he told her who he was, she was completely confused. He claimed to the Kyuubi, but also had the name of Sasuke's old teammate. She wanted to ask more about, but her fear of him that came his chakra stopped her. They all stood and looked at the destroyed temple that stood in front of them. So where is this special and magical mask? Shutatsu asked, as she was still skeptical about what this mask could do. In the center. Follow me, Naruto replied before leading them inside. As the walk-through, everyone looked around to see it wasn't much better inside. If this mask is so powerful, then why isn't more people looking for it? Ravager asked as she observed her surroundings. Chances are no one else knows it exists, Guran replied. I heard that the Uzumaki clan were not only masters at seals, but also very secretive about their teaching to anyone outside their clan. So how do you know about it? Shutatsu asked Kabuto. From my late master notes, Kabuto replied with straight face. Orochimaru, Guran said with venom in her voice, before any one of the new off-worlders could ask who that was. Naruto spoke up. You can continue this later. We're here, he said. Know what one of them were going to ask. They all looked in front of them to see a wall that multiple masks hanging it. Naruto went up to a mask and put his hand on it. The others heard and saw Naruto's hand start burn from touching the mask. I thought I'd show you what happens when I touch one of them, Naruto said before removing his hand. So which mask is the Shinigami mask? Kai. Grab that mask, Kabuto ordered as he pointed to mask in the center of the wall. Kai retrieved the mask and handed it to Kabuto. Kabuto then examined it before smiling at the Otto Jonin. Kai, are you loyal to Otto? Kabuto asked the Jonin, confusing everyone else. Yes, Kabuto-sama, replied Kai. Are you loyal to your Otokage? Kabuto asked, letting his grow. My loyalty is to the true Otokage, Kabuto-sama, Kai replied with confidence. The person that saved and made my home more than a place for test subjects. Then prove you loyalty by putting on this mask, Kabuto ordered with a sadistic smile as he handed him the mask. Once you put on the mask, you will summon the Shinigami and he will possess your body so you can control it. You will then proceed to cut open its stomach to release the souls within it. You will die from this, but your sacrifice will help the true Otokage's goals. Kai simply nodded before putting on the mask. His body was covered in glowing light before a large translucent gaunt specter appeared above him. It possessing long, shaggy white hair, from which two red horns protrude. Purple-colored skin, and wore white garments. It carried a set of prayer beads and had a tanto in its mouth. The other stared up at Spectre above the Jonin. All of them couldn't believe they were looking at the god of death. Those from Earth had never seen anything like this before. Meanwhile, those from the elemental nation could hardly believe they were seeing the Shinigami himself. Kai then took control of the Shinigami and had it grab the tanto from its mouth. This allowed them all to see its mouth is full of sharp, jagged teeth, and a very long, almost serpentine tongue. Kai then enters the blade in the Shinigami's stomach and move it horizontally. This causes Kai to have the exact same injury. Once it was done, 4 souls plus a fragment of a soul flew out of the fresh wound. As the group looked in awe at not only the souls, but also what they just witnessed, Naruto felt something from one of the souls. Kai, I want you to grab the soul on the far left, Naruto ordered in a rush knowing he was dying. This got the others' attention from the Shinigami and onto him. The Jonin simply nodded and used the Shinigami to grab the soul. Once its hand the soul took a human-like form. Now I want to make a vertical cut from the top of the chest to the bottom of the stomach. Golden Fox, what are doing? Kabuto in a panic, almost calling him by his real name. Naruto simply ignore him and watch as the Jonin did what he was ordered to do. Once the cut was made, red demonic chakra poured out of it. It then flew directly at Naruto. Once the chakra was all out of the soul, Kai had died due to his injuries and from using the mask. The souls disappeared, and once all the chakra was in Naruto's system, he then went on to all fours panting. Kabuto, Guran, and Blackfire rushed over to him to see if he was alright. The others stayed back for either fear, confusion, or uncertainty. Golden Fox-sama, are you okay? Guran asked a worried voice. Why did you have Kai do that? Kabuto asked as he ran a medic jutsu over him. What were you thinking? What was all that about? A furious and worried Blackfire asked. For a few seconds he didn't reply, then they heard that he chuckled to himself. Sorry about that, guys. I felt something in that one soul, Naruto replied without looking them. At first I didn't know what it was. All I knew was there was something inside that soul calling out to me, but now I know what it was and I am glad I listened to it. Naruto looked up at them and they saw his blue right eye was now crimson like his left eye. A crazy and almost sadistic smile was on his face. I was an incomplete Kyuubi, Naruto said with a mixture of joy,
confusion, anger, and guilt as he stood up. The yellow flash was clever. He only sealed half within me and sealed the other half within himself. That must be why I was a Hanyu, half demon, because I only had half the soul and power. Now I got the other half of my power. I wish I could have got the soul as well, but it was gone just like my half is. I guess when my half disappeared, so did his half, even though it was sealed inside the yellow flash and Shinigami's stomach.
While this confused the new members of the group and Ravager a bit, Kabuto, Guran, and Blackfire all knew what this meant. Does this mean you are a true Biju like the others? A curious Kabuto asked. No, not yet, at least, Naruto replied in a calmer tone, and his smile disappeared. It was as if all the emotions he felt before just vanished. It might take days, weeks, months, maybe years for me to become like the other. I might even have to let this body of mine die so I can reform into a body of pure chakra like the others. Naruto then gained a calm yet almost bored expression. Now that we have a complete team, I think we need a name, Naruto said in an empty voice. I was thinking of the name the Fallen Outcasts, since each have fallen from some sort of graces from someone or something. We are all outcast from either family, friends, or society, and some of us are both. What do you guys think? Are you okay? Blackfire asked with the concern. I just have a lot on my mind, Naruto replied in the same tone. Let's get back to Otto. I need to rest a bit and clear my head. Everyone nodded in agreement, but wonder why his mood suddenly shifted. All of them wanted to ask questions about what happened, what they were talking about, and what Naruto was. However, no one asked anything because they didn't want to set off Naruto since he suddenly started acting different. Naruto opened a portal while Kabuto grabbed Kai's dead body and went through it. They all hoped someone would answer their question when they got back or when Naruto seemed like himself again. It has been a year since the Fallen Outcasts was created and many things had happened in the year. Description of the Kyuubi A.K.A. Naruto was spread out to the other villages thanks to the Akatsuki. Konohagakure got this information at the same time as the other villages. Which meant Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji never told Danzo about their encounter with Golden Fox. Every village had sent out squads to find and capture him. Some came back empty-handed while others never came back. Rumors of Otogakure was in possession of the Kyuubi started and had Danzo demanding the Otokage to return their weapon. However, the Otokage denied these claims and said these rumors were made by the Akatsuki. This worked for a while till merchants that visited the village told others about the Kyuubi and Golden Fox statues all around the village. The Otokage defended this by claiming the Kyuubi saved many of his villagers and now there was a religion around him. Which was true, and this shocked the other cages, while people were still looking for the Kyuubi. The threat of war still lingered and was just waiting for that one moment to set it off. While with Konohagakure, Team 10 did confront Tsunade to see what she knew. They told each other their encounter with the Kyuubi and tried to figure out what was true and what was false. Team 10 were completely shocked that the third Hokage actually put a loyalty seal on Naruto. As they tried to figure everything out, they agreed that this information should stay between them, while Ino believed they should let the other know. especially Sakura and Hinata. They couldn't risk letting Danzo know any of it. Meanwhile in Otogakure things were going good, aside from the other cages saying and trying to prove they had possession of the Kyuubi. They made more alliances with smaller villages and got a few small clans to join the village. Kabuto was still acting as the Otokage behind the scenes and asking Naruto for more tech to expand and strengthen the village. As the village grew, more people started to see Naruto a golden fox as some sort of god and started joining the religion that had started there. Thanks to the red X suit blueprints, Kabuto was able to make some that used chakra instead of xenothium. While getting the materials and tech for the suits was hard due to the planet not having either of them. He did have enough to make 30 suits. These shinobis became the elite guard Otogakure and served directly under the Otokage. Both Kabuto and the figurehead, and the golden fox, Naruto, Kyuubi. The suits' design were identical to the red X suit, except instead of a skull they had their animal masks and instead of the X on the palms they had a music note. These members were known as tone, an. I tried to pick something music or sound related. But the most common words just sound weird for this story. I know some people are going to say this is stupid name for them. These selected individuals outrank everyone in the village including the ANBUs. Not only were these people trained in how to use the gadgets, but also more advanced weaponry such as handguns, automatic rifles, grenades, and rocket launchers. All these were provided by Naruto, who thought they should know more than just the suit's gadgets. Naruto did not change much over the year. After getting the other half of Kurama's chakra, he found that his bloodlust did go down a bit, so he didn't need to go on as many hunts as before. One thing that did change was he picked up his predecessor's laziness habit. Some days the others would find him somewhere just sleeping. This didn't mean he wasn't training, most of the time he was. Just sometimes they would find him sleeping and not wanting to do anything. He also had a little more control when he went into full Kyuubi mode, not enough to use against Earth's heroes, but it was a start. He helped the team and Kabuto whenever they needed or wanted him, whether that be training, capturing other shinobis for operations, finding and stealing new and old tech, just wanted information or to talk about things. Naruto was able to create some sort of a bond with everyone on the team except for Chutatsu, Cheshire, and Amaru. He and Chutatsu just didn't see eye to eye on things like life, political views, and how a leader should be. Since they had different views on these subjects, Naruto didn't spend a lot of time with her. The way she was slowly taking control over Kyosho Academy from Susu reminded him too much of how Danzo became Hokage. While didn't like working with someone who was similar to Danzo, he would put up with it if helped the team and she didn't try to betray them. Cheshire or Jade Nguyen and him didn't really have much in common. So it was mostly just them training and having sparring matches. Naruto told her his experiences with other shinobis from Earth. Mostly Ras Al Ghul and his League of Assassins. He also met both his daughters Talia and Nissa, which both disliked him and he disliked them. However, Naruto was able to help Jade by taking her to Nadeshiko village to learn from some of the kunoichis there. Shizuka, the leader Nadeshiko village, was surprised to see Naruto. Much like the others, since she believed him to be dead, Naruto kept quiet about being the Kyuubi and asked Shizuka if she would allow Jade to be trained by some of her kunoichis. Shizuka was hesitant at first, but Naruto offered a possible alliance between Nadeshiko and Otogakure. Shizuka didn't trust Otogakure, but since Naruto vouched for them, she would give them a shot. An alliance was made a few days later and Jade was trained by Nadeshiko kunoichis. Amaru didn't talk to Naruto unless she had to. She wouldn't make eye contact and try to stay as far away from him as she could. While a part of Naruto wanted to try to explain things to her, he knew it was pointless in the end because she was too afraid and hated him. He let Kabuto handle her medical training and let the others focus on the physical combat training. He created some sort of weird bond with Karen, but it did have a rocky start. In the beginning, Karen was terrified of him, plain and simple. While at first she tried to figure out how he was a Uzumaki. It then turned into her claiming her Sasuke was going to come capture him and save her. Naruto finally had enough one time and unleashed a large portion of his demonic chakra towards her. Feeling his demonic chakra at such a magnitude caused her to instantly regret everything she was saying. While he did not activate the seal, he did put his demonic chakra covered hand onto her cheek and leave a burn mark. He then told her if she does not shut up about her Sasuke that he was going to end her life right there. Karen could nod in understanding. From that point on she never mentioned Sasuke out of fear that Naruto would go through with his threat. He eventually started having little talks with her and discovering they were distant relatives. He tried not to be so cold to her and started creating a weird almost parent and child bond. Red X trained the team in his fighting style, but mostly trained Chutatsu and Rose, Ravager. He helped Chutatsu by improve her way of coming up with strategy and tactics. With Rose he was mostly her sparring partner since his fighting was similar to Robin's. Red X did begin to trust Naruto, but he wouldn't call them friends. As for payment for his services, it came to a surprise to everyone that he wanted Amaru. Amaru wasn't coming alone as a good medic for the team, so Naruto and Kabuto believed she would be better off as an emotionless doctor for the hospital. However, Red X said that he wanted her for his payment for his services. While this confused them all, they didn't know that Red X spent most of his free time with her. He was the only person she opened up to and then became friends over the year. While those from the elemental nations didn't care too much since slave servants were normal. Those from Earth were surprised since this type of action was looked down upon. Naruto agreed to the deal and had the seal removed, but she had to wear an explosive collar until they went back to Earth. She also wasn't allowed to leave the compound, so she couldn't tell anyone from outside the village what she knows and have an Anbu watch her when Red X wasn't around. Red X agreed with the terms. After that she was always by his side no matter where he was. Ravager had become stronger in the past year. She had the chakra control of a Jonin. Master her Sharingan eye as well as she could and is able to use limited precognitive visions almost at will. Right now she only has control over it when she uses the Sharingan. Naruto thought about using Edo Tensei to bring back Itachi Uchiha to train her, but decided against. Believe he would just take back the eye. They also found out that her chakra coils didn't grow over time, so she only had that set amount unless they added more. She also learned she had wind affinity from the Suna Shinobi's chakra. She learned and mastered the control of it and learned a few wind jutsus. She did grow a bond with Naruto, but it was different from Blackfire's and Guran's. She saw him more as an older brother figure. This was mostly because he shared his stories of him and slayed with her and she could hear how close the two were. Chutatsu also went through the operation to gain chakra coils and learned genjutsu from different Odogakure Jonins. She was given high Jonin to low Anbu worth of chakra. She also learned a little about human anatomy, poison, and strategy from Kabuto. The affinity she gained was earth and water from the chakra she got from captured shinobis. She was forced to learn a few jutsu of both, but preferred learning about genjutsu. The one thing she loved learning about was the history of the elemental nations and how the lands were conquered. She even started admired powerful shinobis like Hanzo of Omegakure, Madara Uchiha, Yagura the 4th Mizukage, and of the 4th Raikage. She also admired the hard work of the Hashirama and Tobarama Senju, the strategies of Danzo Shimura and Minato Namikaze during the war, and the level of planning Orochimaru did in his revenge plans. Chutatsu planned to learn everything she could in hope that it could help her back in Japan. Guran spent the year mostly travel between Earth and the elemental nations. While she did train for the upcoming battle, she spent quite a bit of time on Earth. She had started a religious cult where they pray, praise, and worship the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Well, to her it was Golden Fox a.k.a. Naruto, but her fellow followers didn't need to know that. She also was keeping an eye on the Titans and acting supply route between Earth and elemental nations. Cheshire also went through the same operation as Rose, Ravager. However, Kabuto made sure to use Kumo shinobis for the chakra transfer. So the chances of her getting lightning affinity went up. He believed Cheshire would be better off with lightning affinity than a wind affinity because of her being an assassin and can possibly paralyze targets. To make it easier to eliminate them, they gave her a high Jonin to low Anbu worth of chakra. She learned a few lightning and other jutsus. However, Odogakure didn't have many who could teach weapon techniques, which made her pleased when she was able to learn from Nadeshiko Kunoichi and the Nadeshiko style thanks to Golden Fox's help. Blackfire also went the same operation to gain the chakra coils. For Blackfire they used shinobis from every village hoping she would gain every affinity. This didn't work. She only got a wind affinity and earth affinity. They gave her a low Anbu to low Kage worth of chakra. This was done so she wouldn't complain or be mad thinking the others got more. She was finally able to learn jutsu and all the chakra control exercises. Most of it was chakra control exercises, but she didn't care and was determined to complete it. Over the years she also became a big part Odogakure. Many of the villagers looked up to her and respected as much as Naruto and Kabuto. However, this caused a small debate between the villagers. While many wanted Naruto, Golden Fox to be the Sandame, 3rd, Otokage. Many villagers now wanted Blackfire to be the Sandame, 3rd, Otokage. She also made it clear that she was the leader of the fallen outcasts. Though everyone knew Naruto was the strongest out of the group, he just didn't want to be the leader and he backed up Blackfire's claim. None of them wanted to argue with him. However, that didn't stop them from believing Naruto was the hidden leader of the group while Blackfire was just a figurehead. She learned leadership skills from Kabuto and other Auto Jonins and created some sort of bonds with other members of the team. Nothing strong or big but enough so they all would trust her enough to follow her orders. Karen keep her distance from everyone, except Naruto. Either out of fear or hope that Sasuke would save her. After 3 months of being trapped in Otogakure, she had lost almost all hope and accepted she was stuck there and no one was going to save her. While she never mentioned Sasuke around Naruto, she did try talking to him to get info on him. She was afraid of him and was afraid of saying the wrong thing to him. But she would risk it for her Sasuke. She hoped that Sasuke would rescue her and then she would have information about the Kyuubi and or Naruto Uzumaki. She learned that he was Naruto Uzumaki and the Kyuubi. Not the Jinchuriki but the actual Kyuubi. She also learned that he was the son of Kushina Uzumaki, who was not only a well-known kunoichi but also Uzumaki royalty. He was not only a distant relative but also the clan head of any Uzumaki. However, he showed no interest in his Uzumaki side and only cared about being the Kyuubi. As she learned more about her distant family, she found out he wasn't as bad as he seemed. As long as you didn't mention anything from his past, she enjoyed the small talks she had with him. She didn't know when she started to see him as family. But she was glad she did, even though he claimed he was no longer a Uzumaki. He still told her what he knew about the clan, but he constantly reminded her that she was there to be trained to be a medic. Not make friends or try to be a spy for the Akatsuki. She did train but was confused as to why they wanted her to focus on that. Kabuto also taught her a bit about Fuinjutsu, sealing, which she didn't enjoy because of having to be near Kabuto. She was also confused as to why a girl named Amaru was being trained to be a medic. However, her training was stopped and she was then always around the person known as Red X. For Amaru, the year had been nightmare that she just wanted to wake up from. She had been kidnapped by someone she thought was a friend, having a seal on her that made it so she couldn't leave where she was. Trapped in a compound in an unusual village, being surrounded by potential criminals and unknown killers. Being forced to train to be a medic for a team she didn't want to be a part of. And finally being given to as a slave. The only silver lining, she became friends with the person known only as Red X and he saved her from a terrible fate. When Kabuto and Naruto claimed she wouldn't work as the team medic, they were planning to put new seal on her to make her a mindless slave. However, before they could do it, Red X came to them, said he wanted her as his payment for his services. She knew the truth though, he was doing it to save her. At first she didn't talk to anyone, however Red X was persistent in getting her open up. When she did and told him about how her former friend betrayed her and kidnapped her, she was surprised when he said he was in a similar situation. He told her how Golden Fox, Naruto, blackmailed him into helping and was still doing by threatening people he cares about. She realized that him and her were the only ones be forced to be here, beside Karen, but she accepted it here and didn't mind it. From there on they started a friendship. She told him of her life before she was kidnapped and he told her his life on Earth and all his adventures before he was recruited. Otogakure. The entire team, plus 24 Tone members, Red X and Cheshire, now stood in front of Otogakure East Gate. Kabuto, Naruto, Blackfire, Guran, Red X, and Ravager were still wearing the same outfits. But the others were now wearing new ones. Shutatsu now wore a cloudy gray office suit made out of materials from the elemental nations and had storage seals hidden throughout it. She also wore some simple running shoes that Naruto had to get from Earth since she refused to wear the local sandals. Cheshire was now wearing a dark green colored kimono. The kimono is tied around her waist where its length reaches just above her knees. And black knee-high boots. Her hair was now a little shorter and now not done up in any way. Karen still wore her lavender uniform and short black shorts, but now she wore a large long-sleeve blood-red haori with a large Uzumaki spiral crest on the back. Naruto had this made and gave it to her when he told her that she was now the Uzumaki clan head. She claimed she wasn't fit to be the clan head, but Naruto told her she had no choice since there was no other Uzumaki and he was now more Kyuubi than Uzumaki. Here's the plan, Golden Fox said as he stood in front of everyone. I have 6 cage bunchins, shadow clones, at different places around Konoha ready to open a portal to their location. Everyone is going to have 4 Tone members with them and go through one of the portals. They are going to put C4 on the walls and when my cage bunchins, shadow clones, give the signal they will detonate them. Each team will then infiltrate the village to create a distraction by causing chaos and mayhem. Kill any shinobis you come across. As for civilians, it's your choice to kill them or not. Meanwhile, Karen and I will enter the village through the main gate and head towards the Namikaze estate. With any luck, all the shinobi forces will be too busy dealing with all of you to notice us. Tone member, remember to use your pistols, grenades, and any extra C4 you have on enemy forces. They have never seen these types of weapons before and won't have a way to counter them immediately. So this give you a small advantage. Once Karen and I have finished our mission, I will shoot flares in the sky as a signal to retreat back to the cage bunchins, shadow clones, outside the village wall. They will then make a portal to return you back here to Otto. This will be the only time I will be the leader of the fallen outcasts. Once this mission is done I will be handing leadership back to Blackfire. Now are there any questions before we start this mission? They all knew what the mission was and all had questions, but no one asked anything, so they didn't ask a touchy or sore question. Red X took this opportunity to make something clear to Kabuto about Amaru. If she has even one scratch on her when I get back I will send you to your late master, Red X threatened. Relax, as long as she stays in the Naruto's compound and shall be fine, Kabuto replied in a calm tone with a smirk. Red X glared at him before giving Amaru a nod, telling her to just stay in the compound. Amaru understood and returned with a nod of her own. She had to stay in Otogakure since she would only get in the way if she went on the mission. Since there are no questions, let's start this mission, Golden Fox stated. Everyone nodded and got into their groups. 6 portals appeared and each group went through a portal. Is that ready just in case they're not enough of a distraction? Kabuto asked as he glanced at Golden Fox. Yes, if I am right they should see him entering Konoha territory in the middle of the attack, Golden Fox replied. What if you know who stops him before he can reach Konoha? Kabuto asked as he was worried about Fox's backup plan. I have cage bunchins, shadow clones, following him to make sure he gets there, Golden Fox replies with a smirk under his mask. Karen heard their conversation and was wondering what Naruto had planned. While she wanted to ask him what it was about, she had a feeling he wouldn't tell her anything anyways. Let's go, Karen, Golden Fox ordered as he opened a portal his own. Karen simply nodded and followed him through the portal. Konoha, Golden Fox and Karen appeared a good few feet away from Konohagakure's gate. They were far enough the guards at the gate couldn't see them, but they could see when the guards left. Golden Fox then created a cage bunchin, shadow clone, and told it to give the signal before it dispersed. They both then heard loud explosions. They watched and waited till they saw all the guards left to see what was happening. They're all gone. Let's move now, Golden Fox ordered as he dashed towards the gate with Karen following him. Once they made through the gate they headed directly to the Namikaze estate. The compound was hidden within the forest behind the Hokage monument. Golden Fox knew this thanks to Kurama's memories. He also knew that it had a blood seal to keep people out. However, Golden Fox already had a plan to make sure he and Karen got inside. As they ran through the village they could hear screams, building falling, gunshots, and explosions throughout the village. They could see fiery explosions from C4 and grenades. Areas covered in a bright light from flash grenades. Streets covered in black smoke from smoke grenades. People running anywhere to find safety, and building crumbling from all the damage. As Golden Fox looked at all the carnage and destruction, memories of the past played in his mind, all the happy times he spent in this village. The good times with friends, back when life seemed much easier. He shook his head to clear those thoughts. He then remembered how he had a seal put on him to make him love this village and how everyone let him get banished. Sure, Kabuto told him it was Danzo who convinced everyone and how he did it and he should hate his friends for it. However, he thought about how if the loyalty seal wasn't on him he wouldn't have acted the way he did. Chances are he would have never became friends with any of them and left the village a lot sooner or be dead. It was friendships forged from a fake personality, bonds made with a fake person. Because of this he stopped considering them friends since they would be expecting the happy-go-lucky idiot to come back to them, not the cold, calculating, bloodthirsty monster he is now. Once they made to the center of Konohagakure, Golden Fox stopped. Stop, he ordered. Karen did what she was told but looked at him confused. Why are we stopping? A confused Karen asked. Because we're surrounded, Golden Fox replied. Karen was still confused until the enemy revealed themselves. The rookie 10, Sai, Kakashi Hitaki, Might Guy, Kurenai Yuhi, Tsunade Senju, Danzo Shimura and 4 of his root agents. This is as far as you get, Kyuubi Danzo stated as all the shinobis prepared to capture him. Time for distraction, plan B, Golden Fox thought before going through some familiar hand seals. All the older shinobis we shocked by the 2 words he said once he finished. Edo Tensai. 6 coffins popped out of the ground around Karen and Golden Fox. When they opened up, the Konoha shinobis were filled with shock and fear at who had stepped out of the coffins. The first was a young-looking middle-aged tall man with tan skin. He had waist-length black hair styled in a center-parted fringe that framed his face. He wore dark red armor worn over a simple black suit with sandals. It was the Shodai, first, Hokage Hashirama Senju. The second was another young-looking middle-aged fair-skinned man with white, shaggy hair. He had 3 red markings on his face, 1 under each of his eyes and 1 on his chin. He wore a blue armor with a distinctive white fur collar over a simple black suit with sandals. This was the Naidame, second, Hokage Tobarama Senju. The third was an elderly tan-skinned man with gray hair and goatee. He wore a black jumpsuit, mesh segments over the lower portions of his limbs, a green gauntlet that covered much of his right arm and armored hood with a bandana-like forehead protector over this, tied with two long straps. This was the Sandaime, third, Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi.
The fourth was a young man with spiky, blonde hair with jaw-length bangs framing either side of his face. He wore a standard Konoha uniform, minus the green flak jacket under a short-sleeved long white haori with closed in the front by a thin orange rope, and blue sandals. The haori was decorated by red flame-like motifs on the edges, with the kanji for fourth Hokage written vertically down the back. This was the Yondaime fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze.
The fifth was a tall and well-built fair-skinned middle-aged man with spiky white hair tied back into a ponytail. Two shoulder-length bangs framing his face. He had red lines under his eyes which extended further down his face to the bottom. He wore green short shirt kimono and matching pants, under which he wore mesh armor that is visible at his wrists, handguards, a black belt, traditional Japanese wooden sandals, a red haori with two yellow circles on each side, and a horned forehead protector with the kanji for oil on it. This was Jiraiya of the Sannin. The last person was a young slender, but feminine build, fair skin, woman with long red hair with shoulder-length strands that framed both sides of her face and a black clip that parts her hair to the left. She wore a high-collared, sleeveless blouse under a long, loose-fitting dress with a wristband on her left wrist and standard shinobi sandals. This was Kushina Uzumaki. "Where are we?" Hashirama asked as looked around. "It would seem we were brought back to the land of the living by Edo Tensei." Hiruzen replied with recognizing the surrounding. "Is it your student again, Hiruzen?" Tobirama asked, not liking being someone's pawn again. "It was me who summoned you," Golden Fox replied. All six of them turned around and looked at him, surprised and unsure of who this person was. "And who are you?" a suspicious Jiraiya asked. Golden Fox knew now was the time to show everyone his real identity and tell his story, so reached up and removed his mask and hood. "Naruto?" The rookie 10, minus Shikamaru, Kakashi, Kurunai, Guy, Jiraiya, Hiruzen, Minato, and Kushina all shouted in disbelief. The Senju Bothers didn't know who he was. Shikamaru had a gut feeling it was Naruto but couldn't prove it. Tsunade was in a state of shock. Sai and Danzo were surprised by this as well but didn't show it. "Naruto, what happened to you?" Hiruzen asked as he could see the person in front of him wasn't the same boy he knew. Naruto glared at Hiruzen before calming himself. "Let me tell everyone here about everything I learned in the last 7 years." Naruto said as he told them everything that has happened to him. During Naruto's tale, Danzo was tempted to attack and capture him. But his story of Otherworld intrigued him. Throughout the story some people cried, some cringed, some felt fascinated, some felt heartbroken, some felt compassion, some felt pity and some were filled with rage. When Naruto finished his tale everyone was unsure how they should feel. Even Karen wasn't sure about how she should feel for relative. Danzo however was happy and surprised that his old friend went through such lengths for Konoha, or at least that's how he saw it in his mind. "You put a loyalty seal on my son," Kushina shouted at Hiruzen. "Where were you? You were his godfather, you were supposed to look after and protect him," Minato screamed at Jiraiya. Hiruzen just lowered his head as he knew he had no justified reason for what he did. Jiraiya on the other hand believed he had a valid reason. "Konoha had just been attacked and I need to maintain my spy network," so Jiraiya stated only to get interrupted. "Your spy network? That's your excuse for letting this village torture my son?" Kushina screamed in shock and rage. "You should have someone else take care of that. Better yet, you should have taken him with you. If you had, the villagers would have never almost beat my little boy to death." Jiraiya lowered his head in disappointment, but a small part believe he made the right choice in leaving him in the village. While that was an interesting story, it doesn't explain why you had summoned us. Tobirama stated, being unaffected by Naruto's tale. Hashirama looked angry at his bother for not showing any compassion for the hard life the boy had to go through. "I summoned you to attack Konoha and keep the shinobis busy while my partner and I retrieve something," Naruto explained. "What makes you think we would attack our own village?" Tobirama asked as he narrowed his eyes. Naruto was about to answer when Minato answered for him, "Because if we don't, hell just use us as puppets and have us attack anyways." "He won't have to," for me," Kushina said as she stared at the village. "This village has only hurt my child. This isn't the same village I gave my life for. I will gladly burn this village to the ground for what it has done to my son." "Kushina, you can't be or," Jiraiya started to say. "He also won't have to for me as well," Minato said as he went and stood beside his wife. "I wished for the village to see my son as the hero he was, but instead they refused my wish and spat it back in my face. They beated him, insulted him, ridiculed him, humiliated him, betrayed him, and made him suffer. This is no longer the village I swore to protect." This is a village that has been consumed by greed and power. Let's go, Minato, Kushina said before looking over her shoulder to look at Jiraiya and Hiruzen. She glared at the two before running off to join the chaos. You know Kushina didn't want you to be the godfather, Minato said without looking at Jiraiya. She wanted Shikaku Nara or Tuchi Ichiraku to be his godfather, but I said no and convinced her you would be the best choice. Now I wish I didn't. Maybe if I didn't then Naruto would grown up happy. Minato then ran off to join the fight, leaving a shocked and stunned Jiraiya. Brother, this is not the village I envisioned when we made this village, Hashirama said as he looked out at the place he once called home. The village I saw was one where people could live in peace and safety, where we accept one another and help each other, a place where everyone is family and treated as such. Tobirama looked at his brother confused and worried. What are you saying, brother? Sometimes you need to cut off dead or dying branches to save the tree, Hashirama replied with disappointed look. As much as I don't want to admit it, Konoha is a dying tree. Since we were the ones who started this tree, it's only right that we are the ones to remove that which slowly killing it. Tobirama looked at the village with anger, while his vision was different than his brother's. The village he was looking at wasn't what he envisioned either. He vision had civilians and shinobis working together to make the village the best it could be, while everyone acted and treated everyone like family. What he saw was a village full of clans that was full of themselves and trying to one-up another, while the civilians that acted like they run the village and use shinobis as servants. I think you are right, brother, Tobirama said with a sad tone. This tree is dying and we need to remove what is killing it. Once that is done, that what remains will carry on the will of fire and hopefully make Konoha into what it was supposed to be. Tobirama the turn to look at Naruto. Know that what we are doing is not for you. We doing this to help the future of Konoha. You will never be able to stop the will of fire. Once this is over, Konoha will rise from the ashes stronger than before. Naruto nodded at him, letting him know he understood what he meant. The two brothers ran off to remove what they thought were the problems with the village. He honestly didn't care for their reason. As long as they distracted shinobis, he was fine with it. Naruto, you have to stop this. A desperate Jiraiya pleaded. It's too late, Jiraiya, Hiruzen said as he sighed in defeat. We made this mess and now it has come back to haunt us. If I wasn't so weak back then I could have stopped all of this from happening. Instead I did something worse and just made the mess bigger. Now it's time for me to face the consequences of my decision and clean up the mess I made. Sensei, you can't be serious. Jiraiya asked as he thought his former teacher had lost his mind. I am very serious, Jiraiya, Hiruzen replied as he turned his head to look at Naruto. I only hope that you can forgive this old man for his mistakes, Naruto. Naruto continued to look and watch the Konohagakure shinobis and Hokage. You put a seal on me to make a happy idiot that wanted to protect a village and its people who hated me. I hate you for everything you did to me. A depressed Hiruzen turned and started to walk away to join his fellow Kages. But there is a part of me that can't hate you, Naruto said through his teeth. Hearing this caused Hiruzen to stop. A part of me can still only see you as the kind Gigi that took care of me. Hiruzen waited and listened to see if he had any more to say. Maybe in time I can forgive you, but not anytime soon. Although Naruto couldn't see it, Hiruzen had a small smile on face before jumping deeper into the village. Jiraiya stood there shocked before returning his attention back to Naruto. You will still try to protect this village even after everything it's done to me, Naruto stated without looking at him. There are innocent people here, Naruto. Jiraiya said as his frustration was getting to him. What about the Ichirakus? They had nothing to do with what happened to you. Honestly, I hope they survive the attack, Naruto replied, still refusing to look at Jiraiya. However, sometime innocent people will be sacrificed to change the world. I only hope they will forgive for what I've done, even though I don't deserve it since I am not the same person they knew. What about bringing peace to the elemental nations? What about never breaking a promise? Jiraiya tried in a last-ditch effort. Bring peace was your dream that you pushed on to me, he replied calmly. As for never breaking a promise, that was part of the fake personality created by the seal. I want Betri my village, Naruto, Jiraiya said in a serious tone. Deep down I knew you wouldn't, Naruto stated as he let out a sigh. I hoped you would pick me over the village, but your loyalty to Konoha is stronger than your bond to the old me. I know you knew about the seal not too long after we met. You could have removed it, but you chose to keep it on in hope I would create bonds with people and my loyalty would become real. Too bad it didn't work like how you thought it would. Jiraiya gained a blank expression and seemed to be in some sort of daze. I knew I would have to make you a puppet. Just part of me wished you loved me more than the village. Jiraiya then dashed off into the village, not in control of his own body. You all have a choice to make Konoha shinobis, Naruto said to gain everyone's attention. You can either stay here and try to capture me or you can go and help your family, friends, and clansmen. What is more important to you, saving those close to you and maybe your village or capturing the Kyuubi? The shinobis were stunned by what they were just told and were conflicted about what to do. Even the root member were unsure which order they were supposed to follow. Protect Konohagakure or capture the Kyuubi. What are you all waiting for? Capture the Kyuubi. Danzo order. If we capture him the attack will end. The root members prepared to engage the target. The others stood there debating on what to do. They now knew Danzo was the reason why none of them stuck up for their friend when he was banished. However, the person in front of them wasn't the same person they knew. He is also responsible for the attack on the home. I am your Hokage. I gave you all an order, now do it and capture the Kyuubi. None of them said anything or moved a muscle. Shikamaru eventually was the one to do anything. I have just one question for you, Naruto, Shikamaru said as he said his name with disdain. Is what we are seeing right now the real you? If you're asking is this is how I was before I had the loyalty seal on me, I don't know if it is or isn't, Naruto replied, looking him straight in the eyes. What I can tell you is that the idiotic happy-go-lucky me wasn't the real me. The person you see before you is who I am now. This is now the real me. The two stared at each other, letting Naruto answer sink in. Shikamaru finally turned his back to Naruto. Right now you are too troublesome to deal with, Shikamaru stated as he started to walk away. At this moment I don't know who I can trust. The village I saw as my home has been doing hundreds of shady deeds in the shadows. Someone I saw as a friend was nothing more than a fake personality created by a seal. And finally the real person who was behind that seal decides to attack my home, which had wronged him so many times that I don't blame him for wanting to see it burn down. With all this going on I can't think straight. The only thing I know is I am going to go help and protect my clansmen from this attack. Shikamaru looked back over his shoulder to glare at Naruto. The next we meet, we will be enemies, Kyuubi. Naruto turned his attention to Danzo. I told you before. My name is Golden Fox, Naruto told him in a bored tone. Shikamaru then sprinted off to find his clansmen. The other non-root shinobis thought over Shikamaru's and Naruto's conversation. Slowly they all agreed with Shikamaru about not know who to trust, and protecting their families and friends was more important at this time. They all started leaving to go search for their families and friends, but not before giving Naruto a glare, sad frown, or a look of uncertainty. So all that remains was Danzo, his root soldiers, Tsunade, Naruto, and Karen. Tsunade. Where are you going? Danzo demoned as he saw Tsunade starting to leave like the others. Tsunade glared at him before looking at Naruto with a look of empathy before dashing to who knows where. Fine, I don't need her, Danzo stated before turning his attention on Naruto. You heard what Tobirama said. Konoha will rise from the ashes big and stronger than before. You will be Konoha weapon that will lead us to victory over the other villages. Maybe even these other world you talked about. And just how are you going to get me as your weapon? Naruto asked as he raised an eyebrow. Sure, you some Sharingans, but you don't have the control or power to control the Kyuubi like Madara Uchiha. You also might have Hashirama cells implanted in you, but I doubt you are able to use Mokuton, wood release. Like Yamato, or does he go by Tenzo now? Naruto all of a sudden started to snicker. I just thought of something. You are nothing more than a Madara Uchiha wannabe. You're like a fanboy trying to imitate his hero. While Naruto was laughing at this thought, Danzo was reaching his limit. He knew he couldn't control the Kyuubi with his Sharingan or use Mokuton, wood release. But he still believed it was possible. Just as he was about to yell at Naruto and order the attack, a new root Anbu appeared. Lord Hokage. Patrols had just report sighting Sasuke Uchiha almost at the village, the Anbu reported. Danzo lone eye-witted in surprise while Naruto finally stopped laughing. Finally, I was starting run out of thing to stall with, Naruto thought. Distraction plan C has finally begun. It sounds like my last surprise is almost here. Both Danzo and Karen were surprised by this. This is your doing? Danzo demanded. Yeah, it wasn't easy finding him, but I did, Naruto replied with a smirk on his face. I told him the village would be at its weakest today, and it sounds like he jumped at the chance to get his revenge on Konoha. So Hokage, what are you going now? Stay here and try to capture me, or go and rid yourself of Uchiha that has been nothing but problem for you. Danzo was furious, to put it lightly. He could tell this is what the Kyuubi wanted all along. If he goes after Sasuke, then the Kyuubi could get away and escape. On the other hand, if he stays and tries to capture the Kyuubi, then it's only a matter of time before Sasuke shows up, and then he would have to fight both of them. In the end, Danzo knew what he had to do to protect Konohagakure. Root, we are going after Sasuke Uchiha. Danzo gave Naruto one last glare. I will let you go for now, but mark my words, I will make you Konoha's weapon, Kyuubi. Danzo then ran off to intercept Sasuke.
Naruto let out of a sigh of relief. He was glad all his plans worked. Even though he was a complete Kyuubi now, he knew he might not have been strong enough to take on everyone that had showed up. He put his hood and mask back on just in case they ran into more people he knew. It's time we start moving again, Golden Fox said as he started walking. He noticed Karen wasn't following. He turned to look at her and saw she was just standing still, looking off in the direction Danzo went off in.
Karen, let's go, Golden Fox ordered. Karen didn't move or even acknowledge him. Now Karen, we have a mission to do. Golden Fox ordered, getting his hands ready to activate the loyalty seal if she didn't move. Karen finally snapped back to reality and started to follow Golden Fox. Before she left the area, she looked in the direction Sasuke was. I am sorry Sasuke, but I can't help you this time, Karen thought before following behind Golden Fox. Once they got to the gate of Namikaze estate, they saw a female nurse standing in front of it. Golden Fox approached her and she knelt down to bow to him. Here is what you requested, Lord Kyuubi, the nurse said as she handed him a vial of blood. Golden Fox took the vial and nodded at her. She then got up and disappeared into the forest. What is that? Karen asked as she wondered what was going on. This might be the only way to get inside, Golden Fox stated as he looked at the blood. He then took a kunai out that was hidden in his coat and made a large cut on one of his fingers. He rubbed the finger on the gate and waited. Nothing happened, just as I feared, Golden Fox said, confusing Karen. I've been the Kyuubi for so long that it actually altered my DNA. The blood seal doesn't recognize me as Naruto or an Uzumaki. Golden Fox then opened the vial and dipped a different finger in it and then smeared that blood on the gate. This time the gate doors opened. A still confused Karen looked to Golden Fox for answers. This blood is a sample Konoha took before I was banished, Golden Fox explained. I knew someone would have kept a sample just in case they thought they found me or my body. That's why I sent a spy to work in the hospital, hoping they would find the sample. He put the lid back on the vial and the two rushed inside. They soon saw a fairly large building enter their view. Seeing there was no seal on the door, they turned the doorknobs and went inside. Once inside, Karen was speechless. She was inside the fourth Hokage's home. Golden Fox broke her out of her thoughts when he gave her the vial of blood. Use that to get anything that has a blood seal on it, he told her. Get everything about her that belongs to the Uzumaki clan. You have 15 minutes to get everything or else I am blowing this place up with you in it. Karen was flabbergasted and was about to argue. But Golden Fox interrupted her. Your time starts now. I suggest you get moving, he said before he started to walk away. Karen wanted to start shouting at him, but she knew he would go through with threats, so she ran off to find everything she needed to find. The 15 minutes were almost up and Karen was now looking for Golden Fox. She had gotten everything she could relating to the Uzumaki clan and had it in a sealing scroll. However, she had 3 scrolls that she wasn't sure if she should put with the others. She found him in what she believed was a family room. It was a fair-size room with a couch, a couple of armchairs, a small bookshelf with some books, a fireplace, and a large painting hanging over it. The painting was of Minato and a pregnant Kushina holding each other smiling. Golden Fox was standing in front of the fireplace watching the fire. Did you get everything? He asked in an emotionless tone. Yes, but I wasn't sure about these 3, Karen replied, annoyed that he was acting like he didn't threaten her. She handed the 3 scrolls to him. The scrolls contained the Rasengan, 8 trigrams sealing style, and Hiraishin. Keep the 8 trigrams sealing style with the Uzumaki stuff, he stated as he handed it back to her. The Rasengan I'll hand over to Kabuto so Auto Shinobis can learn it. It's not a family or clan technique since 2 other people know it. Maybe more. He put that one in his coat pocket and looked at the last scroll. The Hiraishin, Iwa would give anything for this. This isn't a clan or family since the Yellow Flash created it and no one else has ever had the chance to try to learn it. This technique could change the outcome in almost any war. He then threw the scroll into the fire. Karen's eyes widened at what she just saw. That technique might be the only thing right now that could defeat the advanced weaponry Otto has. To help Otto with the upcoming war, one have to make sure that jutsu is destroyed and no one can learn it. Otto will already be unstoppable with all the technique I have in this sealing scroll, Karen pointed out, trying to figure out his way of thinking. What difference will it make if some other village shinobis somehow learned that one jutsu? That's because those aren't going to Kabuto or Otto, Golden Fox replied calmly. Everything in that scroll now belongs to you. What? Karen asked as she couldn't believe what she just heard. I told you before, you are now the head of the Uzumaki clan, he replied, looking her in the eyes through his mask. That means everything in that scroll is now yours to do whatever you want with them. Once we finish our mission with the Titans, I will remove the loyalty seal. You will be free to do whatever you want. You could stay in Otto and try to rebuild the Uzumaki clan, return to the Akatsuki and offer those as offering, hoping they don't kill you, or give them to the traitor Uchiha in hopes this might make him return your feelings. However, let me just say that you were smart enough to when you were being used. Don't you think it's about time to start thinking about yourself and making choices for yourself? Golden Fox started to walk out the room, leaving a stunned Karen. Karen stood there thinking about her kidnapper just told her. When she was first taken, she didn't think she would live long. She didn't think she would meet a relative. She didn't think she would have created some sort crazy bond with said relative. She didn't think said relative would make her the head of the Uzumaki clan. She didn't think said relative would give all the Uzumaki clan secrets and jutsus. And she certainly didn't think they would keep her alive after she did what they wanted. However, she was just told that when their mission was complete she would be free to go. Just like that, while most wouldn't believe their kidnapper, she had a feeling he meant what he said and would keep his word. She also thought about what he said about thinking about yourself. She had always followed someone or someone orders, but now she had a choice. She now has the power of a clan and can choose how she wants to live her life. This was new to her and she needed to think about before making any decisions about what to do next. She followed him outside, all the while contemplating over everything in her life and in her head. Golden Fox was glad she was actually thinking things through instead of going on about how these secrets will win her Sasuke's heart. He then pushed a button on a detonator in his coat pocket to blow up the C4 he put around the house. After they all went off, he turned his head to look at what had remained. All he could see was it being consumed by fire. This must have been what Shion saw in her vision, he thought as he unsealed the flare gun from the inside of his coat. He shot 5 flares into the sky in different directions, hoping his friends and allies would see them. He opened a portal back to Otogakure. He and Karen went through expecting to see the others soon. The member of the fallen outcast and Tone saw the flares and proceeded to retreat. They returned to where they knew the cage Bunshins, shadow clones, would be and returned to Otogakure. The reanimated shinobi stopped their attack as they could feel their bodies starting to turn back into dust. Meanwhile, standing on the wall that protected Konohagakure was Sasuke Uchiha. His Sharingan was blazing at the sight he saw. He saw his former village nearly destroyed, and it wasn't by his hand. Otogakure. Once everyone returned, they gave a brief report to Kabuto and Naruto on how this went. They did lose 6 Tone member to Konohagakure shinobis, but overall the mission was a success. Most of the reports were just them engaging enemy shinobis. The Tone member usually had something about destroy someplace that would hinder Konohagakure. Once the reports were finished, the Tones went back to their headquarters and the fallen outcast returned to Naruto's compound. I want you to send some counselors over to the compound to talk to them, Naruto said as he watched them leave through a window. You suspect there might be some psychological damage to them? Kabuto asked. He pretty much knew why he was telling him to do this, but he wanted to hear his reasoning.
There is a good chance that they came across a genin team during the attack, Naruto replied. Look back at him. Even though they knew about genin teams before this, they never had to kill one or see one be killed in front of them. If they didn't kill a genin, then one of the Tones did and they watched. I just want to make sure they are going to be okay fighting against the Titans, now that we are finally ready to face them.
I will send some over right away. They will be informed that you order this and tell the team this as well. This way they won't refuse the counselors because they will be afraid of getting you mad at them. Kabuto made a Tsuchi Bunshin, Earth clone, and sent it to the hospital. With what you did today, it will start the war. You know this, right? Naruto didn't say anything, just looked out at horizon through the window. Any surviving Konoha shinobis will want blood, and I don't think the other villages will be too happy about Otto attacking Konoha without any justifiable reason. It had to be done. By the way, once our mission against the Titans is complete, I am removing Karen's seal. She will be free to go wherever she wants, and she keeps all the Uzumaki secrets, seals and jutsus, so no trying to trick her into giving you any of them. Are you sure this is wise, Naruto? With those in Otto arsenal it could help us in the war. Not only that, but she might give them to the Akatsuki or worse, Sasuke. The next shipment of weapon I am sending from Earth have more rocket launchers and rockets. I don't think you have to worry, Naruto told him with a deadpan stare before looking back out the window. Beside, I am not sure if she will give either of them those secrets. She seems to be thinking about her life and where she wants it to go. She is now a clan head and she is starting to realize she has more responsibilities than before. I'll trust you, but I still rather have them in Otto arsenal, Kabuto said with a sigh. So what are you going to do now? I need to do one last thing on Earth for the upcoming battle with the Titans, Naruto replied as made portal. Naruto went through and the portal disappeared, leaving Kabuto alone in the room wondering what he was going to do now. The end. Thanks for watching. Also remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.